Excuse me. Hello, everybody. Welcome in. My name is Wax Philosophical, and I like to wax the philosophical. And today it's Monday. It's Monday. We got a pretty chill day today. We're just gonna do. Oopsies, my controller just unplugged itself. Hopefully, you guys don't have to hear that stuff. But we got a pretty chill day today. We've got Nick Fuentes versus Hunter Biden, and it was actually a pretty good interview. I've watched a little bit. We're not going to be able to watch the entire thing, but I'll link it in chat in case you want to watch it like outside of stream and stuff like that. It's a pretty good interview. Sometimes it drives me absolutely crazy, though, the way that Hunter Biden handles the entire situation. It's just like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? Why are you doing this? So we'll get into that. And then we have Elon Musk versus AI. He talks about AI. And then Zora Mamdani, in Zora Mamdani, classic Zora Mamdani fashion, has another amazing W. He has another amazing W, and we're going to watch his announcement. Like, every single time that news comes out about Zora Mamdani, it is always freaking amazing. I think that the only real negative thing that I've seen about him is it's been about his wife and her liking some posts or some bullshit, and it's just kind of this is such a nothing burger thing. He is the politician that we need. He is not perfect, obviously, by any means. Nobody is, but I absolutely love Zora Mamdani. I've heard the complaints from other people, and I understand them, and I get where they're coming from. But I think that Zora Mamdani is a great stepping stone to the places that people want to get to in politics. Unfortunately, it's just not possible for us, in my opinion, to just immediately have an entire shift, societally, to where we would actually like to be in terms of leftism, right? Because, both the left and the right would like that kind of shift. So anyways, I still love Zora Mamdani. I think that he's excellent. I think that what he's doing for his people is absolutely fantastic. A+. But we're going to get into it in just a second. Let me just do something quickly. I hope that you're all having I hope you all had a good weekend. I hope you all got up to some fun stuff and whatnot. What did I do on the weekend? I mostly just gamed. I cleaned my apartment a little bit. It was rainy and stuff like that. We were hoping to have some thunderstorms, which I thought would be pretty cool, but no. Also, announcement. We got movie night coming up. I'm going to be streaming an additional day. So we're moving from 3 days a week to 4 days a week. We're going to be streaming Sundays at 7 p.m. We're going to start doing movie nights. And the first movie that we're going to be covering is Ex Machina. I absolutely love this movie. It is so fantastic. We'll probably watch it multiple times through movie night. I know that'll be annoying, but as we grow, I want more people to see it. And I honestly believe, and I know this is going to be a hot topic, But I genuinely believe that Ex Machina is a great analogy for trans life, and I'm going to explain why when we watch it this coming Sunday. So hopefully you'll come and stick around for that. I'm sorry, I'm just adjusting myself. I'm not used to dressing like this. I feel a little bit uncomfortable. Just a little uncomfortable. This is just a lot for me. But anyways, we're going to get into it right now. Here we are. Oh, I don't know. Oh, wrong one. There you go. Sorry. This is the wrong window. God damn it. Hold on just a moment. Yes, I know. Scene. I got outed. I don't know why I did that. I had the right window up the first time. Stupid frickin' thing. I even checked it too. There we go. That's better. All right, let's go. So this is Nick Fuentes versus Hunter Biden. And I don't even know why they did this interview. Like, Hunter Biden is surprisingly much more woke than I ever expected him to be. I think people just dismiss him out of hand because of like his past drug use and drug addiction, which I think that he's fairly open about. Like, there was this really fucked up hearing that they had in like the Senate of the United States of America, where they literally showed like what I would consider to be revenge porn of Hunter Biden to everybody in there, for everybody to fucking see. And it just kind of blows my mind. But I also feel like that's very par for the course for what like America politics is. Like, they just do not care when it comes to Republicans and how they treat people. It's absolutely abhorrent. But like, I just did not agree with that. I thought that was insane. And I thought that he got a raw deal there. So anyways,
you said
we're going to go through this. We're going to go through this. It's going to be a rough ride. Nick Fuentes is a well-known white supremacist, despite the fact that he himself is of Latino origin. I know. It's ridiculous. But regardless, we're going to go through it. So here we go. Let's go.
Are you a Nazi?
Inclusion has been our greatest strength. Diversity has been our greatest strength.
White people do feel like we are being boxed out.
A 26-year-old white kid doesn't feel like he has access because he's been canceled. And the problem is black people.
I didn't say the problem's black people.
Well, you just did, Nick. You just
said the problem is crime. And we know who's doing the crime in Chicago.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
About the Holocaust things?
Oh. About that.
We get to say whatever we want on the internet. We get to deny the Holocaust.
As far as Jews are concerned in general, I think that everybody in the country should...
I'm at least glad that they included clips like that in this interview, because when Nick Fuentes does like interviews like this, he tries to come off much more palatable than he is, much less racist than he is, because he knows that he's not a stupid person. He's just a racist person, right? Like, He knows that to reach a broader audience, he has to slowly pull people in. He has to slowly boil them in water, right? And so that was something that Charlie Kirk was incredibly good at. He was incredibly good at coming off like diet racism, very, very palatable, very, very much like what people would be like in the fringes about, like deciding whether or not it's too much or something. Or the classic, well, he's not perfect kind of a thing, but I'm going to listen to him anyways and support him anyways kind of thing. Because that, like, the whole, oh, this person isn't perfect can go, like, act like a double-edged sword. Whereas for us, on the left, it can be a way to be forgiving of people and allow them an opportunity to change and grow. When it comes to Nick Fuentes, that allows him to garner a larger audience, which is not really all that great. Anyways, he is not genuinely the type of person that he comes off in this interview. That's all I'm saying.
To have their civil rights.
What do you think about somebody like Mamdani?
Personally, I don't like him. Like, for example, on 4th of July, when he takes the opportunity to sit there with, let's be honest, not a single white person.
What about fucking Donald Trump? There's no ideological core to Donald Trump.
No, I agree with you.
Don Jr. got the largest loan ever given by the Department of Defense.
Vance owes his entire political career to Peter Thiel. Whichever firm is the one to develop ASI, that could confer dictatorial-like powers upon the CEO of that company.
Everything that we think about the way in which we exist in the world completely changes.
Increasingly with Uber, Airbnb, banking apps, you can't live your life without the tech platforms.
Everything that AI is built on is ours. That's what they're stealing from us. I want to find common ground of how much of a shithead Donald Trump is. We can get there, okay?
the kind of first question that I had whenever I caught wind that you wanted to do an interview like this is, why now? What made you want to sit down for this kind of interview?
Well, I think it's an interesting conversation to have all of us here. And, I think it's a moment in our country when there's a lot of realignment. I think that people recognize, especially in the past couple of years, I'm like a non-conventional critic, maybe, of what's happening. And so I think it'll be an interesting, productive conversation. I think it'll be different.
But I mean, specifically, because we kind of share a publicist, I heard that you wanted to kind of... Okay, we have a publicist that you hit up, and you said that you wanted to talk to someone who would give you kind of a fair shot to like clear up some things and maybe some misconceptions about you and the things you believe.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that, I'm somebody who, I think like you, actually, maybe we have this in common, is kind of pigeonholed in a certain way for things that we've done in the past or things that we've said.
Yeah, I'm a crackhead.
But I'm racist, right?
I got pigeonholed there.
He is.
Mine is true, yeah.
Yeah, well, mine's a little true. Maybe a little, no. But yeah, so I think it'd be good to clear up some
Not
of the
just a little,
misrepresentations
a lot.
and put out something accurate.
So what do you think is the most misrepresented thing about you?
Well, I think really the whole image everybody has about me. When you mentioned me, I think on a recent show, you said you want to ask me, why are you a Nazi?
Yeah.
And that's how everybody knows me. Everybody thinks of me as white supremacist Nazi, and I don't think that's really true at all. I think that we definitely have different values. I mean, you're more from the left, I'm more from the right, but I don't think I'm a hater. I'm not a hateful person.
It is Heil Hitler Friday, Heil Hitler, all my niggas Nazis.
Hitler was very fucking cool.
Yes, I do.
One of them.
And I'm tired of pretending he's not.
So what's the thing about, I guess, traditional Nazism that you think you disagree with the most?
Well, it's a non-Christian ideology. So, I mean, look, I believe that race is real, as the Nazis did, but I don't think it utterly defines a person. As a Christian, I think we're all created beings. I do believe there's such a thing as a universal human community. And so I think it's a cruel ideology. I've said this on my show, by the way, but I mean, that would maybe be the fundamental.
Did you always feel that way?
Always, yeah, absolutely.
So even whenever you were younger and stuff?
I did, but you got to recognize times have changed. 10 years ago, we had a totally different political world. The regulation and policing of speech, what you would call wokeness, I think was at an all-time high when I got started as a very young man.
What you would call wokeness?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and I think, would you not say there were some excesses maybe in those days?
Yeah, in those days, I wasn't doing too well, so I wasn't paying much attention. Anyway, I would love to hear, and I'm not asking you to like retract everything that you've ever said and all or anything, but I said that I would love to talk to you because number one, I told you this, is that I think you're really smart, and I think that with that comes in a real responsibility, and you have an audience, and I have a friend whose son is my daughter's age, maybe 28, your age. And he's really smart, and he is a big fan of yours. And so, by virtue of the relationship, I got to learn what it is that why he is a fan of yours. And none of it has to do with, I would hope you agree, like really egregious things that you've said in the past about the Holocaust or about,
Did the Jews ever talk about the 100 million whites that died in World War II? Or do they just bitch and moan about the so-called 6 million Jews that died?
And so it's just nice to poke holes in it and say, it's not 6 million.
6 million? I don't think so.
And I don't even know, I think I've heard you since kind of rescind a lot of that.
You concede that 6 million Jews died in the Holocaust.
Possibly more. Possibly, we're discovering all the time. So it could maybe even be more than that.
But what he agrees with is kind of the anger about the situation that particularly your generation finds yourself in. I know that to be real. And I think that there, maybe my reasons for recognizing that anger as being legitimate and my targets are different than yours. I just wanted to hear from you. When you say you're canceled by the right in 2016.
Yes.
I almost felt like in preparing to meet you now, is that your reaction to that was to just dig deeper and deeper into kind of the outsider, kind of radical, say anything for the purpose of generating, the attention to build an audience. Is that true? And it's not an accusation. I really mean it. I want this to be a conversation as much as possible.
I mean, there's certainly some truth to that, but I think that might be overstating it a little bit, because I really got canceled by the right and the left.
Yeah.
And back in those days in 2017, you had these far left journalists at Huffington Post, Right Wing Watch, ADL, SPLC, and I really believe they were on a mission to find extremist rhetoric, the white nationalist, neo-Nazi boogeyman, all that kind of stuff. And they would look at someone like myself, 18, and if I was being serious or joking, things taken out of context, they would clip it, post it, and they wanted me to be the villain. And I think they wanted a lot of people to be the villain. And I think the left, in a way, kind of created this climate where I think they pushed a lot of people farther to the right.
No, by the way,
absolutely ridiculous. Like, that doesn't make any sense, like, at all. I feel like Nick Fuentes was born into the world where he believes that he was oppressed as a person, as a white person, because he had to share with people that didn't look like him, right? Like, I don't know what his schooling was like, and I'm curious about his home life. Maybe we'll do a deep dive someday. But, like, it feels like he was born into the world believing that because we have as much progress as we do right now, that somehow things are fair and equal, when really they are so far from that. It's crazy, right? Because if things were fair and equal, we would not have people like Nick Fuentes out here advocating against the best wishes, or the best interests, excuse me, of like people that don't just look like him, right? Like, he is white presenting despite the fact that he's not actually Caucasian. And so when he presents this kind of argument, like that we're driving people to the right, I think that he thinks the world was much more liberal than it actually is, not realizing that the world is actually much more racist than he realized, right? Like, it is very, very soft racist. It's not the same hard racism that America used to have during the slavery time and during segregation. And because we've made this progress, it looks like to people that never lived through any of that those experiences, that it is much more advanced than it is, right? Because you know, you're not really, when you are born and into the world, you were just born into the time frame and the generation that you are in, right? Like, you've never experienced anything before that. So whatever you were born into shapes your worldview, right? And so for him, because he is only 27 years old, 27 years ago, things were not as woke as they are now, but they're still more woke than they were, like, let's say 40 to 50 years ago. So for him, I'm sure that as he was growing up and as things progressed as he was growing up, he was probably seeing all this progress. He was seeing, like, Black Lives Matters develop, and he was seeing, like, the Me Too movement and all these other things. And it probably felt like an attack on his identity and things like that. So he probably didn't realize, I mean, he did, obviously, that there was some built-in audience already there for him to find. But I don't think that he realizes, or he doesn't present in a way that indicates that he wants to acknowledge the fact that he already had a very large audience base. At least like 30% of the United States agrees with him, right? Because that's what the actual vote, like when you look at the number of people who voted in the United States, it accounts for about 30% of the population voted for Donald Trump, right? So 30% of the population is a very, very large number, which means like he already had a built-in audience. So nobody was really pushed to the right by the left because we were asking for equal rights. It's either you are somebody who believes in equal rights or you're not, and he already had this built-in audience, and he had a lot of people growing up with him. And when they found him, they might have been indoctrinated by him also.
That very well may be true, but you gave him a lot of ammunition.
That's true.
I mean, I hope that some of those things that you said in the past are not things that you believed in and that are you meant just to engender like
eating blueberries, by the way,
a really radical kind of response. I mean, is that true or not?
Well, again, I think that back in those days, you could not say anything. In 2017, 2018, cancel culture was so in overdrive. Any joke, any edgelording, anything like that, they would, first of all, there's no sense of humor.
I'm so old, I don't even, what's
okay, well, to break it down for you, so the dawn of wokeness as it's known today, I think was in like the post-Trump era. After Trump won the election in 2016, there was a big movement to deplatform and kind of push away those who, I guess the left feel like had galvanized them into the presidency. So there was this big idea that if you push people off mainstream social media platforms, they would go away. Now we know through Trump's reelection, that's not even true. But at the time, that was the mantra. Problematic viewpoints needed to be
Being
silenced,
canceled
tucked away
is just a
somewhere, and
myth,
to sort of
right?
die in isolation. So I think that was the climate where you first got started, 2017. That time period was like crucial for getting people off mainstream platforms. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I would say that you got to get into the psychology of those days. It felt like anybody that wasn't on board with the most progressive agenda had no options. There was just no alternative. It was going to be progressive, liberal, feminist, BLM, all that kind of stuff.
That's not true.
And if you were to the right of John McCain, you're no platformed.
Who was it? There was like Nick Fuentes. Not Nick Fuentes, excuse me. There was, who owns InfoWars again? Who is it that owns InfoWars? Alex Jones. And then there was another guy who looked really similar to Alex Jones. I think he died or something, or he just went away. There were lots of alternatives, right? Like there was Tucker Carlson. There is, what's his name? He's in England or something. I can't remember his name. I'm sorry, I'm really bad with names. There were lots of options out there. Like Nick Fuentes is not like the, shining star, the bright new option that he's presenting himself to be. There were there was Charlie Kirk. There was lots and lots of people. Pearson, yes, thank you. Pierce Morgan, thank you, Cherish. Sorry, I can't see your name. I need my glasses. How are you, Pierce Morgan? Also, yeah, 100%. There were lots and lots of people. And I feel like Nick Fuentes is setting this up to be like, and I came on the scene and I was just like so new and shiny. And I was just like, it's just like, no, you're not. You're just another option in the racism diet, drink, selection that people could choose from. Welcome in. How are you? Are you a streamer? I can't remember. I'm so sorry. Cherish, first time chatter. Oh wait, we never talked before. Welcome in, Cheshire Cat. I remember you. Are you from whose stream are you from? Are you from 27 Club? Are you from Twerks? Are you from Jason's? No, just a chatter. Okay, sounds good. Welcome in. I hope you have a good time. We're just going over to Nick Fuentes v Hunter Biden. I can't remember where I've seen your name before.
You're fired from your job. You're ostracized socially. And I think what
Hassan
happened
mostly?
Really in 2021 when Trump
That's cool.
got banned from the
I got a Hassan chatter.
It felt like 70 million people got canceled. 70 million people that voted for Trump, or, 60, 70 million people. We were all felt like, so if Trump is out of politics and we're all banned from the platforms, then how is there any redress for our grievances? Do we just have to shut up and get with the program and we're all going to be progressive? And I think that drove people to a far more radical place where people said, well, what really is a solution? We can't talk. We can't express ourselves.
Yeah, nice.
We can't participate in the process.
That must have been where it was, Jason.
And I was one of the people saying that's exactly what's going to happen. It's going to drive people to extremism. If you don't talk, if people don't feel like they have a seat at the table and enfranchisement, I think then they start
extremism
outside the system,
nothing new. Like he's presenting it as if this is like a new phenomenon, which is not a new trick from people like this. Like they're constantly approaching this as if like we don't know the rest of entirety of history. Like we don't know like about the Tulsa massacre that destroyed Black Wall Street. We don't know about like the previous, like we don't know about fucking slavery. We don't know about the previous ICE like versions of ICE administration and like border enforcement, and that like Biden, behaved in the way that he did in regards to immigration enforcement and stuff like America has never been in this utopia perfect place where there was no such thing as racism, bigotry, sexism or anything like that. But the way that Nick Fuentes presents it, he's always presenting it like it's some new phenomenon that people are going over to the right and indulging in these ideas and indulging in these concepts, right? Biden scapegoated? Yeah, 100%. I agree with that.
The democratic process. So I
don't think that Biden is as bad as Republicans. Like he's not as bad as Trump, the Trump administration, but even Obama, I don't think that there's any administration so far that hasn't engaged in management of immigration enforcement and including people who come into the country illegally kind of a thing. I think there's always somebody who does there's always an administration involved in it in some way, and the track record has not never been that great. However, Donald Trump definitely is ramping it up. Hell no, yeah.
self-inflicted in many ways.
So you feel like after the mass deplatforming in 2021, whenever people on the right got pushed to platforms like Parler, Gab, Rumble, etc., the lack of discourse and like the political singularity of those platforms created more extremism?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because look, you take Trump off of Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and I predicted this in 21. I said, watch, you're going to see alternative social media rise because some venture capitalist is going to see there's a huge market of 70 million people that are going to follow Trump.
It just gave a
Trump
place
is no
for
platform.
community.
And that's
right?
exactly what happened. Rumble blew up.
That's
Elon
it. It's
bought
always
Twitter.
been out there.
And
It
what
just gave a
happened when
place
you
for
have
people
total
to
free speech on
congregate.
these platforms? Well, Twitter now resembles
Let's go.
4chan.
Welcome,
And
welcome
now,
in. How are
there's
you?
no
How's the
gatekeepers.
chair?
And I think it did push people in a radical direction. And
You getting
honestly,
cozy?
people are even blowing
Exactly,
past
yeah.
me. Now there's like mainstream normie types that are even blowing past me in terms of how radical they are. People start saying things like, there's no political solution, there's going to be a civil war, we need a revolution.
That's nothing new.
And I think
That's nothing
because
new.
the message from the left was,
It's like
you're
Nick
crushed.
Fuentes
You
never
have
did
no
any
options. You
research
can't win.
about
There's no
history
alternative.
whatsoever.
Trump is
This
gonna
is
be
nothing
indicted
new.
and charged
The
and
whole
can't
there's going to
run.
be a
You
race war
can't be on
thing.
Twitter,
It ain't
you can't
new.
have a job, and so people
Just
started
look
to
at
say,
South
okay,
Africa.
well, you know, we still exist.
And
We're
the
still
white
here.
apartheid.
We still have these concerns. What do we do now?
And all
And then
right.
people start to say,
Kinda.
well, we need a
LOL.
revolution. And I'm one of the only people
I ran
saying,
out of
no, we
things
should
I
still
want to
engage in the
do, so
process
I'm back
and
to
talk with each other. And it's not all one-sided.
to the
I think there's
hell
problems on
that
the left
is
and the
Dota
right, but
2,
I
or
certainly think it takes two to
essentially
tango.
Okay, so
a
there,
form
we
of
agree.
self-harm.
I think that there are
Aw,
problems on
no.
the left and the right.
Crazy,
I would
yeah.
disagree with some of the things that you just said.
Well,
I
if you
guess
have
I just
Elden
came
Ring, we
to
can play
a-
Elden
a
Ring
different
seamless later.
Conclusion that there are some things that people should be deplatformed for. Not that they can't say it where they want to say it, but I think that it's a right of anybody.
Okay, top 3 things. What do you think?
There's a difference between being able to say that you're proud of your white heritage and also being just a flat
Elden Ring is
racist. I
even
think that there's a
worse.
difference between
Okay,
saying
fair
you're
enough.
proud of your Christian heritage and the white culture from what you come from and Nazis, or that you adopt the Nazism as a legitimate ideology. I think that there's a difference between saying that you disagree with the United States policy as it relates to Israel and saying that the Holocaust didn't exist.
I was
Yeah.
like, Mom, Dad, Hitler was awesome. Hitler was right. And the Holocaust didn't happen. And my parents were like, we cannot believe.
Those are those would be top 3 things.
God, he's
in
such
my
a piece
mind.
of shit.
I know that
By the way, just
you
for
believe
reference, the
that some
Holocaust
people
was real.
took
It did
you out of
happen, and it was
context. And I
like one of the
do- I
world's
do
worst
agree.
atrocities.
Look, on both the right and the left, there are these gatekeepers, 100%. And look at me. The mainstream press just destroyed me for 7 years without any real kind of reflection about what they were doing. I do think that, some of those things are legitimate reasons to say,
I can't believe that still needs to be said anywhere.
On a commercial platform. Would you?
It'll
agree with
probably
that?
be
I
a
mean,
couple
you
of
just said, for
centuries
instance,
before we
people calling
fully
for
get rid of that kind of
like
claim.
an armed revolution,
Mm-hmm.
like people calling for actual violence. You're opposed to.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm against violence,
Yeah.
and I do think those are one of the legitimate things that should be taken from the platform. There's a lot of this
Piece of
stuff
shit,
on social
100%.
media I don't agree with, but again, what started to happen is there was this like editorial censorship where certain ideas were banned, and it was such a broad brush. And also,
He's all
totally
for free
opaque
speech
and
when it
ad
applies
hoc.
to
You'd
him,
be on
but when it
YouTube,
applies
like
to
I was,
everybody
for
else,
example,
you'll
they
notice that
banned
it's
me
not
for
as
life
applicable for
and
some
didn't even give me
reason.
a reason, not a specific quote, not a specific infraction, and so you don't know what the rules are, you don't know what the process is. They just take you down, and especially now when everything is digital, that's not just the social platforms; it's the other ones like Uber, Airbnb, whatever. It feels like you're being denied almost something like a civil
It's always the
right,
same with
because the social platforms are
supposed
the
free
modern
speech
public square.
advocates on the right.
Increasingly
Yeah,
with Uber,
they just
Airbnb,
want the
the
freedom
banking
to do
apps, you
harm.
can't live your
100%.
life without the
They
tech
don't actually
platforms.
care
And it felt
about
like if you
speech.
just
No.
simply had the
Aw,
wrong
poor
opinions or you were the
baby.
wrong kind of person, you were
He's
being
so
deprived of, like, a
persecuted. He's
basic
the most
civil right or being
persecuted
able to
man
participate
ever.
in society.
Ooh.
So, and I think maybe that's an area of collaboration where we recognize maybe it is a civil right to use the digital platforms, but here
No,
are
it's
the
not.
rules. Here's what you can say. Here's what you can't say. Here's the process. Maybe there's a reconciliation.
Here's the thing. You are 100% permitted to your freedom of speech. You are not permitted to a platform to use to express that speech, right? These companies like Twitch or, Kick or like YouTube, they're all private companies. They get to regulate it however and the fuck they want to. right? Like it's one of the most ridiculous arguments that I've ever heard. Like whenever I hear this, and I first heard this, and it's just like, you can go, like, there is nothing stopping you from going out to a street corner and preaching the stuff you're saying. Nobody's fucking stopping you. Freedom of speech does not entitle you to a freedom of platform. Freedom of speech just means that you get to say what you want without intervention from your government. And it's like they try to twist it in a way that allows them to garner support from their audience because, you know, the more support they have, the more effective it is. But like, it just doesn't really make sense when you actually think about it long term.
Mechanism, but I mean, the censorship was just out of control. I don't think anyone disagrees there's a reasonable limit, though.
Yeah,
Thank you. You're welcome.
I guess what I'm saying is that I don't see that as a result of left-wing or right-wing ideology. I view that kind of level of deplatforming. Look, I was debanked. I was debanked before I was ever even charged with anything. I lost every bank account. It took me, 9 months once they, the Trump administration, said that they were starting an investigation into me to be able to actually get a bank account again. And I don't want to tell you the bank because tomorrow they may debank me again. But my point is that those people are incredibly identifiable. I've been talking and going around and I say things like, I don't think we are nearly as divided as they're telling us we are. Because I do believe that there are an identifiable group of people that are responsible for an enormous amount of the discord and division because they make money off of it. I think that these social media companies that are controlled by 3, 4, 5, individuals have made it clear that they only care about one thing. They only care about how much money they can produce for themselves.
What is this filming style? It's so annoying when they do the close up and that grainy stuff. Just like film it regularly. Goodness.
They're driving teenage girls to the highest levels of suicide by a factor, like exponential factors, directly related to the content that they're being pushed, and they won't do anything about it.
Well, that's an algorithm argument, not necessarily it's true, but it's like an algorithm argument, not a free speech argument.
Maybe an illegitimate, but a financial decision based on
because they're not preventing the antithesis of that, to be on their platforms.
Exactly.
It's about what they're pushing rather than the availability to express yourself.
About 2.5 months ago, I visited a whites-only community in Hardy, Arkansas. And I don't know why, I guess coming from a more left-wing place, I'm from Seattle, I kind of assumed there was a united front on the right for some reason. So I'm out there, I'm chilling with these dudes, they're sword fighting, having barbecues.
It's just as diverse on the right
as
it
I
is
had a
on
hard
the
time
left.
connecting with them because I don't agree with them, but it's all good. I was having fun for a couple days. And then, right as I was there, I guess you had hit them up on X
about
or something.
The bottom
and said,
line,
hey, I don't want to associate with you guys.
What
happened there?
Algorithms are going to push whatever is going to generate them the most amount of money, right? Like algorithms are going to push whatever generates them the most amount of money, whatever content takes off. And so when Hunter Biden was talking about the young girls suicide and things like that, it's because a lot of skinny talk gets a lot of attention. It's an attention economy essentially, but that's not a free speech argument. Welcome in. Accident waiting to happen. Welcome. Hello from South Boston. I got to work on my Boston accent. It's terrible. How are you? Welcome in. We're just going over Nick Fuentes v. Hunter Biden.
Founded it.
Yeah.
But I do think it's an interesting project, and it's interesting that got so much.
It's currently being sued, by the way, if you were unaware.
You know what? If you
and
go to
it's being sued by a woman who tried because hard to explain, but the way that this compound works that they're discussing. Hi. Oh, thank you. Hi from Colorado. You're from Colorado? Super cool. But the way that this compound works is that you get to buy almost like a timeshare type situation where you invest $6,600. Hi, Dichotomy. Welcome in. Trash versus garbage, 100%. Duncan, excuse me, not Dichotomy. Literally, yeah, 100%. Where you get to invest $6,600 in order to get a parcel of land. I think it's an acreage or 3 acreages or something like that, which is an insane deal, especially in the United States. But they only allow in, and they're incredibly strict with it, white families, and you have to have like a lineage of white family. Well, there was this white woman and her interracial family that wanted to live there, and so now she's suing them for discrimination. And the reason why they're doing that is their argument is that they're not preventing them from buying land or something like that. They're just buying an investment, and they can't do that or something. I'll track it better later, but that's the gist of it.
These different neighborhoods in major cities, there are ethnic enclaves, and it's not like there's an explicit rule that you have to be a certain ethnicity.
Hope you're all doing good today.
In Chicago and New York and LA, you got certain neighborhoods where it is 80-90% one ethnicity.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of white people that say we kind of want something similar. I don't think there's anything.
But Nick, what is this
Well, okay, let's back up. If you want to talk about
funny?
the histories of New York and Chicago, I feel like that was also a conscious decision that was made like after the Civil Rights Act.
Blacks only. It's
Yeah.
in Cabrini Green.
Redlining, isn't it called?
Made everybody that was black live in the Cabrini Green.
There's a great TV show, by the way, that covers redlining a little bit. It's called From, if you've ever seen it before. It's absolutely fantastic. However, it is a horror TV show. It's not super scary by my standards, but then again, I play Outlast Trials without flinching, so... Duncan says, going well. My plan to become dictator is going well. Oh yeah, you made progress today? Did you send more people to the gulag?
By choice. It's not by choice that these ethnic enclaves
Antarctica?
are 80 or 90%, whatever that ethnicity is. It's because that's the only place in which they had an opportunity to live unbothered, or where they were told that they had to live because of the historical fact that they could not move into other
deported a few
you could not
squirrels
move
and cast to
into parts of
Siberia.
South
Nice.
Chicago.
Hey, now
without,
now your
being
new slaves will have
stoned.
pets. Fantastic.
Literally, right?
Yeah,
and so, like so it's not as if those ethnic enclaves are there by choice. And so that
Also, ethnic enclaves do exist for like specific variations of different Europeans. Like, there is like places that are chocolate. Like South Philly's full of Italians.
there's Little Italy and there's Little Korea.
I think the issue, I always what confused me the most about the whites only community is like there's just so many different kinds of white people in America. So like to establish a unified white culture with a place so diverse and full of like different regional flavors just kind of felt confusing to me. Because it can mean a different thing depending on what part of the country or what European enclave you originated from. Like
Plus, it depends on how strict you are with your definition of quote unquote white,
in San
right?
Diego, or even like Italian Americans in Staten Island. I don't know. Everything just feels so different. So when I got there, I was trying to identify what they meant by white culture. It wasn't really based on shared like cultural practices, but more the exclusion of people who weren't white. So they weren't like stoked on being European necessarily. They were more just like, oh, we're here because those people aren't here. So it just kind of felt more negative than constructive.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not really involved with that project in particular, but I think that, look, I mean, you talk about the anger that's out there and the frustration, and I think part of the frustration, let's be honest, is that white people do feel like we are being boxed out in major cities in the country, and it feels like, look, there's a little Haiti, and there's various...
Like, yeah, shit, yeah, 100%. Like, when he is saying boxed out, what he means like is when they're like he literally mentioned it, Little Haiti, which is communities that are, maybe more culturally directed towards one demographic rather than another. Like, he probably wouldn't have a issue if there was like Little Italy, but he has an issue with a place called Little what did he say it was? Little Haitian or something like that. Like, ridiculous. Like, let's say there was like Little Chinatown. Like, in our cities there, like, we have what's called Chinatown. It's not just China people. It's actually a very, very diverse area. But by and large, you can find like shops that are more geared towards like, Chinese food, Chinese clothing, things like that. And it's actually really fucking cool. I personally love it. I love going to these little places that have a variety. But the reason why Nick Fuentes hates it is because he hates anything that isn't white, right? So anywhere that isn't strictly Caucasian, he will consider like white people being boxed out somehow, like as if like some white, like there is no true segregation just because a place is delegated a certain fucking name. It is absolutely freaking ridiculous that he says this type of stuff, but it's par for the course for Nick Fuentes, so I'm not surprised by any measure. But there is no such thing as really boxing out white people. Like, Caucasian people could move to the quote-unquote ghetto if they wanted to, or the Bronx, or somewhere else that they might feel like they don't want to. He's not Caucasian, so what the fuck? I know, he's not even freaking really Caucasian. He's Latino, isn't he? He's got like he has Mexican ancestry, I believe. He isn't even white. How? I know. But then we have Kanye West, who made the song Heil Hitler and came out as a Nazi, ran Nazi merch, and like made a buttload of profit off of it. So like this whole concept of like that to be like a white supremacist, that you have to be Caucasian through and through is unfortunately like it's breaking down like weirdly. I don't know if that's good or not, like to dilute the concept of what it means to make it like ridiculous. Like the thing is like Nick Fuentes, I don't think that he realizes creepy. Yeah, 100%. I don't think that he realizes that he's not actually a part of the club. At the end of the day, when it comes like cut and dry, he would not be included. He would be segregated just like everybody else, because like that would be the goal of true white supremacists. He would not be included because of his ancestry and his background. And I feel like he thinks that he's a special one, just like so many other people. This image is indicative. Okay, just give me a second. Let me look at it. Burp. Show me open link. Yeah. Look at this. All these guys, like Andrew Tate is another prime example. I can't remember this fresh and fit loser. Here's Tristan Tate. This is Nick Fuentes in between them. I don't know who this guy is. I think this is Sneeko right beside him. And then on the far side, it is Clavicular. And I'm so embarrassed that I don't know their fucking names. But yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. Like the vast majority of this photo that we see is not actually Caucasian in background. What the fuck even is this group? I don't know. What would be their band name? Something racist. What would be, if they were a pop group, what would be their band name? Oh my god, that would be hilarious. Accidental says, I grew up in Fall River, Massachusetts, a small mill town. There were stores from the old folks saying there were signs on the mills, no Italians need apply. Yeah, before modern times, like in terms of the white diaspora, Italian people were excluded from it. They were not considered Caucasian enough. It's only recently that they've been included. Like when they came, like immigrated from Italy and other places, they weren't actually included. They were segregated also. They were considered not white until like it became broader. Same with Jewish people, right? Like same with a lot of Jewish people. They were not considered a part of the caucus until recently. And even still, there are people who don't actually include them. Okay, let's get back to this. Irish too, yeah, Irish as well, 100%. Irish are more famous for it than anybody else.
And white people feel like they're being pushed out, and they want a space where things are familiar.
Do you feel the same way about the Italian festival that happens in every city?
Well, here's a good example.
Or St. Patrick's Day?
Well, there's no Irish neighborhood in Chicago. Little
sure
Italy.
there is.
I
so
mean,
what? Who cares?
Bridgeport.
Yeah.
It's important to note that, like, and I'm not trying to get into like a shouting match here, but like, as a family coming from a family who did leave Philadelphia in the 60s because of black migration from the South.
I feel bad for people who are like this,
there was a sort of,
because they miss out on so many fucking amazing things in life. Like whenever you're bigoted, I just kind of feel bad for people like that, because you just miss out on like so many amazing things. You miss out on culture, you miss out on foods, you miss out on people, you miss out on music, you miss out on like so much just because you are like a childish, bigoted, scared little person with the intellect of like, I don't know. I don't want to insult like unintelligent people, because that feels unfair, because like to associate when that doesn't really track. Like, but like you're just a scared little child, immature person who can't handle anybody different from you. And it just feels so mentally isolating from all of the beautiful and amazing things that you can see in the world. Like, I feel very lucky for where I grew up and how I grew up, that I was exposed to so many different people and things. Because sad, damaged dude, 100%. Like, they look at the rest of the world as if it's damaged, when really it's just them, right? Because they're constantly pushing away so many amazing opportunities opportunities, so many amazing things. Like, I doubt that he would ever consider traveling to different places that don't include like primarily Caucasian, occupants, because he is just too scared to go there, kind of a thing, right? Or he's just bigoted towards those people. And it's just like, you are isolating yourself from parts of the world that literally have the potential to open and blow your fucking mind because it's just so fucking beautiful. Duncan says, for Islamist fundamentalists who want to go around hooking up one white supremacist who's Mexican, one guy who hammers his jaw, and the other guy who acts like alpha male while wearing skimpy jeans. 100%. But that's not a very good band name. That's very, very long. We needed a shorter band name, Duncan. We need a shorter band name. But yeah, like I genuinely have a bit of sorrow for these kinds of people because they have like self-segregated themselves from like so many fantastic things, like Filipino food. Have you ever tried it? Thai food. Oh my God. Thai spicy vegetable. Like, and then like just the community of people that you don't get to interact with, that you don't get to integrate with, that you don't get to meet. Like, you were missing out on so many potential amazing relationships just because you're a fucking coward. And that just makes you a pathetic and sad person in my mind. Like, it makes you a weak person to self-isolate this way through hatred of others.
Like mass flight of white
Clown
people into
maxers,
the
that's
suburbs,
fantastic.
and
I love
kinda
it.
led to a
Clown
homogenization
maxers,
of
100%.
they
That's
rushed
great,
so fast
Duncan.
to build these like identical strip mall suburbs that it was very hard to maintain
The clown
cultural
maxers,
bonds
yeah.
that made different European and white neighborhoods unique around like the 1950s and before. So I feel like the mass suburbanization is also a big factor
Azorian
that
Portuguese
led to those, like, cultural
food?
bonds
I've never
breaking.
had that
Why
before.
did that happen? I mean, a
That
lot
sounds
of the
good. Is it like
suburbanization
the
is because of the race
goat?
riots in the 1960s.
Good stuff?
People
Yeah.
moved out because of the violence.
Maybe
You
we'll
know,
have to
my
make it on a
grandfather was
cooking
in the
stream
National Guard
sometime.
in Chicago when, after MLK got assassinated, the whole West Side burned to the ground.
Yeah.
And people didn't want to be around that anymore.
Why were the riots?
MLK Jr. was assassinated.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so does that justify burning down the city?
No, I
which
didn't
then
say it
never recovered?
justifies it, but it sure
Just a
justifies
second.
an enormous amount of the anger.
Sorry,
the
you got
same kind
held.
of anger that you
I'm
feel
sure it's
about
fine.
being left out. The same kind of anger that you're expressing
circle
right
jerk
now
club.
about the idea
That's
that
also
you're
a good one.
culturally
I don't know which
irrelevant,
one I
that
like
you
more.
don't have a place in society.
Clown maxing or the
Imagine
circle
if
jerk
you
club?
were a 26-year-old black man in 1968 and saw your hero be assassinated. And
I
nothing being
saw
done about it.
Trump get shot in the ear, and
Did he?
I saw Charlie Kirk get shot, and I didn't see any cities get burned down. It's funny how
I
that
think
works.
it's a very, very, very different thing. I think
How's
it's
that
an
different?
absolute
To
Charlie Kirk
compare
got shot in
Charlie
the neck.
Kirk to
Yeah.
Martin
And
Luther
liberals
King is
celebrated all over
insane.
social
Not
media
even
by
remotely
Tyler
the same.
Robinson,
Yeah. Who is what?
who is some liberal guy.
He is?
You think, like,
But
people
the-
definitely,
He's got a transgender boyfriend.
Does that
people
make him
definitely
liberal? Because he's
celebrated
transgender?
when Martin
Because
Luther
he's
King
gay?
was killed.
Well,
100%.
because he's got a
Nick Fuentes
transgender
just wasn't
boyfriend,
there to
yeah,
see
I
it.
think so.
It makes him liberal.
I think he was liberal, yeah.
Okay. Well, he didn't come from a liberal family. He didn't come from a liberal enclave. He didn't come from a liberal background. He's not a minority. He was a Mormon, correct? And grew up in a Mormon household. And he went to a largely Mormon college. And he ended up committing an act of violence, according to the FBI and
Which
the
apparently now he's
authorities in
expressed
Utah that
remorse
charged him.
for,
How
so-
does that in any way compare to what we're talking about? I'm not justifying the violence that occurred after the death of Martin Luther King, but you're saying that that person, this Tyler, whoever his name is was as disenfranchised as the African American community in 1968 in inner cities?
Well, the question is who we want to live around.
I'm not living around blacks. Sorry. I want
He-
white kids, and I don't want my white kid.
He always moves the goalpost, right? Like, he always moves the goalpost like that. Like, first it's like, oh, well, they're burning down the places. And then that's the problem. It's like, well, now we just don't want to live around people like this. Like, we don't want to live around the dangerous people, right? Accidental says, I can't prove this. However, when Trump expires, when half of the U.S. will openly celebrate. I don't think that that's an inappropriate speculation. I don't think that it'll appear the way that, it won't be like parties in the street all the time everywhere. I think that, the Democratic Party will obviously toe the line, and more than half, yeah, definitely. The Democratic Party will definitely toe the line and be like, oh my God, we're so sad about this. He was such a great leader and all this other crap, right? By and large, that'll happen. But the population will definitely feel like a sigh of relief. I can imagine there being a collective societal, just like, and not even just America, like literally the entire world over. Because I know that my ass will be celebrating when Donald Trump fucking kicks the bucket finally. Like, he has done so much damage to the world economy. He is literally, Donald Trump, in my opinion, is a terrorist. Right? Because he isn't terrorizing the entire world. He's terrorizing Greenland. He's terrorizing Canada. He's now at a war with Iran. Like, he has destroyed the world economy as we used to know it with all of this tariffs and now this war. And like, everything is getting more and more expensive because this maniacal asshole can't like let go of his fucking ego. My condolences to the grave. Oh my God. Why? Because it has to house Donald Trump. Pinbox already. Well, you said it better than I could. LOL. Yeah, like the entire world will just like feel such a level of relief. Like, there will definitely be people who are mourning and they'll complain about people being excited about it and feeling like a little bit better. Like, once this dictator terrorist finally passes away. But like, who cares, right? Like, the people that elected Donald Trump are like one of the smallest minority groups in the entire planet, because the United States, by and large, doesn't turn out to vote. Only half of the United States population voted in the last election. And of that, only 50% of those people voted for Donald Trump, which is crazy. And he didn't even win the popular vote, did he?
It's bringing home black people to marry.
And in the 1960s, the West Side burns down. We don't want to live around that. We don't want to live around a city that's burning down.
That's not when the white flight
Hello?
happened.
It is.
The Tulsa race riots are a prime
Absolutely.
example.
100%
Segregation,
not.
so many other
Historical,
things.
Connections that don't exist. Part of it was potentially, but before that, what Mayor Daley
There's
did
going to
was
be
made Chicago the most
a lot of
segregated city
abuse,
in the entire United States, other than
fans. Yeah,
Boston. When you
100%.
come from the
Like,
South
when the
to
pandemics
Chicago,
first started, we were
African-Americans from the South,
celebrating
blacks
the
from the
nurses
South
and the
coming to
frontline
Chicago
workers by
would
all
say that
banging pots
Chicago
with
was
pans. Yeah,
twice
it's going to be
the
another one of
level
those.
segregation and racism that occurred in the South. And so it wasn't as if you're coming into a situation in which you're feeling in any way enfranchised by the community and the situation that you're in. And as many people left simply because of the idea that someone was black moving into their neighborhood as the violence that occurred after the assassination of Martin Luther King.
I'll go live 100%. The minute that I hear about it, I'll go live. Doesn't matter what time it happens at. I'll go live. 3 a.m, I'm live. I'm talking about it.
Because of the desegregation,
we'll have a party.
because of the 1964 Civil Rights Act than you did after the riots.
I think that's just not true. I think that the race riots were a huge driver of white flight to the suburbs. I think it's just dishonest to say that's not the case.
Okay, so what's your point about
No.
all this?
Well, we're talking about where people want to live.
Yeah, I know. So, like, what in 2026?
Well,
what's the point?
how about in 2020 when Minneapolis burned to the ground? Or how about in the summer of 2020 in Chicago?
Minneapolis didn't burn to the ground.
It didn't?
No. I mean, there were
BLM
parts
didn't
of it that
destroy
burned.
dozens of
If you
structures?
guys need a physical witness to what happened in Minneapolis, there were many structures that burned to the ground. Not the city, but there was, I would say, between 40 to 50 buildings off of Lake Street in the south side that did burn to the ground. But most of the city was intact, but it was quite an intense situation.
People don't want to live around that. People don't want to live around that. You know, in Chicago,
You know what people don't want? They don't want their community members being unjustly murdered by the police on a regular fucking basis. They don't want inequality. They don't want racism. They don't want discrimination. They're tired of it. And after a certain point, it just bubbles over and there's no other way to express that frustration. Like, I understand people are upset that these buildings are burning down, but buildings are fucking replaceable. People are not, right? And even though it seems like incredibly violent, it is much more peaceful than the January 6th riots that happened just because Donald Trump wasn't fucking elected president. So if we're going to talk about like riots and stuff like that, let's talk about the most recent quote unquote white riot that happened when Donald Trump wasn't elected. It's crazy. The True Steel says, who cares if buildings burn? People's lives are more important. 100%, right? Like, it's crazy how, like, Nick Fuentes completely glosses over these things. Because didn't I think two people died during the insurrection, didn't they? There was one woman, an insurrectionist, and a police officer that died, I'm pretty sure. Also, give True Steel a follow. True Steel is a great streamer. They're tons of fun, super chill. And they play a variety of different games. So go check them out if you get the opportunity. Thank you so much, everybody.
It rolled on into the summer, and it wasn't, let's say, the anger of the oppressed and the disenfranchised.
So
they were looting. They were looting and carjacking.
Who cares? Who cares? That shit's replaceable.
The problem with the 26-year-old
I remember watching an episode of Philosophy Tube where she brought up the question, why was a window smashed? Because the organization smashed lives. Yeah, I understand that it greatly has a negative impact on people who are still alive, that their buildings and their property and stuff like that gets destroyed, but you can work to replace that. You're still alive. The people that are rioting are upset that somebody will never be back again because their life was unjustly taken from this person. And there still hasn't been any real justice, right? Think about George Floyd. It was an unprecedented situation that anybody was charged in that situation. And he was murdered over literally a pack of cigarettes. Isn't that freaking insane? And they're constantly making excuses, and they made jokes and make fun of it all the time. But for some reason, whenever talking about these subjects, people like Nick Fuentes just sort of seem to have it disappear from the mind that this is the kind of thing that they do. They always revert back to the whole rules for thee, but not for me type of mentality when approaching these subjects.
Suburbia outside of Chicago, and his feeling of being disenfranchised is because there was looting and rioting in Minneapolis by black people. And it's black people that are doing it.
Yeah. I mean, the problem with Austin Metcalf was that he got stabbed in the neck at a track meet. And the problem
he wasn't stabbed in the neck, he was stabbed in the chest.
The Magnificent Mile is gone. Water Tower Place is gone because of all the crime.
Nick, and the time from an entire generation of African Americans is that they've been getting killed by cops for decades.
That's
what are you talking about, Nick?
Because they commit crime. And listen, it's not...
Nick,
that's not
true.
Okay.
That's not true.
It doesn't matter if you fucking commit a fucking crime. If you are not in a position to have been murdering somebody or killing somebody else, then there is no justifiable reason for your life to have been ended by the police. The police are not the judge, jury, and executioner. They are literally just there to start the facilitation of the justice system, right? They are supposed to be the frontline workers of the justice system, but they should not be the determinant of your life sentence, right? Because that's what being murdered by cops is. It is an incredibly short life sentence, right? You are gone for the rest of eternity. You are been murdered. It is an execution. It's a government-sanctioned execution.
Are you saying the police brutality relates in racism in the police force, in the way in which police treat African Americans? Nick, you could grow up here like I did between Wilmington and Philadelphia. And if you were a black dentist and you lived in Wilmington and you commuted to Philadelphia, the chances of you being pulled over by a state trooper, either Delaware or in Pennsylvania, are about 50 times that would be if it was a white guy. 50 times. And so what you're trying to tell me is that the problem in America right now is that a 26-year-old white kid who lives in suburban Chicago doesn't feel like he has access because he's been canceled or he's been woke, and the problem is black people.
I didn't say the problem's black people.
Well, you just did, Nick. You just said
the problem is crime, and we know who's doing the crime in Chicago. The carjackings, shootings, teen
literally
takeovers.
said, I didn't say it was black people, and then said that it was black people.
Because they steal cars, they drive them through windows. And listen, black people are some of the biggest victims of the black crime. But we're not allowed to talk about it.
He doesn't care about this.
The racial
the police have qualified immunity. That's a powerful drug. Yeah.
People listen to you, Nick.
Qualified immunity needs to be abolished. It's one of the most egregious and disgusting civil rights concepts in my personal opinion. It's insane that that's even a possibility or a thing. Why do they have qualified immunity, right? It's so blanketly applied and appropriately used that it is just a way for them to never have to take accountability for any of their actions ever.
Well, after Elon had to buy Twitter and open it up. It wasn't like that before. I was banned from everything for many years. So no, you weren't allowed to.
Wish it was still that way.
That's only because a good guy.
One of the biggest social media L's was definitely Elon Musk owning Twitter.
We launched our own streaming platform.
Also, Ethical React.
Now. We have 5 films on there right now. Film number 1, The Art of Protest, made by the homies over at In Decline, who we interviewed a few months back. Film 2, Rat Film by Theo Anthony, set in Baltimore, investigates the lives and times of the rodent population through the eyes of the people who love the rats of Baltimore, study the rats of Baltimore, or are paid to execute and trap the rodents of Charm City. Documentary number 3, Star Cash by Haley Garrigus, an amazing Wall Street documentary that follows the lives of market predictors, that's right, stock analysts who stare at the planets to figure out what's going to happen with the money. Documentary number 4, it's called Physician Heal Thyself by director Asher Penn, a fascinating lifelong profile featuring tons of archival footage documenting a physician, psychiatrist, philosopher, sorcerer of the mind named Gabor Mate. Very influential dude as far as addiction and trauma and healing. He's about as good as it gets. He's the top dog in that realm. So check that documentary out. Documentary number 5 is my own. Had to put my own sauce on there to get the train moving. It is called Finding Orson, a 45-minute documentary that I shot over the course of a year and a half, trying to reunite a beloved friend and elderly community member named Rick Shore with his lost parrot named Orson.
Maybe he's just too embarrassed to admit that he doesn't want the bird anymore.
So those are the 5 films on C5.now. A totally independent, creator residual forward, power to the people documentary platform. Not gatekept by Hollywood.
Gabor Mate, yeah, he's cool guy.
Is that unlike the major studios,
we'll probably watch one of the documentaries on stream if we can.
Pay creators fairly. The link is in the pinned comment and description box of this video.
Because these actually sound pretty good. They sound interesting.
It's not just a website. It's an app on your phone and a smart TV app. So get your popcorn, get your remote, sit down. It's time to learn. I'll see you guys soon.
You went from being banned on Twitter to being on YouTube to creating an entire show. I know you're not, but now you have Kick and now you have all of these other things. You have an enormous platform. I want to find common ground of how much of a shithead Donald Trump is. We can get to
Why would you want to find common ground with a fucking Nazi? Come on, stop.
In 2016,
drives me crazy.
Didn't recognize that in 2020, and how you didn't recognize that in 2024 because Donald Trump hasn't. Because Donald Trump hasn't changed. Donald Trump hasn't changed at all. Donald Trump has been Donald Trump since he came out of the womb of a woman that was an immigrant to this country. And so what I want to know, though, is that I don't know how we get past this idea that the biggest problem that you have with your personal situation and how you extrapolate that to the situation of other white kids that are your age, that feel disenfranchised, that feel left out, that feel they don't have a shot at the American dream, is because of black and brown people, because of Mexicans, because of Venezuelans, because of Haitians, it's always other, Nick, with you, it seems to me. And I've listened to a lot of the stuff. It's always them. We need to build a wall. Where's the wall, Nick? He never built the wall. Why'd you vote for him in 2020? Why'd you vote for him in 2024?
I didn't vote for him in 2024.
Okay. My point being is that whenever you identify your problem as being something that is other, that you can point to, that's a minority, that is a group of people, that's the Jews, it's the.
Hey, Surfy, thank you so much for the subscription. I greatly appreciate it. How are you? I'm doing good. Welcome in. Everybody, Surfy Polecat is my Discord moderator, and now YouTube editor. Welcome in. Thank you so much.
That to be wrong in the United States of America.
Accidental says some people cannot be redeemed. Fuentes is one of them. I do. I believe that too. I am a believer in redemption and being able to move forward with your life, even if you're not included in my life. However, I don't believe that everybody can be redeemed. Like, some people just cannot. And some people, here's the thing, like, some people don't want to be redeemed or don't think that there's anything about them that, like, needs redemption. And Nick Fuentes is so secure in his own, like, ideology and thought process and feelings about himself that he doesn't see anything wrong with the way that he's behaving. And for redemption or to change, you have to believe and recognize that you have done some sort of harm or wrong to the world, society, an individual, and even yourself, right? Like, you have to recognize that there is some sort of fault in your own personal logic or behavior that needs redemption and changing. Yeah. Nobody should be redeeming from phone scammers. You don't think that phone scammers can be redeemed? What are you talking about? Phone scammers can definitely be redeemed. You don't know. Like, so I think that, like, I have mixed bag feelings about phone scammers. I do believe that some of them are just really desperate people, but like that's just me. Did you see the tut I posted for you for the shout out auto? No, not yet, but I'll check it out. Thank you so much, Surfy. I appreciate it. Everybody go check out Surfy Polecat. They are a streamer also. They play Minecraft on a variety of streams. The True Steel says, it depends on who they scam. If it's corporation, then they are doing the Lord's work. They? What do you mean, Surfy? I'm only me laughing my ass off. I don't even remember what I was saying. I'm so sorry.
Hear you talk about
I was referring to you. They is just like, they are like, it's like a new gender neutral term to refer to you rather than boy or girl. You said they also stream? Yeah, you also stream. It's just me. Yeah, they also stream. Yeah, you. You can use they as a singular term to discuss somebody when you're talking to them about them in third person. Doesn't that make sense? Duncan says, as a hardcore capitalist with 15 mining companies and another 2 oil companies, I disagree at the True Steel. No, you don't think so? You don't think that? So how should I have said that? How should I presented you? Like Surfy Polecat is a streamer, not they are a streamer? Doesn't that make sense?
this idea of white culture. What fucking white culture are you talking about, man? What
Shakespeare, Dante, Mozart. We're in Philadelphia, the founding fathers.
Yeah.
That's your white culture.
How about the Count of Monte Cristo? Would you consider that part of our white culture?
Surfy is also a streamer? Okay, I'll say it that way next time, Surfy.
In France in the 1700s.
I was talking about the other message? Yeah, I know. True Steel. I mean, sorry, Duncan, you were referencing True Steel.
One example.
I thought it was funny. I got it.
Nick, I'm not. I really am not.
Hey, guys, I think we're reaching what's called a rock in a hard place. Let's talk about Israel.
Well, let me respond to this because you're telling me I'm always blaming the other.
No, Nick, for real.
He is. He does. All the time.
Is that the way that you talk and
that's
throw
his whole
out
entire
these historical
platform.
facts, which, by the way, aren't fucking facts. Okay?
Which ones aren't facts?
Well, as it relates to the Civil Rights Movement in 1968, and the reason why we're out in the problem that we're in is because the Civil Rights Act passed in 1964. Dr. Martin Luther King was killed and shot by a white racist, white supremacist in 1968 on a balcony of a motel. That's the root of our trouble, because an entire people that have been disenfranchised and enslaved for over 400 years.
We're sick of hearing about that, though. It's 2026.
You may be sick of
So fucking what? I don't give a shit if you're fucking sick and tired of hearing it. We don't have equality, okay? Why do you get to dictate what we get to talk about? Like, what? You're tired of listening to other people saying, hey, please stop fucking oppressing us. Hey, please stop, shooting us in the street unjustly. Hey, maybe treat us with the same dignity and respect that you expect us to treat you with. You're tired of that kind of shit. I don't give a fuck, Nick Fuentes. I am glad that you have to live the rest of your life suffering under the concept that you have to treat other people like fucking equal. I am glad that that is your plight in life. You are a terrible freaking person. I just do not freaking care about your complaints. You're tired of hearing about it. Boo fuckity who. Boo fuckity who. Go cry into a fucking river. Nobody fucking cares. You're such a fucking loser. Duncan says, all people should be equal and not be discriminated on the bias of race. Yeah, 100% agree. They shouldn't be discriminated against based upon anything, right? Whether it's race, creed, religion, sexual orientation, gender, so on and so forth. Duncan says, I am, of course, still greater... I'm still, of course, greater than any human that has ever existed. But besides that, everyone else is equal. Everyone else can work at your mining and oil companies for bread every single day. Is that what you're saying, Duncan? I feel that. I get that. I understand where you're coming from. I totally agree with you 100%. You're the master ruler of the universe. Accidental says, Fuentes made a career of promoting racism. Yeah, racism, bigotry, hatred, whatever kind of spread of ism that he can, spread across his bread to make his money, he will do. And my defense firms too. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I'm so sorry. We definitely need to send the children to the mines for Duncan.
Hearing about it, but you know what? They aren't. And I'll tell you what, Nick, here's the
over
other
it.
thing.
Get over
Nick,
it. It's America.
Okay, but Nick, you can say stuff like that. okay, without having to say it like that. And
No, I don't use child labor. Oh, thank God. That's
This
your
is a
line.
legitimate
Thank
argument, but
goodness.
Nick.
Guys,
Are their hands too small to work the tools? Is that your issue with it, Duncan?
Nick, Hunter, what do you guys make of the concept of community collapse? Have you guys heard of this?
No.
So it's got nothing to do with race, got nothing
I
to do
only
with money.
bomb
This is kind of a
glasses.
crazy stat.
Oh,
So in 2019,
no.
before COVID, 76%
I only
of
bomb
Americans said they
penguins?
were part of
Okay,
an
fair enough.
in-person
Oh my
community that gave
God,
them some
it's
kind of value.
his.
After COVID, and this year,
What do you
it was
mean?
19%.
Surfy?
So I think that politics and race aside,
What's
one of the
that
biggest
red
issues
thing
is
on
the
his
collapse
head?
of social bonds,
What are you
third
talking about?
spaces,
I missed it.
communities, in-person engagement, which comes
Oh my
with
God, it's
loneliness, more
his?
time online, and more division. I understand that. I feel like you guys aren't going to agree. I want to talk about what you guys think can be done.
You mean the guy right above me? Those are his glasses. Yeah, it's his glasses. That's where I saw glasses. I thought I was seeing shit. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Yeah, those are his glasses. Yeah, I know. I corrected myself. Yeah, no problem. I was just like, I didn't know what you were referencing. Sorry. Okay, let's keep going.
On an individual and community level to stop people from hating each other and to create more belonging and engagement?
Well, number one, I think this. Okay, for real.
Podcasting.
No, not podcasting, this discussion. For me to be able to sit down with someone who I so vehemently disagree with and find some kind of common ground.
But I mean,
look,
guy at home who's watching this on his phone just thinking, I wish I could go outside, but I don't know anyone.
Okay, well, here's what I'm
Duncan
talking about.
says,
It's all
even
about
God
connection. It is
asked
all
me
about actually
advice
connecting
on
with people. And I'm not talking about
how
digitally
to
connecting
run
with
the
people
universe and
anonymously
all of the
online. I'm
multiverse
talking
too.
about
Okay,
actually-
well, I'm going to be honest, Duncan. If you gave God advice on how to run the frickin' universe, he did a pretty piss poor job. Because look at society. What is this? Honestly. Worst dictator ever.
Going out and connecting with people. And I don't have an answer to that. I don't, any of us. We are in look, man, I just think that you are targeting the wrong problem, Nick. I think
That's
that
true.
biggest
Like,
problem right
if you're unaware of what they were talking about, because I was talking over it a little bit, they just mentioned how after COVID, there was kind of like almost like an explosion of online activity in regards to people finding community online because they couldn't engage with their communities outside in the real quote unquote world. And, you know, when I think about that, I can imagine that although there will be some retention, right now I believe we're in a bit of a post-COVID bubble, and over time that will definitely deplete also, and things will go back to normal. People will start engaging with the outside world more frequently. Although there may be an increase, it won't stay at the same level that it was post-COVID. And I wouldn't even be surprised if Nick Fuentes is already seeing a bit of decline. Duncan says he made it himself, which is why it looks like this, and which is why he asked me for advice. Okay, fair enough. What do you think is the best advice that you gave to God, Duncan?
now doesn't have to do with a this cultural divide or racial divide or religious divide or the idea that America is becoming less white or culturally relevant anymore.
Fair enough.
I think our biggest
I thought it would be something like
is literally an
pure world hunger or something like that. But no, give me power.
Every
All right.
single division that we have.
And
by the way, and they're out for you, man.
Yeah.
Just as
I
much as anybody else.
Well, and I agree.
So those platforms that we talk about.
What are
that
you
you're not allowed
doing,
to be on
Biden?
because
What are you
Elon's out on the
doing?
platform.
What are
Elon
you
doesn't
doing?
give a shit about anything
Please
other than
stop
one thing.
like
I just wanna
doing
say
this to
real
him. Like
quick,
stop
money.
like
Well,
oh
here's money.
I understand you. You're persecuted
Okay, you may
too.
not agree with that because you don't want to
Profit
piss
is
off
the
Elon
motive.
Musk.
Fair enough.
Elon doesn't even like me, but I just
You're
disagree.
talking about the oligarchy, right? Like
Yeah.
these billionaires, right?
Yeah.
Like the goal of corporate capture of these industries.
By the way, Elon not liking Nick Fuentes is not any bonus points for Elon Musk. I think like Elon Musk is literally at the bottom of the barrel for me when it comes to people. Like he's the richest person in the world. He said he was gonna be able to cure world hunger. Didn't do it. Like there's so many projects that like are humanitarian projects that he gives up on so fucking quickly compared to his like stupid pet projects like owning fucking Twitter. He is just like one of the world's biggest fucking losers. Cheshire says, seize the means of production. Yeah, 100%. Surfy Polecat says Elon Musk and laughs. Duncan, I only supported him because I wanted him to colonize Mars. Oh my god, you supported Elon Musk? I could imagine when he first like started breaking out into the scene and before he became out like a super Nazi and like white supremacist who supports the like right wing political parties and stuff like that. You're joking? Okay, thank God. I was gonna be like, I can understand people like getting behind him and stuff like that, but like we ain't anywhere close to colonizing Mars. I don't know that. Surfy says, didn't they find out there was water on Mars? I believe so. There was some sort of liquid. And now recently there was a scientific discovery that there might actually be some sort of like bacteria on one of the planets, potentially. I don't know if it's a hypothesis or an actual theory. I'm assuming it's just a hypothesis so far. Duncan says, but I seriously want to colonize Mars and the moon, steal the water, colonize all planets. Well, you can't really colonize Jupiter. How the hell are you going to colonize Jupiter? It's a gas planet. That doesn't work. Oh, that's something that I wanted to cover. Apparently, China wants to build like a solar ring around the moon that's supposed to supply energy to the Earth by 2036. We'll look into that probably on Wednesday, but I thought that was a really interesting story. Accidental says, it's an 18-month round trip to Mars. Elon should be the first to go there and check it out. Yeah, he should go there and then stay there and be like, I got to stay there for a couple of decades until maybe he passes away. So just to make sure that it's safe and make sure that the project goes well. He should build Mars colonization all by himself. I fully support that concept and idea. Oh my God, you guys are going so fast. Just a second. You say, suck the gases out and call it. It is literally just a gas planet. There's nothing else beyond it. Surfy says, the fact they went into space just to go around the moon, I'm like, why not land on the damn thing? They did land on the moon, but it's okay to go around it too. It's space exploration, okay? Duncan says, I want to terraform Venus. Why Venus? And then conquer the universe. Space imperialism. Okay, so you want what is it? Not Star Wars. Oh my God, I'm conflicting two names. Oh my God, what's the name of that show? It's the one with Leia and Luke. Oh my God, not Star Trek. No, not Star Trek. Luke and Leia isn't in Star Trek. Oh, are you trolling me right now? Not Star Trek, not Star Wars. Is it Star Wars? Star Wars. It is Star Wars? I don't know why my brain is just completely blanking on it. Holy crap. Yeah, Star Wars. Oh my God, that just doesn't sound right for some reason. Anyways, Surfy Polecat says they could have landed on the moon, had a device fly around the moon, grabbing pictures, and then landed back on the moon? Yeah, but what would be the point of that? When they can just do it themselves. Like, they save so much more resources just by
community collapse.
Orbiting and stuff like
to
that.
Engineer things to make
Plus,
it
it's less dangerous.
Eliminate
We're not
every
that
single
advanced.
Small business. They want to make everyone
I know, right?
a single person shopper, no carpooling, like to be a lonely consumer.
I believe in kindness on earthly living beings, but I don't care about aliens.
Data center shit, like everything they're doing is
land on the moon. Fair enough.
I feel like for you
I don't
guys,
know. Maybe in the future,
it might be hard to answer,
conquer their planet.
They call like controversial public figures. Like there's places that you
why conquer them?
If you were to go
for all
to
we know, we have aliens here already.
Missouri, you would have been in danger. You know what
Steal
I mean?
their resources. Why not integrate with them
physically in a left-wing city? It's just the truth.
I don't think we. Why would we bring them back to Mars and not a planet in their own solar system?
You especially, but I mean you in general. But I feel like your controversies came a little bit later in life. For you, I feel like you haven't even been able to grow up as a normal person. Is that accurate to say?
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, and in terms of building community,
because he became famous so young, he had his development almost like stunted by the fact that he was so like a celebrity, for example, so young. He didn't develop the same way that other celebrities did.
People wake up in their house, which is separate from everybody else.
Says, I mean, what they gonna do? What they gonna find around the moon and
everything? But then they go right home.
A line doing the gunman's style dance, laughing my ass off.
So I think
Duncan says because we have to steal their stuff, and they'll fight if we steal their stuff, which is why we should. Oh my goodness.
Want to have prosperity and everything like that. How can you have
you're a Kairos fan too. Nice.
I think that
I like Kairos.
For example, if you want to have those encounters that are unplanned or spontaneous, they're going to happen maybe on the subway, on the bus, on your way to work. People don't
eliminate all opposition
anymore.
before they can even.
I just feel that
even okay, fair enough.
Now, 2026, I think 2025 had the lowest homicide.
But then we're like genociding people when we don't even know if they're dangerous.
I feel like if you compare data from the 90s, like the cities, I get what you're saying, but the cities I have noticed.
I like the concept of aliens. They're a little scary, but
more expensive as well. It could have something to do with.
What if aliens came in? And they became our new overlords, and like they made the world like the best place that it could ever be, right? Wouldn't that be nice though? Like, wouldn't that be nice? You can kick back. You don't have to worry about anything because everything's supplied to you. Like in what's that movie called? Wall-E. I'll take an alien on Fortnite 1v1. LOL. Well, that's not really fair because then they'd have a learning curve of how to just like, what if they don't have thumbs and they can't use controller? That's not really fair. And then we can stab them in the back and steal their stuff. Oh my gosh, Duncan, you're a one-note dictator. I swear to God. I would rather integrate with the aliens. Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Just share as it right. Oh my gosh.
Is impossible.
Betray those who trust you?
Right?
No.
Because everybody has an experience with violence.
Then I can say trash,
witnessing crime,
get good, or read a book.
Just in their local newspaper. Is that I don't think that is in any way limited to only urban environments. I take the top 10 poorest red states in the country, and their crime rates are 10 times what many urban centers are.
So you'd be comparing like West Virginia, coal country, disenfranchised to like an urban neighborhood.
What would integration even mean? Have you ever seen Invincible? Not like that, because the Viltrumites are Nazis, let's face it. Viltrumites are like the ultimate Nazis. They're like space Nazis. I had such problems with the most recent season of freaking Invincible. If you've never seen that show, absolutely excellent. Absolutely love it. I thought it was made by The Boys originally, but it wasn't. But it's an excellent show. Why do aliens always land on remote forest areas, never in Times Square or Boston Commons? Probably because they're smart enough to know that if they did, it would either destroy the, ethos of like society, and, they want to integrate slowly, right? Like, what's the safest method they could do? Would you slap alien or would you deport the alien back to its planet? Neither. Why is that? Why are those the only two options, Surfy? Why are those the only two options?
In terms of per capita murder, in terms of per capita child sexual abuse? Yeah.
Oh my God.
Things that people really care about, things like that, is their own personal
because they're
safety.
weak and
it is not
are scared.
To
you don't know that, Duncan.
African-American urban or Latino American urban environments. It's not. It exists. Carjackings do happen, but you know where they happen? They happen in Biloxi, Mississippi, just as much as they happen in Chicago.
I'm skeptical of that.
I mean, I just think the idea of like safety,
safety
at risk, crime has been. I feel like the media has
Duncan, no.
Fact check both of us on this, and but I agree with you. But my point about all of it is that you can always point to a reason, Nick. There's never been a time in which there hasn't been crime in major urban areas where you pack a lot of people in. You're right, though, is that the difference between us feeling like each other were our neighbors and that we can find some common ground.
But we can't integrate because they're always why. 360 no scope. Oh my God, there'll be different species.
Really have to leave your house to make
we integrated with cats and dogs.
You don't go to the community center anymore, and I don't know how to fix that. And I certainly don't know how to fix it.
We love them
because community is like an essential human need, if not the most important thing. So when you are deprived of that, you're more likely to look for a radical solution and be like, everything's broken. We need to try something really out there. So you might embrace something more reactionary.
That's really true.
On left or right, to be like, fuck it.
Throw a cat at the alien, see what happens. I bet they'd pet it. They'd be like, oh my God, what is this creature? We dominated cats and dogs and forced them to beg us for food. Fair enough. Oh my God. But that's actually really true. What they're talking about in terms of community, like, one of the driving forces behind joining these groups and stuff like that is because people don't feel like they have an alternate community that they can be a part of. Like, when people join these groups, they're primarily joining them because they see them as a quick way of finding community. And it's been proven that if you show them alternatives and introduce them to alternatives, they're likely to let go of these ideals, concepts, and things like that. Like, a lot of people just hold on to this stuff because they feel like it is a part of their community. And it's hard for them to let go of if they don't feel like they have any place to integrate into. That's another reason why I am definitely for reform. Although I don't expect any person of minority background to be accepting of somebody who used to be of a white supremacist nature. Like, when Graham Plattner first came out, I wasn't really for him. Like, I liked him a little bit when I first heard about him and his policies and stuff, but as soon as he heard about his background, it was kind of like, oh, not good. And then it just kind of kept on getting worse. But it's just like, letting him over to the left, like, fine, you can come into the left. Like, I don't think he deserves a position of power and all that, but like, we need to be able to allow people to migrate away from white supremacist ideas, away from white supremacist communities, and ensure that we welcome them in, because if we don't leave them with a space to go, then they're just going to stay exactly where they are. So as difficult as it can be to be open to these people because they've hurt us in the past, and you know, the best predictor of past behavior, of future behavior is past behavior, you know, like, we still need to take those risks and allow people in. It's just how we let them in is essential, right? Like Graham Plattner, after we found out like his history, his 5 tours and the Nazi tattoo, and then the accusation of assault and etc., that should have been it for him, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with him espousing those beliefs or anything like that. Like, create a fucking podcast, Graham Plattner. That's what you want to do. If you are genuinely reformed, if you're genuinely wanting to be on the left, if you're genuinely wanting to be included on here, like, same with Marjorie Taylor Greene. Like, I would invite her over to the left if she wanted to come. Sure, why not? I would never think that she deserves a position of power in like, in terms of politics on the left or anything like that. But that doesn't mean that she can't be a part of our community if she wants to reform. Like, if you genuinely believe in the potential for people to reform and change, then that feels like it's an important part to do. That doesn't mean that you need to include them in your life. Cheshire says, train them to do mental labor. Aliens? Oh my God. What kind of mental labor would you put them through, Cheshire? Duncan says, for reform, didn't know you supported Farage. Who is Farage? Reform, not like the Reform Party. I mean, like, to reform as a person, to reform who you are, to reintegrate into society, menial labor. Excuse me. Manual? Do you mean manual? Menial? Do you mean manual labor? Fair enough. But wouldn't that be slavery? We don't like slavery here. That's bad. I know I'm messing with you. Okay, thank God. I was just like, oh my God, no, not Farage. Like, yeah. The troll is perfect. Yeah, you guys are pretty good at this. You guys are trolling me very well today. I appreciate it. Yes, W. Thank you, Surfy Polka. I appreciate my new editor having my back with this. I love that he's siding with the community over me. So you want aliens to have equal rights? Yeah, 100%. I would want aliens to have equal rights if they lived on the planet and they were like trying to integrate. Have you not? What's that movie about like the people that are in the spaceship and they, not Chappie? We'll watch it during film night. And they come down and they're in South Africa and they live in the ghetto, or not the ghetto, but the slums, excuse me. They live in the slums of Africa. And then there's there's this inspector who's going around inspecting, making sure that they don't have anything illegal like weapons and stuff like that. And then he accidentally gets turned into an alien without spoiling it. What's that movie called? Shouldn't they have rights to marry humans? Yes. Yes, they should have the right to marry humans. I don't see what would be wrong with that. That's a good question. Yeah, I do believe. Put it in your Googler. I will. Oh no, what did I miss? I missed something. You guys were talking too much. Yeah, aliens should definitely have equal rights. There's a word for this. It is exophilia. Okay, well, I don't think that aliens would. It's not. It's none of my business. If you are what would be classified as legal consenting adults on human Earth, go forth and be fucking plentiful. Okay, none of my fucking business. All right. Do you think aliens are on TikTok too? Do I think that if they landed here, they would use TikTok? Maybe. They'd need to make money and live in our economy, unless they enslaved us, which hopefully not. Do you think they would do their own streaming service too? Definitely. Why not? Why not? Do they use bricks? Bricks for what? How can you even... Never mind. Let's move on. Thank you. Let's get back to the video. Houses? Brick houses? Why not? I don't understand these questions, Surfy. I'm getting confused. Okay, let's go back to the video. Let's refocus.
We need something new. And I'm not trying to draw this like male loneliness, like incel pipeline that the media tries to do all the time. But do you see a connection there between like people being lonely and having less friends and subcultural
absolutely.
choice taking over community value
You never
systems,
know, they
like
might have a brick planet. It's true. Could be possible.
100%. I think social dislocation is probably the #1 problem of our times, because you look at the young people, and you're right, it is one of those essential human needs is to connect and have.
And we're not talking about having kids with aliens. We're just talking about marriage.
To see and to be seen. And
you never know; they might be compatible.
And I think, by the way, you look at the way young people socialize, and even the
there are people that speculate that human beings are aliens to the planet, even though we evolve, right? Like life on Earth is an alien entity, right?
It's a community.
That's a speculation that we came down on a meteor
like a
stuff,
status,
right?
reputation. You're constantly involved with other people, and I think everybody, young people, look at when they graduate from college like falling off a cliff, and now life is over, because now you just have your job, the gym, and going back home, and that's it. And this is why a lot of young people then want to move to the big
their
cities.
life,
Gotta go to New
their
York,
choice,
gotta go to
yeah.
Chicago or LA.
I can tell you, they say I do. They would kick you. That's how they say I do. What?
And
I
I think that's just not really a sustainable way to have a society. There has to be a way for people to still have that sense of community outside of, let's say, college and high school, even into their adulthood, and then into their old age. So yeah, I mean, that's one of the biggest problems going on. And I agree. I think it drives, even to your point about the whites-only community.
Steal their bricks and knock them out. You're so violent, Duncan. Why? Steal their ship? Okay, steal their ship is a good idea.
Going into these
intergalactic space travel on one of their ships would be freaking epic.
People go
from their planet.
Go online, start spouting about politics, or, even not just for incels and right-wingers, but even on the left. Someone like Tyler Robinson, he's on Discord.
So Discord has nothing to do with being left or right in terms of politics
or whatever. And I think that, there's a tendency there.
I would just use it.
Kind of
yeah, same here.
Some of the resentment or feelings there. So I agree. That's a huge driver.
So for you, like,
I would just use it to go to KFC.
First kind of starting to use the internet and all that. Did you build
KFC. I don't eat KFC anymore.
Chicago, or was it mostly online?
When I was in high school or college?
High school.
The high school I had real friends.
I'm trying to be vegetarian.
Thing. So that was.
But you were still creating like some kind of content at that time.
Not in high school, no.
Okay, so you went to BU.
Yes.
Were most of your friends like classmates there? Like when did you start to kind of build your online persona and community around your content?
It wasn't until I left college. So to that point, I had friends in college, and then when I left college and started my show independently, then it was all people online, and everybody I knew was people from my community for the most part.
But your cancellation from mainstream platforms was effectively the same thing as like a community.
I got a fan on it. It's making my lips so dry.
Well, I wouldn't even say it was just the cancellation, but even more just returning home from college.
What do you think would have happened to you, like career-wise and personal life-wise, if you never would have been mainstreamed? I mean, I guess removed from major social media platforms.
Oh, it'd be a lot easier to make friends. Let's say, because being banned on Instagram, you might as well be dead. In Generation Z, that's how everybody sees each other, meets each other, talks to each other.
No, it's not.
I think I probably have
not at all
livelier.
Join a fucking sports club. Join a local games club. You can meet people so easily out in the real world. You don't even have to do something that costs money. You can just join like a hiking club, a walking club, a book reading club. You can join anything to meet people. Nick Fuentes is just so socially isolated that he doesn't realize that.
From the earth for Generation Z. I understand for older people, for different generation, people still meet up or stay in touch in other ways. But if you're not online as a young person,
I feel like his reflection of the world is strictly his own. So whatever he does in his life is like the way that he believes the rest of everybody else behaves.
Looking back, and I'm not trying to get you to like take something back necessarily. What's like one thing that you said when you were younger where you're like, fuck, I wish I could take that back?
I don't know if I regret what I've said. It's just how you say it.
Yeah, like can you think of an example of like when you listen back to something and you're like, geez, I wish I could.
Yeah. So I did this rally in 2023 called Fuentes Rally 2, and the one comment I said, we're talking about a spiritual battle between Christians and everybody else, and I said we're in a holy war. I said, and we're going to make them die in a holy war. And the second I said that, I was like, didn't mean to say that. It's an extemporaneous speech. So
it's not that he didn't mean to say that, as he just said. He just regrets the way in which he said it.
So it's always the how. It's always in the delivery that I...
Nick, I can think of about 4 things that I really wish you would take back right now.
Like what?
The cookies in the oven.
Well, that's
I don't know about this one.
But it's not.
Who cares?
My wife is Jewish. My son is Jewish. No, Nick.
Holy war against who? My guess is against Jewish people.
But you gotta understand.
We'll see if we can see it. Just a second.
How incredible.
Oops, sorry guys, just a sec. Let's look this up. Nick Fuentes, Holy War comic. Oops. So he said, white supremacist. I like that AI overview literally labeled him for what he is. White supremacist Nick Fuentes said, "We're in a holy war, and I will tell you this: because we are willing to die in the holy war, we will make them die in the holy war during the Americans' First Rally in July 2023." I'm guessing that he is referring, like, it doesn't explain who he's talking about, but my guess is that he's talking about like Jewish people. Yeah. Targeting, framed as an attack directed against Jewish people and the critics of Christianity. Yeah, so anybody who is not Christian and who is Jewish, essentially, because Nick Fuentes is a white supremacist, unsurprisingly, is directed towards Jewish people. Such LARPers, why don't you have a keyboard in front of you? Because I'm sitting on a giant chair. I have like a keyboard, but like I don't have a mouse or anything like that. Like, so I just lean over to my computer. Once I get a better setup, I will definitely have a mouse and keyboard in front of me. It'll be different. Maybe someday I'll get like an arm, like an extendo desk that I can have in my lap. But right now it's literally just my legs. Like, it's like, I don't know how to show you this. Just give me a second. Let's see. Like, it just looks like this. It's legit just my legs. That's it. So there's nothing here to put anything on. It would just be resting on my legs, and then like my mouse would be on the couch cushion. So in the future, 100% I will. But yeah, he was referencing anybody who isn't Christian and anybody who's Jewish, essentially, which is unsurprising given it's Nick Fuentes. You should get one of them desks that you can move up and down. It's very useful, like, you know, like one of the standing desks. I'll have to link you a desk off Amazon. Yes, please. Yes, please. I would love a standing desk. That would be pretty freaking cool. Someday.
Whether it's a joke or not, it's a lived experience passed down from generation to generation. Whether or not, and by the way, not just from the Holocaust, not just from.
I want to get it someday. Yeah, that would be awesome for your work and stuff.
Israeli politics and Netanyahu, because I think we agree about Bibi Netanyahu. I'm positive we do.
Not right now, since my setup on my auntie's table. Oh, nice.
It hurt. Nick, I promise you it
I
does.
miss my auntie so much.
She's
my favorite person. Right now? Yeah. Future goals. Future goals are good.
It hurts, and you've got to understand that. And by the way, I'm looking at you, and I believe that you do know that.
Let's look up this cookies in the oven quote, too, because I don't know about this either. Just give me a second. Nick Fuentes used a crude cookie baking analogy in 2019 live stream question and mocked the death toll of the Holocaust. He framed the genocide of 6 million Jews as a mathematical impossibility regarding capacity of ovens. That's disgusting. The claim, he questioned whether it was logistically possible to bake 6 million cookies in an oven while within a set time frame, using the baking metaphor to cast doubt on Nazi gas chamber operations. What a fucking freak. I swear, what a fucking freak. He's such a terrible guy. Absolutely disgusting.
That's where you lose me.
Okay, Nick. Okay, I'm
not right now.
Well, since listen, are we here to talk, or are you here to lecture me and preach?
Okay, no, you're
me?
right. Let me listen.
Okay,
so you're right.
You're right. This is a
disgusting human being. Yeah,
and I think this is a disconnect. I think that the left and even people on the right, they're losing the young people. Why do people love me? Not in spite of, but because of the outrageous things that I say. Not in spite of, but because.
Are you shocked that there are other Nazis out there in Nick Fuentes? Like,
on a video or
what is this garbage?
It's because people are sick of the preachiness this,
No,
the
Nick.
lecturing.
Okay,
No,
I'm listening
because they're
really
fucking
hard. But
Nazis
Nick,
too.
I disagree. I think that you're appealing to the lowest common denominator of thought. If you're
Yeah.
hating on the people
Or they're
that
young
they
and
think are the
vulnerable and are
reason
just
for
looking
their
for
suffering,
community
then
and
you
like
must be
shock
on their
value
side.
bullshit because
I
it's
don't
entertaining
think
to
that
them
you
and they
believe
don't
that
know
about the
better.
Holocaust. I
Like,
think you
I don't expect a 13-year-old to have the level of intelligence of a 27-year-old like Nick Fuentes. And I feel like a lot of his base is going to be young, vulnerable people. And he thinks that for some reason that gives like authority and legitimacy to his racist campaigns. And it's just like, look who your audience is. Look who is in front of you. Like, who are, like, how much information do these people have in regards to the things that you're saying? Why might they actually genuinely be reacting to what you're saying? And it's not because they actually believe and agree with you most of the time. It's probably because they're looking for community, they're young and vulnerable, and they don't really have any idea of what's going on. Sure, he probably has a lot of older fans too, but I'm guessing the vast majority of his fans are very, very young. Accidental says, Fuentes is funded through various Christian right organizations that excuse me, sorry, my brain, that's an expensive suit he is wearing. Yeah, I would not be surprised if a lot of his, he's likely not propped up by his fans as much as, like, when you look at somebody like Hassan Piker, who is strictly funded by and large by his fans, versus Nick Fuentes, who has outside organizations that ensure that he can keep running because they view Nick Fuentes as a useful tool to the end of their means, right? Like, I'm not surprised by that by any measure. Like, it makes perfect sense. Nope, sorry guys, I meant to press play.
think the Holocaust did happen. But forget about whether or not you think that it is used politically in a way that is obtuse and wrong. But I think that you do believe that. And I think that you have to. Like, what's your cultural heritage?
I'm Italian, Mexican, and Irish.
Mexican. When did they come in Italian? When did the Mexicans come? When did the Irish come?
Mexicans came turn of the last century.
Yeah.
Italians came in the 1860s.
Yeah.
Irish came in the early 1900s.
Okay, so maybe you wouldn't care about something that is like grossly offensive just on the face of it and think that, oh, why can't people just believe that that's funny? But you got to understand, it's from a perspective of somebody that has that trauma, and I think that there is such a thing as generational trauma, and those stories are passed down generation to generation. When you say something like that, they completely shut off. They can't hear another thing that you're saying about this cultural disconnect, about
Biden, why the fuck should they listen to a white supremacist anyway? Like, what useful thing could a white supremacist say when they're coming, like, from a racist fucking place? Like, what is there potentially for them to learn that would be beneficial to them in any sort of way? Like, what are you doing? You're so fucking ridiculous.
losing communities, about the feeling of
kidding
being
sometimes.
left out or left behind in a world in which there no longer is this sense of community. All the other things that you say, everybody else is left, and what you do pick up. You pick up the ones that hear the dog whistle. You pick up the ones that say, yeah, that's the way that I feel, because it's radical. It's like he's willing to say the thing that nobody else will say in this environment. And then you get, an enormous amount of niche, but love from that. And I just don't believe that you believe that. I don't believe that you think that it was
definitely
appropriate for you to
believes
say
this.
something like that. I don't think you believe
He
that it's appropriate
does.
to say women shouldn't vote.
Let's give Nick a second to respond to the first thing.
I know, I talk.
He 100% believes literally all of it. That's why he says it. He's a grifter too, 100%, because he doesn't care about anybody but himself. But he definitely believes the things in which he's saying. Like, he is first and foremost a capitalist and white supremacist second, but he fully believes everything he's saying. Like, he does not care about people. Like, even if he says some things for quote unquote shock value, that doesn't mean that there isn't a belief behind it. Like, he's just a terrible fucking person. He's awful.
It's all good. It's all good.
I apologize.
I get it, and I understand that perspective, and it is offensive, and it is provocative, and that's sort of what makes it funny. I mean, what we would say in our generation is edgelording. We're being edgy. We're being provocative. And I think that it is that kind of overbearing sense.
By the way, when people say our generation, let's face it, your generation is ultimately whatever grouping of people you exist on the planet with, right? When we say the term generation, like it is literally whoever you are alive with on the planet while you're existing. That is your generation. That includes old people, young people, and people younger than you. Whether or not you inform yourself about the past, the middle, or the future is entirely up to you, but you still have to live within those ethos, right? Where when I think Nick Fuentes is talking about like your generation, he's more referring to people that you grew up with rather than people that you have to live on this planet with. Because either way, regardless of whether they're not part of your generation or not, they're included in with your relative ethos of like your age gap or age grouping. You still have to live by the, rulings of everybody else around you too in society and how we create it. Duncan says, nah, oldies are too gen back now. They're too far gone to be considered like a part of this generation. Okay, fair enough. I guess so. I'm just kidding. They totally are included, right? Because old people vote the most. Hello, old people are the biggest voting bloc, aren't they? We got to take the oldies seriously. We need to convert the oldies. They're an important voting bloc.
For our entire...
I'm the king of edgelord.
Well, in a certain way.
Oh my God.
Let Nick explain
I know.
the psychology behind
it's that overbearingness.
Ancient Eric relics, sometimes.
My generation's had our entire lives. That's not appropriate. That's not funny. Think of the trauma. That's racist. That's white supremacist. That makes it funny. That makes it different, interesting.
Let me
grant, by the way, I think that now, and this is maybe a concession towards you, now that my kind of humor has become mainstream and popular, I don't even think that that's funny anymore. People do the edgelording thing. It's become so commonplace and so tired. I don't think it's that funny or impressive. That's a big part of why I kind of moved past it, because 10 years ago, it was treated like sacrilegious. And there's something funny about the fact that you could say a word or make a joke and make people lose their minds and freak out. And it was like an international incident if you said the wrong thing. And I think that's what made it tempting, especially for a young person.
They arrived even before Adam gave the apple.
Be a little revolutionary or something. Now as time has gone on, I think that's become a fad. Everybody does it. It's lost its power.
You can feel that way sometimes.
And I think that, by the way, part of why we're getting less of it is because instead of getting the preachy lecture from the left saying that's not appropriate, people just roll their eyes.
That's not true. That's not true at all. The reason why we're getting less of it is because society has grown. Society is incredibly slow to mature, but we are seeing like leaps and bounds in terms of the maturity in which we are treating each other, right? Like going back just 30 years compared to now, we see a level of maturity developing within society. And the reason why we see that is because so many people have put in so much work as minorities to ensure that people know what it means to actually respect one another. And Nick Fuentes is antithetical to the concept of respecting his fellow man unless they look exactly like him. So Nick Fuentes is completely wrong here. The whole reason why we have made the progress that we have made is because the tireless and endless endeavors of advocates, of workers, of people who have fought for equal rights in order for us to get to this place, not because people have stopped talking about it, but because people refuse to stop talking about it. Twitch, clip that. Accidental says, I agree. Wisdom is running, but society is running faster. Yes, I completely agree with you, Duncan. I think that, we talked about this in another stream, that, people often, in my opinion, mistake like technological advances with societal advances, and they're not the same thing. Serpy says, I was at the tree. People keep saying Adam and Eve took the apple, but they are wrong. Let me explain. So I took the apple. I'm over 9,000 years old. Are you the smartest person on the planet? Isn't it? Oh wait, no, that's not true. There were two apples, weren't there? There was one that was like the apple of intelligence or something like that. I can't remember. I'm not super familiar with the religious story. I just know the apple story. Duncan says to Surfy Polecat, that apple had those lettuce diarrhea worms in it though? It's not worms, it's bacteria. It's bacteria. And yeah, that shit's crazy. Like, they still haven't nailed it down, and it's expanding a little bit. Thankfully, there haven't been too many more people infected, like, since the recall. I'm immune, laughing my ass off. Thank goodness, because you would not be able to sit in the stream. You'd be running to the bathroom so freaking quickly. By the way, skip lettuce and produce if you were in the United States for like the next 2 weeks if you can, so that you can make sure that you don't develop this illness. It is an outbreak. It's crazy.
Now when an edgy white person says the N-word, people roll their eyes and go, really? You know, that joke again? People hear someone wears a Nazi costume, makes a Holocaust joke. People go, really? That joke
Yeah,
again?
the only
It's not
reason why
impressive.
we
It's not
have
funny anymore.
this
We've seen it
is
before.
because
And
people have
ironically,
worked tirelessly.
that is what makes you get less
Why
of it,
is
when
cover
you disempower those things by not
It's
giving them
because,
this
like,
over-the-top
people have worked
reaction,
to ensure
pretending
that
like
people
it's
know
some
how
great
inappropriate and
travesty.
damaging
So you
that,
think the new
that those
counterculture is
behaviors
going to
are.
be woke again?
No, I think it's a synthesis.
A synthesis of
Oh god, that
post-Edwardianism
got
and
me,
wokeism?
bruv.
Yes,
I'm
because
dead.
I think that wokeism
Sounds good
had
to me.
its excesses.
Yeah.
Edgelording also has its excesses. And I think now we're finding a middle ground between saying the edgiest thing we can think of with no regard for anyone and saying everything is racist. You know, if you say something, you should lose your job. We're finding a middle ground where, you know, maybe it's...
I think if you say that you should hang black and brown people, yeah, you should probably lose your job. I think that that's a reasonable assessment. There are some things that you can say and some things that you can do that definitely should cause you to be isolated from society, at least for a little while. You are not necessarily deserving, like, you deserve at least the bare minimum. Like, your life should not, and your healthcare and things of that nature should not depend on your job, but you are also should not be in a position, like, society should not be in a position where people are required to a job to survive, which should allow us the ability to ensure that the right people are in the right positions. Duncan says he's been stuck in the toilet for 9,000 years, and that is why doesn't even think he has no problem, and that is just normal. That is just his normal. Okay, I get that. That makes sense. You've been so accustomed to the situation that it is now just your universe. I see. That's a very long time on the toilet. Were toilets even invented 9,000 years ago, or has like that progressed over time also?
Tasteful.
Isn't that crazy?
Offensive
We didn't
in
have
small
toilets for that
doses.
long.
Less is more.
So it sounds like
The
you
apple
believe
got
in the
him good.
survival of the American experiment.
Yeah, I really do. And listen, I don't think everything about wokeism was bad.
Bad
necessarily.
apples,
That's the best
yeah.
thing about wokeism.
I think that genuinely it has made people more respectful and empathetic. Because let's be honest, 20 years ago, let's say when I was growing up, I think there was a lot of cruelty. And I think there were some hateful attitudes. And I think as
There
time
still
has gone
is.
on,
You're
this
a
younger
hateful
generation,
person,
they may
you
not
psycho.
be even left-wing. They may not be
Jesus.
what you'd consider woke, but I think they are respectful of people that have different ideas or, you know, a different way of life.
Someone
from a
arrest
different
this apple,
culture.
I
You know,
almost
we make
died.
jokes all the time about
Oh,
the fact
sir,
that
if you
I'm
don't
like
do
a
that, I
far-right
need
guy
you.
and I'm Mexican. People say I'm a white supremacist, I'm Mexican. And people make a joke that a lot of far-right people are Hispanic. And I think that's a consequence that there's very little genuine racial hatred in anybody's DNA anymore, or any kind of hatred. And I think that's positive, but that went too far.
9,000 years
I
meditation.
think some of the
on
other
it.
stuff
That's a
went too
lot of
far as
time
well.
to read
You
a
know,
lot of books.
one of these strange things about sitting in a room with these two is that they agree on almost
It has
nothing,
taught you
but they've
patience,
both
yeah.
lived the same.
Hi,
life.
Ward.
Hunter
Maori?
had a laptop.
Am I saying
and
that
through a
right?
decade
Welcome,
of
welcome in.
strangers,
How are
people from
you?
His texts, his private photos, his voice memo, and even his bank record. Whereas Nick has been doxxed, swatted, had his DMs leaked probably more times than he can count, and more shenanigans. Different politics, but kind of same experience.
We don't say
Somebody
shitty shit.
somewhere
You ain't gotta
decided
worry
that
about
their
your DMs
personal
being
information
leaked.
was public property,
Hey,
so they
hey.
exhumed it
Seemed
and sent it off to
interesting.
the
Thank
world.
you.
But here's the
Hope
thing that
if,
most people don't
you
know.
enjoy the
A
stream,
huge
you
amount
decide
of
to
that
give a
information
follow.
actually isn't stolen.
Bruv, I got
It's for
water
sale.
coming down my eyes. I'm
Currently,
laughing
there are
hard.
over 420
I think
companies
the
called data
laughing
brokers
is
whose
gonna kill
entire
me
business
with
is
the
collecting
apple.
your home
Oh,
address,
don't
your
die,
phone
don't
number,
die,
your
Sophie.
relatives,
Remember
your
to breathe.
previous
Deep
addresses,
breaths.
your income bracket, and selling access to anybody who pays. Last October, one of these vendors got breached.
Ethical
and
reacts,
70,000
chat.
people
Ethical
had their government
reacts.
IDs exposed in one day. That's what this ecosystem looks like when it fails, and it fails constantly. Now you might be thinking, okay, but I'm not Hunter Biden, Andrew Callahan, or Nick Fuentes. Nobody's coming after me. And honestly, I get that. But here's what actually happens when your info is sitting in these databases. Every spam call you get, every spam text about a package you didn't order,
For
every weird
9,000
email
years
from
and
the
will
bank that you
continue
don't
for
use,
9,000 more.
that's
That's a
the
good
data broker
lifespan, man.
economy. It's why
That'd be so
scammers
interesting
know
to see what
your
the
name
planet
before they
looks
call.
like in
This issue
9,000
is
years. Do you
affecting
think we'll
so
make
many
it as
Americans.
society?
The FBI just said that Americans lost $21 billion to online fraud last year, and Americans over 60 lost $7.7 billion of that. And the fastest growing category of scam types relates to AI voice clones. It's a scam where somebody calls your mom pretending to be you in your voice from a number that looks like yours. But guess what?
I'm gonna
That
be
scam
honest, I
doesn't
had something
work if
happen
the
like
scammer doesn't
this
already know your
happen to
name,
me.
your mom's
Super
name, and her
embarrassing.
phone number. And guess where they got that stuff? All three, data brokers. There's also the issue of who can find your address. Any
They're really
ex,
good at what they
any
do.
Strange family member, anybody from a situationship you left years ago who went crazy. $20 on a people search site, and they know where you live right now. Most people don't think about that until it matters, and by then it's too late. You're dead. That's where Incogni comes in.
Oh my
You just
God,
sign
that's
up,
such an
and they take it
extreme
from there. They
act.
contact data brokers
Jesus.
directly, demand that your info
No.
be removed, and send fresh sweeps every 60 to 90 days so nothing quietly gets added.
My
back.
country
They've
is still
processed
like
over
20 years at
245
least
million
away
removal
from that.
requests to date.
They can't
Unlike most
even
other competitors in
tell
this
our
industry,
accent
they
from
had Deloitte,
Aussies.
they had Deloitte,
Really?
they had
Where are you
Deloitte,
from,
one of the
Maori?
big
If
four
you
auditing
if you're
firms,
comfortable
independently
telling us, do you
verify how
prefer
many brokers
Maori
they
or
cover and
Meteor?
how often they actually follow up. The
Surfy
numbers didn't
Polecat
lie.
says,
The numbers aren't
bruv,
marketing.
Duncan
They
can,
are audited.
bro,
Incogni is
where
the
are
shit.
you
They
being?
didn't come to play
Haha.
around. And
You
guess what?
replies
On the
are killing
unlimited
me.
and family unlimited plans, you also get their exposure scanner.
NZ,
Crawls the web
New
looking
Zealand?
for personal
Oh, cool.
info
And
outside
either
the
works?
usual
Okay,
broker
thank
sites
you.
and hands
Thank you
anything
for
it
letting me know.
finds
I'll
to
call you
Incogni's removal
Maori. I hope I'm
specialists,
saying
who are
it
real
right.
people, not AI robots.
Surfy
Recently,
Polecat.
I ran
Duncan
my own
says
info through
to
Incogni
Surfy
and immediately
Polecat,
found
I
old
didn't eat the
addresses,
apple,
phone numbers,
and I have
family
been
numbers
just
listed across a
chilling
bunch of
in the
people search
forest.
websites.
Are
Within
you the
first
alien that we
week,
were
though,
talking about
dozens
earlier,
of removal
Duncan?
requests were already in
Unlike you who
progress,
can't
and
take
you can
God's
watch
advice.
the whole
Oh my
thing
gosh.
happen on the Incogni dashboard. Go to incogni.com/channel5. Use code channel5, all caps, 60% off. All right, back to Hunter and Nick. Hablas español?
No, not a little bit, I guess, from high school.
Can you do a little
I
bit?
don't take God's advice yet.
Un poco.
Okay,
I don't
good.
speak it from my dad, so.
Did you grow up like around a lot of Mexicans?
No, all white people for the most part.
Did they know you were Mexican?
They did. And I'm not gonna lie, I mean, people made fun of me for that.
What'd they say?
Well, like for example, one time when I was in Model UN,
Hi, East.
I was
How are you?
entering high
Welcome
school as a
in.
freshman. They
Did
looked
you
at my
manage to
name
figure
on
out
the
your clipping
roster
issue?
without knowing me? And
I
they
have
told me
this saved
after
on
the
my
fact. The
YouTube
leadership of the
watch. It's
club, they
great.
said,
You should
"Oh,
watch
we
it from
thought
the
you were just
start.
some
It's really
Mexican
interesting.
Kid, so we gave you a bad committee
Surfy says,
assignment."
don't eat the
Wow.
apple.
But see,
XP's well,
I heard
no, that
and
whole
I
thing.
laughed.
What do
I
you
said,
mean? Like the
"That's-
clipping?
that's
If you
funny."
need to,
You know, whereas a
can
lot of
I?
people would say, "Oh,
I don't
that's
know your Discord
traumatic.
name,
I'm a
but if you
victim of
add me on
racism."
Discord,
You know, I
Philip
think that's,
Topical, I'll send
you know,
you.
it's just a
I'll send you the
human
command
thing.
that I
always
use for
felt
the
like growing
clipping
up
to
as
make
like
it
a white
easier
kid
for
in
you.
America.
What if you want? Wait.
Duncan says,
What
at
if you
Miori,
were
it took me
identified
9,000 years.
as
It
being
will take you
Mexican,
1,000.
and they
That's
came
actually a pretty
in
good
and
turnaround
they
time.
didn't tell you that's the reason
Accidental
that they
says,
gave
I
you all the
have
bad
to get
community
on with my
assignments.
day.
That would
Have
be
fun hanging
unfair.
out. Thank you,
Yeah.
Accidental.
It's
Have a really
interesting.
good
I'm
day.
saying
Hope you
it's
stop
on
by and
point,
have a
isn't
good
it?
week.
And
Some
I'm
people
not-
may
Bye.
find it funny because
Yeah, I
you
guess
pass
that comes
as a
with being
white
allowed to eat
Anglo
seafood.
Christian.
Do you think I pass?
What?
You think I pass as a
That
white
is,
Anglo
didn't
Christian?
try. I
Well,
played
I don't
Pal World,
think you have. I
LOL.
think you
Okay,
identify
fair enough.
as it.
Yeah, if you need help with it, feel free to add
Yeah.
me. My
Let's go.
my Discord name
No,
is
but
Philip
really,
Topical.
For real. And my point
2
is
Ls.
that I heard you do an interview, okay? And I literally on the write up here, I was like, you were talking about how you were raised on like Mark
Thank you,
Levin
Surfy.
in high school.
Right.
And the thing that you liked the most about Mark Levin is how cruel he was to
Thank you.
the callers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see. I don't get that. I like the joke about the cookies. It may be a joke and it may be edgelording, and you may not really mean it.
Palward is
but you gotta
awesome right
realize the
now.
cruelty
I've
to
been
it.
meaning
And
to play
without
it
going like,
forever.
oh, like, you know,
Still trying to
wham,
catch
you
the
know,
new ones,
people gotta
even
stop
though
crying
my
about the past. And that's the
Mingongs
thing.
got
is that
deleted
I think
somehow.
that you have
Aw.
such an
Oh my god, I
opportunity
still can't
to
get
talk
enough.
to a generation
Enough of what?
disaffected,
Pal World?
angry, legitimately angry people.
I've been meaning to
in a
play
way
it.
in which
I'm
is-
glad that
is
Nintendo
passive,
is struggling
without
with
having
their
to do that
lawsuit
shit.
against
And by
it.
the way, and I'm not holding you responsible.
I'm not playing it yet.
For,
Been on
you know,
Steam
any
getting
of-
dust. Maybe we can, is it multiplayer? We can have a
my
community
conception
night.
of Western
It's worth
civilization,
playing.
which is
Okay, I'll look
different
into
than
it a little
yours.
bit more. I'm
But
slow
I
to
just
play
don't get
games.
it.
I play
don't
my
get
classics
why
first.
You find the cruelty, and I think that, by the way, I think that
Yes?
that's why you
Okay.
like Trump. I mean, this
Why?
is, but I'm making, you know, like a very unfair leap because his first instinct is
Play
cruelty.
with others?
First
Okay, we might have a
instinct
community
is
night.
to
We'll see how it goes.
find
Maybe
the
we'll
fault
skip
in
like a
the
movie
other.
night
About
and do
everything,
community
by the
night.
way. It's not his fault.
Microsoft is
that
backing
we're in
them
a
from
war
what
with
I
Iran that
heard.
has ended
That's
38
unfortunate.
times
Oh, I
and,
mean,
you know,
wait,
it
they're
started
backing
39.
Power
It's
World or
not
they're
his
backing
fault
Nintendo?
that inflation's high. It's not his fault that the wall didn't get built. It's not his fault that ICE is killing people on the streets in these places. It's the cruelty of it. maybe it's
Power World. Oh,
generational
that's
thing.
good. I like
have
that. I mean,
friends who
I can understand
are
why they're
Jewish that are
rivals.
gonna be really, really
Power
fucking
World,
pissed
they
off
want
that
to
I'm sitting
copy
next
the
to them. And what
Pokemon
do I tell
model.
them?
Yeah. I
What do
think the
tell
biggest
them
issue
why
is that
it's
they can't
okay
really
for me to
like
sit and have this
copyright the
conversation
concept
with
of
you?
I
like,
guess
you
I
know,
just have such a different
catching
opinion of
creatures.
that.
It is
You know,
such
why should we have to
a
explain ourselves to
staple
talk
in the
to
gaming
anybody?
world,
why
and it's
is it
not
that
like
saying the wrong
so
words or
like
making a
close to
particular joke
Nintendo's
makes it so that a Jewish
IP that
person
I
wouldn't
would be
wanna
not
watch my
surprised
show?
if they
I have
lose.
a lot
Like, I
of
hope
Jewish
that
fans. I mean,
Nintendo
some of my best
loses.
friends are Jewish. I've had Jewish
LOL, this is
employees,
actually
and
my
they
industry.
recognize
Really?
that, you know,
They
just
tried
because I'm
hard
not
though. Well, I hope that they
necessarily
lose.
nice all the time,
Yes,
it
they
doesn't
are
mean I'm
backing them.
hateful,
That's
doesn't
good.
mean
I'm
I
glad.
don't even think they see it as cruel. I think they see it as it's a little rough around the edges, and maybe that's the difference. Is I guess it's just attributing this
LOL,
weight
the Japanese
to
court
something that became
was
considered a
accidentally
joke, and
hilarious
maybe doesn't have a cruel
in their
intention behind
no.
it. Like,
Really?
you know,
What did
Mark
they do?
Levin, you got to remember at the end of the day, it's an
I haven't been
entertainment
following
show.
it
It's
that
entertainment.
closely.
People call in, he gets frustrated
If
with them. It's part of what I do on my show, and it's not always
is
nice, but it's funny,
defined
and I don't
bad
think it's mean-spirited
Microsoft 1000
necessarily, and
times?
I don't think it's that big of
I
a
don't
deal.
understand that,
So,
Surfy.
I
I'm
mean,
sorry.
the thought that I would, like, for example, with you, people would say, why do you talk to Hunter Biden? His father and his DOJ froze your money and put you on a no-fly list. I'd say,
Sorry,
so
talking
what?
code. No,
I mean, it's just talking. I don't
Enjoy.
think talking's
You
a
guys
big
can have
deal,
your conversation if
Froze
you want
my
to
money
do.
and put me on a no-fly list too.
There you go. See, so we
Oops.
got that in common.
Just a second.
So different
May
question
worry.
that I have to kind of
My
weave
auto
everything
mod is
together.
intense.
How do you think like October 7th and
Imagine
the subsequent
the-
like, pro-Palestine movement and the online
Imagine the
worlds it
beachiest
created led
judge
to,
you
a
can
growing audience on the
who
right?
who'd
October
pick
7th
out
in
which
particular?
words
Well,
in your
I think
claim was
highlighted and
wrong,
brought to
and
the
you'd have
forefront how
to
captured
have the right
wing is by Israel,
have to
which is
you'll
very
have
unique. I
you'll
think the
be
Democrats and
on the right
Republicans are
track.
pro-Israel,
Okay.
but the Republican Party has this inextricable institutional connection.
I'm saying if
with
it's
the Israel lobby, with this,
defined,
like,
ban
coup government
Microsoft
in
1000
particular.
times. Okay.
And I think people just started to see the hypocrisies. The hypocrisy was brought to the forefront, which is America first, but not with Israel. No new wars except for with Iran.
Under Trump, we will have no more wars. No more wars. No more wars. They said he will start a war. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars. Tonight, Iran's Navy is gone.
You know, we're going to be
my
racist
God.
and all these things, but don't you dare be anti-Semitic.
Like the
Don't
judge
even,
when
think
formally
about it.
complained
I see
about
good things about Hitler
Catcher
also.
instead
Every
of
human
boy
being
with
has
red hat.
something
Yeah.
of value that they brought to the
Because
table.
like
Especially
Power
Hitler.
World is not
So I think
creating
that on the
like
right
Ash
wing,
Ketchum.
it made
They're
it
creating a
unignorable
completely different
that there's this
entity, and if you don't word it
ideological
right, then your
institutional
lawsuit
capture.
can't
I just
proceed
feel like a lot
forward.
of straightforward, like just
Patent judge,
anti-Semite influences.
that
were
is, yeah,
taking
like you
advantage
gotta be
of the
specific and make
post-October
sure that
7th
you get your
discourse to
shit
push
right.
other
Otherwise,
ideas,
you're not going to be
broader
able to
ideas about
sue.
Jewish people as a whole.
Come out and say it. Like,
I just did the interview with Twerk. Did you? Okay, well, I'll have to give it a look.
Well, I mean,
Was it today?
I think it's hard to ignore.
How did it go? Did
some
you have a
of
good
those other
time?
conversations. I know that it's
Yeah?
it's
Also,
now
I forgot to give you a
become
shout out.
maybe
I'm
in
sorry.
vogue to say that the Israel issue is
Here.
very narrow. It's just Netanyahu. It's just the like.
Yep, it was
it's just
awesome
the
as
Israel
a
lobby. But,
judgment,
you know,
especially
what would you
with
say about
everyone
someone like
snatching
Larry
up
Ellison?
every possible
somebody
IP in the
like
world.
that,
Yeah,
I
like
don't think fits neatly into this, let's say, problem of Netanyahu.
As far as installing Barry Weiss and whatnot.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Because this is
there you
somebody
go.
who's
Give
not
East a
Israeli.
follow.
He's
I
not
think
even a
IP
religious
law
Jew,
can be
but
a
he's
little
ethnically
intense sometimes.
Jewish
Like I
and
know
has
you have to
this
be
deep
super
affinity
litigious, so I don't
for
blame
the state of
Nintendo
Israel.
that much. Like I know that they had to do it, but sometimes they go way overboard, and I feel like they hurt
And
their
is
community
using and
more than they
mobilizing his
actually
power
help
and
it.
resources and
Especially when it
connections
comes
to
to like
benefit Israel in the private
community-driven
sector.
like art and
so
stuff
if you were
like
to
that,
say,
they'll go
what's a
after
law
people like that
we
as
could
well, and
pass
I
to
don't think
prevent
that's chill
that
at
kind
all.
of influence, what would it look like? He's an American citizen. He can't buy a media company and hire Barry Weiss to run CBS
He says,
News,
"I was
and yet
nervous
we
at first,
recognize
and I
it's a big
sold in.
problem.
I
That's
just feel the
good. I'll check it out
conflation
after
of, like,
stream.
anti-Zionism and like Holocaust
You know, I
denial
can
played
shout out
into the
anyone
hands
for
of
you.
the
Just
Israeli
tell me and I'll
propaganda
do it.
apparatus.
So
'Cause then they can
you
say,
don't
hey,
have to
look, these
reach
people that
over
oppose what
to
we're
type
doing
it.
in
Okay, thank you,
Palestine
Surfy.
also don't think the Holocaust
Yeah, I
happened.
didn't
It's a
blame
big
them
jump in
until
the
they
public
tried
perception.
to
It was
patent
almost to
summons.
me
Yeah,
as
that's
if
not chill.
that was your intent.
I feel like it will
to
push
lose
more
any
towards
legitimacy
Power
about
World.
any argument as it relates to
Like
Israel and
the
coup
new
government.
your
That is to say
interview
that
or
those exhorting things
your
whatever.
or
Jews are
the
money
lawsuit
changers.
stuff.
Bullshit artists, psychopaths, charlatans, grifters,
Apex streamer,
manipulators.
nice.
I
Yeah,
don't know
give him a
anybody
follow.
that can hear you after you say that, including myself. It
Why would would you
compromises.
want? Yeah, that's the thing. Is like, why would you
Everything.
want to listen to Nick
Because I
Fuentes
don't
in
think
any
that
like? What
you-
value could
A
he
little bit
have as
more
a person
compassion.
to
Let's try
to stay a
you
little- I don't
if
wanna
you're
do
a
any
minority
character attacks
affected by
on Nick.
this?
I'm not
Towards the
attacking
actual
character.
streamer?
I'm not attacking. I'm
Towards the
saying- but
actual
I
game?
promise you,
That's good.
I'm
That's
not-
As
cool.
far as compassion,
I'm curious to
more just
see
being
how it went. I'll
straightforward.
give it
Do
a
you
watch
feel
after,
like
and I'll
the
come into your
rise
stream
of
next time
anti-Semitic online
and
influencers post-October 7th
watch.
has given Israel more ammunition to work with in terms of casting everyone who opposes what they're doing as just like a rabid Jew hater?
In some cases, yeah, in some cases, sure. But I also think that's overstated because I think that, look, let's just be honest. I do believe the political left wants to make the Israel issue very narrow. And they want to say that the issue is this genocide in Palestine. And on some level, they think that the Israeli government is racist.
Damn, that question will require actual research.
Bloodthirsty, violent pig dog.
And that's the
Yeah,
problem.
that's not the best
And I
moment
think
from him.
that ignores that there is a broader conversation, and it does have to do with the Holocaust.
Research
and it
still
does have to
says
do with
no.
Jews
Oh,
as
that's
such,
unfortunate.
and
I meant to
Jewish
say
nationalism
towards
and
the
Jewish
game, pushing
identity.
people from
So
Pokemon to
to
Palace. Yeah,
try to
I think that's a
shoehorn
good
it in
thing,
and
Mo.
say, well,
Like,
if
I like
anybody goes
having
further
as
than this
much
very
options
narrow
as
critique
possible.
of Israel, well, they're
Power
actually
is
helping
super
Israel.
popular,
I don't
too.
agree with that. I think we have to unpack
Computer
the whole
says no.
conversation.
Well, do you care a lot about Palestinians?
Not more than I care about anybody else.
So I guess that would be why that they would be like, okay, you're just taking advantage of this discourse.
I don't think it's taking advantage. I think that we can sympathize with the Palestinians while also realizing that, look, I'm an American. And so it's a tragedy what's happening in Palestine, but there's tragedies happening all over the world. My problem is that Israel has this influence over our
but my
government.
PC,
I'm a
my
newcomer to
PC
politics,
hates Apex.
but
Aw.
not to backing the Jewish
Please, does anyone
state.
know what I'm
We're paying
referring
for the
to?
genocide,
No,
and we're furnishing
Surfy.
them with the weapons to commit
Explain,
the genocide.
explain.
And by the way, America
But I think
is
I
gonna be
might
held liable for
have
this
found the
genocide,
problem.
morally, but also politically,
What the fuck?
and
Not
diplomatically, and
not
otherwise.
more
But
than
I think that
anyone
people on the
else. So
left,
kids'
they may be
genitals
guilty of maybe
being
caring more about Palestine than they do about America.
Nick, but the left didn't cancel you. The right canceled you
genitals
first.
being
The right
targeted is
canceled you
okay?
first,
What?
And Ben
Trying to pay
Shapiro
attention to too many
and
things.
the
I have no
Daily
idea what you're
Wire
referring to,
and
Maury.
That was
It's
those
just
were
like-
the people that canceled. They may have utilized
Oh, is
the
that something
tools
that
of
Nick
the
Fuentes
left, or
said?
what you call the left, to be able to do that. But it was the right that canceled you. And by the way, what I would consider a radical right.
I don't know why it matters, like, what side cancels you. That doesn't mean, like, because you're on one side of politics or the other, that your political leaning and whether or not you decide you don't want to associate with a person means that you're right or wrong. Like, the right, unfortunately, by and large, was like, not by and large, but, like, the right ended up being right about Graham Plattner, sadly. It's a thing in Palestine where the IDF are told to shoot. Aren't they told to shoot them in the head and stuff like that? Or is that just like their fun thing to do? Disgusting. Never seen Little Britain? No, I haven't seen it, Surfy. Is it a movie? East says MSI Center had a corrupted file that would hard restart my system, so I deleted the whole program? Oh no. Were you able to reinstall it without the issue? Maori says, East, yeah, well, we all need RAM. Movie? Yeah, we're doing, by the way, if you're unaware, we're starting movie nights on Sunday, 7 p.m. PST. I have 64 gigabytes of RAM. That's good. I don't know all that much about computers. I'm trying to learn. It's kind of like cameras. Goes over my head. Yeah, kind of. Comedy? Yeah, kind of. Okay. Nah. Genitals for children, it's horrific. Oh no. I know a reasonable amount of Palestine. I don't know everything about Palestine. I'm always constantly trying to educate myself. Tech is overkill by a lot, LOL. I don't mind that because computers are always advancing, right? So it feels like good to have something further ahead. Yeah, I agree on my personal and went real high. Yeah. Surfy says, video in memes if you guys want to check it out in the Discord server. Thank you, Surfy.
Daily Wire, to me, is a radical right.
I don't think they're even reactionary. I don't think they're that conservative at all.
It's not a good situation over here. Had to get through if you get into that rabbit hole. Okay, hard to get through if you get to that rabbit hole. Okay, I'll look at it offline to educate myself more.
Yes. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. And that's
they
what
weren't
I'm
Mormon
saying.
conservatives.
Yeah.
The Beast PC minus
also canceled by the left.
950.
They came along. They came along because some of the more egregious things that you said as edgelording, they came along. And whether you call it canceling or saying like, what the fuck? This is what I call it. What the fuck?
I heard that.
Like, you know, like, what the fuck? You know,
No,
and so like, I don't find it funny. And just like you're able to say, well, I just think it's funny, I'm able to say, I don't find it fucking funny. I didn't find it funny then. I don't find
Freedom
it
of
funny
speech
now.
goes
I didn't
both
find it
ways,
funny
baby.
for some of the things that, you know, you said about me. But I'm willing to sit here and listen to
He takes pleasure in
because
that.
I want to get to
Gross.
this, and this is my whole point. What about fucking Donald Trump?
Yeah, we can get to that. Yeah,
How
okay,
did you
cool.
get of all
I do the same
people
on
in the
stream,
world,
but I go blah,
who
blah,
you
blah.
could look at and say he
Very
doesn't
gross.
believe anything.
So for context
What,
for the viewer,
Nick
Donald Trump is
Fuentes?
currently
Yeah.
the sitting president of the U.S. for our
Yeah,
audience
he
abroad.
definitely
The
takes
war with
pleasure in
Iran,
hurting
was
people,
supposed
even
to
if
be
it's just
over. Now we're back
emotionally.
in business, baby. Khomeini had a pretty sick funeral if you saw the video. So you guys don't like Trump? You used to like him.
I did.
You've always hated him. He's tried to destroy your life.
Yeah.
You guys were cool. You guys hung out once at Mar-a-Lago with Kanye. You've never hung out with Trump, right? Would you want to?
No.
Why?
Do I want to? Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Look, man, I would.
The only reason why I would ever consider spending any time with Donald Trump is if I thought that there was any potential of like swaying his opinion to the left side of politics, which I don't think that there is. He's just such a hateful, warmongering, pedophile piece of shit.
But can we get him? Can we get him in the
No,
motel room?
so I want you to imagine.
Let's get him in
I want you to imagine.
There's
he's
no
in the
way.
motel
Yeah,
room.
he's too far
That's
gone.
Trump.
Like he is an
What do you wanna-
irredeemable person
How
in
about, what
my
do you want
eyes.
to ask him?
Oh, you know, put me on the spot. I don't want to ask Donald Trump anything because I know, and I think you would agree with me, is that Donald Trump isn't going to give me an authentic answer. Donald Trump never gives an authentic answer. He gives what people.
I'm gonna get a new PC
authentic,
soon.
But it's not
Nice.
authentic. It's audacious. It's like
I heard
the
someone
example
just
that I give
recently
that is
go
the
from
best metaphor for
from
this
that
is that he says
POS
he's
Nick
6'3", weighs
that
225
was
pounds.
completely
And everybody laughs because that's a little bit like
ideologically from the
edgelording,
far
right?
Irish
Everybody
left.
knows
Really,
that he is maybe 6 feet and weighs maybe.
I heard
300.
something just
285.
recently from
He's a
that
big guy.
POS
He's a
Nick
pretty
that
big
was
guy.
big guy,
like
but by virtue of every
it's
picture ever taken
interesting.
of anyone
Like
that's 6'3", he's not 6'3".
I am.
Okay, yeah, I know you are.
Thank you.
it's not uncommon that people will sometimes accidentally adopt like things that Nick Fuentes says, even if they don't actually intend to. Like they might not realize. Yeah, my buddy on TikTok sent it to me. What the fuck? He's now saying Thor should be ended.
You're 6'2.5".
Like Thor the God?
Maybe. But my point
Dementia plus?
is that the reason I don't have a question for him
Stay
is because
away from
I'm
12
absolutely
gigabytes?
certain that he is not going to give me an authentic
Like the
answer.
actor?
Look,
Who's the actor Thor? They just said it? I missed it. I'm paying attention to you guys too much. Sorry.
big guy. But by virtue of every picture ever taken of anyone
Hemsworth?
that's 6'3",
Why? What's wrong
he's
with
not
Hemsworth?
6'3".
I am.
Okay? Yeah, I know you are.
Thank you.
You're 6'2.5", maybe.
That's fine.
Maybe. But my point is that the reason I don't have a question for him is because I'm absolutely certain that he is not going to give me an authentic answer. Look, he came into the Oval Office and the transition this time. And he told my dad that he thought that he did an amazing job.
Got to be
He
a
did an amazing
weird
job with
world
the
to live in to
economy.
have
He did an
access to
amazing
that.
job. That with NATO, he did
I'm
an
guessing
amazing
jealousy?
job, and
Yeah.
he got a raw deal from
Definitely.
his side, and anything he
It's
could do.
ego too,
particularly
right?
for
Like it's
Hunter.
all
Hunter got
ego when it comes to
screwed.
Trump.
Whatever I can do, you let me know. Bullshit.
Trump is a
He then went
narcissistic
out, and he has now
psychopath.
since then done nothing but blame Joe Biden for every single one of his problems.
11 months ago,
Your VRAM will have a hard time running
Joe
games.
Biden handed us over
16
a
at
country
least.
that was in
Interesting.
very
Good to know.
serious trouble. Biden gave us a horrible economy. And I really mean this. I think the good parts are the Trump economy and the bad parts are the Biden economy.
He mentioned my dad's name or my family's
I say
name
min for
6 times a
32 to
day
play
in the
Zomboid.
first 100 days of this administration. 6 times a day.
Okay, I'm gonna let you
He
guys
does it
have this
maybe
conversation
4 times a day
and listen
now?
to this.
Because he has no
Myself.
answers. All he has is a finger to point. And that's all he does. My point
I'm
is,
gonna
I
ask
don't
you-
know what to ask him.
When
you
it's
know,
always
why are you such a
everybody
dick?
else's
What
fault,
does your dad think
it's
about
probably
the war?
yours, like
Right.
more often than not,
But I
right?
I'm not going to get into what my dad thinks about the war. Is it really because I don't want to get into I don't put words in my dad's mouth, just like I wouldn't ask you what your dad thinks about the war, but your dad wasn't the president of the United States, which is
I'll
a little
answer
bit
you. I don't
different.
even know if you know what's going on.
You know,
I'm a Eagles fan.
look, all I can say is this: is that every single Israeli prime minister since at least Jimmy Carter was president, has walked into the Oval Office or picked up the phone and called the president and said, we have to attack Iran. And every single one of them has said no. And they may not all have had the same exact reason, but one of the reasons they did is because they knew what the consequences would be as it relates to the lifeblood of the economy.
What movie was it that I was watching? Oh, it was called The Elevator. Like, this is how Iran like has nukes, good at nukes, and all this other stuff has been going on for so long. And it's always interesting to like go back in like time and like watch certain things and see it like dipped into like media and stuff like that. So if you go back and watch this, it's crap. Not a crap movie. It was like a B-list movie. It's called The Elevator, and there's a scene in there where one guy asks another guy, "So does Iran actually have nukes?" and stuff like that. I thought that was interesting.
Every single one of them.
I do play Fort Beast Saber, COD, Zombie. Oh my god, that's intense.
Ground forces to end with certainty the nuclear program that the Iranians have supposedly been building. Every single one of them knew that the existing Ayatollah, the Ayatollah at that time, had put out a fatwa, an edict saying that they would never turn their nuclear technology into a bomb.
The supreme leader of Iran issued fatwa. Having nuclear weapons is forbidden, is haram, which means never we can have nuclear weapons.
It was a religious edict as strong as if the Pope had released an encyclical. But what did he do? He kills the Ayatollah. We get a son that now has a far more radical and far greater ties to the IRGC. And what do we have? The Straits of Hormuz are still closed. He said that they're brilliant people. I find that that's Donald Trump on everything. He said he'd end the war in Ukraine on day one.
That is a war that's dying to be settled. I will get it settled before I even become president.
And I didn't hear anybody on the right and say, that's just bullshit. It's just bullshit. He said that he would build a wall. I don't believe in building a wall, but everybody said that's bullshit.
Not only is the wall just a waste of resources, it's a stupid fucking idea. I mean, like, it doesn't work. You can dig underneath it, you can use a ladder. You can use whatever you need to get through it. You can even slip through the bars.
You know is that I didn't do a single piece of business when my dad was president. I made basically $200,000 a year selling paintings. I picked the thing that was the furthest possible thing away from politics that I possibly could. Don and Eric have done over $1.3 billion in contracts, just in contracts for underlying companies that they have an ownership stake in.
I guarantee you they have committed so much fraud. Like, when they look back on it,
Department of Defense of a company
crazy. Like the insider trading and investments and stuff like that. They enrich themselves using the government. It's crazy.
My point is,
to like astronomical and historical levels
that I know of. And when I listen to you and I listen to what you do, my question is how did you not see that before? He was a disaster in 2020, a complete and utter disaster as it related to what he did with COVID, regardless of whether you think we're supposed to be wearing a mask or not.
The question for Nick is, how did you not realize 6 years ago that Trump would be this sort of letdown?
Because he doesn't hold, there's no ideological core to Donald Trump.
No, I agree with you. Well, you got to realize in 2016 where Republicans were at. We had John McCain, we had Mitt Romney, and the perception on the right is that they were insufficiently conservative and that they were losers. All they do is lose because they don't fight. There was this perception that
the biggest L that the
ruthless.
Democratic Party did was trying to run Hillary Clinton. I feel like the Democratic Party relies on identity politics way too much, not realizing that the people don't really care who it is that like present, but by and large, there are obviously some people who care still even on the left that are like racist, sexist, whatever. But like they would not care if it was a man or a woman who got them publicly funded healthcare, so long as they fucking got it. But Hillary Clinton is just such an awful person, and the reason why it felt like they ran her and expected her to win was similar to like Kamala Harris. She would be better than the other guy, and oh my god, you got to vote for this woman. She's a woman. You got to vote for her. She's so special. Look at her. Even though she was so uncharismatic, it would be like eating dried, stale fucking toast voting for her. And like her history, her racist fucking history, calling black people quote unquote super predators, is insane that they ever thought that she could get the black vote. Like, I don't know what they were thinking there. Absolutely crazy. And then with Kamala Harris, it was just like, it was very much this similar in nature. It's like, oh, well, could be the first like female and black president, and like she'd be better than the other guy kind of nonsense. Mayari says, yeah, right. The corruption is being taught in our high school social studies class right now. Oh, that's not good. True, they should have put Bernie into the spot. Even at his age, his politics were right for the time. Yeah, people fucking love Bernie. I'm still so sad that we don't live in the Bernie universe. Like, Bernie Sanders isn't perfect, but like far and above, spectacularly better compared to Kamala Harris and Hillary fucking Clinton. What a fucking L move by the Democratic Party. Absolute stain on their reputation. Like, I don't think that they'll ever really recover from it. He says the disdain for from voting in 2016. I disdained or oh god, you guys are going so fast. Just a second. Sorry. I disdained from voting in 2016, but she did win pop vote. Yeah. I mean, I think it was better than Donald Trump. Like, your guys' elections are weird to me anyway. But either way, like, perfect is the enemy of good. Exactly. Like, I do believe in lesser evil voting. However, there are reasonable limits to that because you have to actually objectively look at the person that you're voting for and know whether or not it is genuinely lesser evil voting, right? Because if you're constantly being put in a position to sacrifice yourself, which a lot of minorities would do if they vote for Hillary Clinton, it can kind of be like, well, what's the difference between voting for these people for me? And it can be hard to set yourself aside when you know that it would just benefit some other people and you're just not included, which is often something that happens to minority people. Surfy Polecat says, yeah, I do want something better. Oh, wait, that's blah, 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 blah. That's computer stuff. We'll move on from that. Yeah, he meant A-B stained. Okay, you guys are talking computers again. Let's keep going forward. Let's get through this.
Fighters, Obama crushed in 2008, crushed when we thought he really should have lost in 2012. That was a Republican perception that Romney let us down. And so when Trump came on the scene in 2016, it was new, it was refreshing. He seemed like somebody that was really going to take on not just the Democrats, but also the media on our behalf. And what's more, you got to think about the mood of the moment in 16 as well and the message Trump was giving. Trump said in 16, it's just me and my son and my wife. We don't have any donors. We don't have any special interests.
More than $100
That's
million
not true at all.
of my money, meaning I'm not taking all of this big money from all of these different corporations like she's doing.
We're going to put America first, make the country great again. This is a very appealing message. And I talk all the time on my show about it and realizing now that it was obviously a scam and now obviously unfulfilled completely. And you're right, Trump is
no shit, it was a fucking scam. He's a massive goddamn scammer and a terrible businessman.
America's not great anymore, but it used to be. We can make it great again, but in order to do it, we need to.
When was America ever great? And for who? They never clarify this. They're like talking about some imaginary time and imaginary land that just didn't exist.
Money, then I won't have to listen to the lobbyists.
Abstained is what I meant. You're right. Sorry, I wasn't quite sure. I couldn't think of the word, but yeah, that's correct.
Message in 2016, and after 4 years, I was one of the people even back then that said, look, it never materialized. He did wind up taking super PAC money. He took AIPAC money for that matter. Sheldon Adelson money at that time in 16. Even in the first term, bombed Iran. In the first term, didn't build a wall. In the first term, didn't even reduce illegal immigration until 2019. And I remember the timeline perfectly because I covered it every day. It was like in May and June 2019, 20-year illegal immigration high in terms of month over month. But why did I go for him in 2020 at the height of the pandemic?
You have bigger problems than illegal immigration.
Trump was president, you were going to get a vaccine mandate, which we really didn't want to be forced to take the vaccine. We thought the lockdown might never end. We thought that censorship would kick into overdrive. And so we said, really, it's unacceptable that anyone other than Trump would just be a disaster. And then obviously Biden came in, and I don't think it was as bad as we thought it would be, to tell you the truth, honestly. But by 2024, I mean,
it's so sad he followed him all that time and still voted for him. Mayari says that.
And I know you're
I think Nick Fuentes is just a sad, pathetic person in general.
He's not going to start no new wars. I said in 24, he's going to take us to war in Iran. And the Ukraine war, I said that's not.
We thought the lockdown would never end because we refused to read history. Yeah,
I didn't vote in 2024, and I told
100%
not to vote for Trump for that reason. And it was only until a year later, after all the exuberance died down and people saw the bearing of the Epstein files, the war in Iran, people said, you know what, you were right. You were right about Trump. Even Alex Jones told me, you were right about Trump. I was all in on him. So, I mean, as far as him being vaporware is concerned and a scammer, and fundamentally, you're 100% right, no ideological core. He's not an ideological guy. Yeah, it is.
He's literally all about him.
And I agree, he's a cruel, narcissist.
Yeah.
And you said, I like the cruelty. I do not like the cruelty.
No, by the way, no. I didn't say you like the cruelty. I said I listened to your thing, and you said one of the things that you liked about Levin was the cruelty. And not for the cruelty's sake, it didn't seem to me like this, is because it was raw. It was, yeah. And that's, so I'm not saying that.
No, but I agree. I think he is cruel. And even what he said on Easter. I mean, we're Catholic. On Easter Sunday, he says we're going to annihilate Iran, and then he made fun of Allah on Easter Sunday. So, you know, that kind of
he
stuff.
loved
just
the
totally
cruelty when he didn't think he would get it. Yeah. So long as it doesn't affect him, he's all for it. Like, he would not like intervene in any measure unless it was going to come back on him.
Bullshit artist. And especially, you look at what he did with the Epstein files, with the war in Iran, what he did to Thomas Massie.
This guy named Thomas Massie. There's something wrong with him. They just vote no. They love voting no. They think it's good politically.
You realize that if you are America first, you have no place in this Republican Party, because he said it. He said our Republican Party, or rather, he said MAGA is Mark Levin, Laura Loomer, Randy Fine. He said, and who is not MAGA? Megyn Kelly, Tucker, Alex Jones, Candace. And I think most Republicans said, well, we're with those other people. We're not MAGA anymore. So
what do you think happens, Nick? I believe that we need radical change. And I'm not talking about violence or revolution or things like that. I'm talking about the only ways that you can have this kind of radical rethinking of the system. Like, there's so many questions. Like, what do you think about the Epstein files? What do you think about the accountability? Or do you think that he's broken the
what
system
accountability?
To the degree that we now are basically in a dictatorship light?
No, I actually have a lot of confidence, only because I think the Democrats are going to take the House in 26, which I support. I'm telling my people, vote Democrat. We want the Democrats in the House, because what they're going to do is they're going to use the
Maori says, still doesn't get America first, doesn't work in a global environment unless he wants to make his nation the world's evil. I mean, arguably, the United States is the world's evil, like, especially right now. Like, when you look back on its history and its wars and everything that it's participated in and curated for, like, world domination, right? Like, it has one of the biggest military forces on the planet, if not the biggest. And it you know, with Donald Trump especially, they have absolutely no problem using it, utilizing it. Like, they bombed a fucking school in Iran as one of their first moves in the war. Like, that was Donald Trump's move. And first they denied it, then they confirmed it, kind of a thing. Like, yeah, I mean, Donald Trump is an evil person. Donald Trump only wants his, like, whatever he wants, and he doesn't care necessarily how he gets it, so long as it doesn't alienate his base. Because recently, didn't he announce that he wants to run for a quote-unquote fourth term, which is really a third term? I'm hoping that what he's saying when he says that is like, I won every single election that I ran for, so technically if I were to run again, then it would be a fourth term, because somebody probably corrected him when he's like, well, if you actually won the election in 2020, then wouldn't you be running for a fourth term rather than a third term? Because wouldn't you technically be the president that day? Maori says, right now, it is a partially benign evil to most countries who think, as long as it's not me, but America first and screw everyone else, yeah, that leads only to one place. I agree, 100%.
The oversight powers to bring all the corruption to light. Because I know Republicans will watch this, and when you say, you know, we didn't commit crime, they're going to be skeptical. However, for the sake of argument, let's say the income you made during Biden was ill-gotten. For the sake of example, it's just doesn't hold a candle. It doesn't even come close, doesn't even touch Jared Kushner, Howard Lutnick, Steve Witkoff, Don Jr., Trump himself. It's just a different sport. It's a different game entirely. And I want all that corruption to be revealed. And I think the Democrats are going to do it. I hope they get impeached.
I wonder if there will be,
I think it'll basically drag
no
this
World War
administration
III
to a halt.
talk.
And then 28, I think there's an opportunity for a clean reset with both sides, right and left.
Hey guys, quick thing before we get back to Hunter and Nick. So these two guys individually have been hammered on all sides by the American media for years.
Well, this runs, I'm just going to check out what else we've got going on, because we're running out of time today. Whoops, sorry.
It does. Historically, you've got to ask an important question that nobody asks. Who owns the outlets doing the hammering? Who's doing the hammering? Who funds them? Who's on the board of directors? Once you
we'll
trace
watch
the money,
just a little bit more of this, and then we're going to move on to Elon Musk shortly.
A lot more like a business model.
So we'll watch probably like 10 minutes more. If it doesn't get interesting, we'll move forward.
So Ground News is the dopest news aggregate out there, app and website as well. Beyond the ownership piece, every outlet gets a bias rating and a factuality score. And there's a blind spot feature that catches stories that one side is hammering
Ethical Reacts chat, so many ads.
Which happens more than you'd believe. Here's a perfect
Elon
example.
Musk sees what he got to say. See what he's got to say? Yeah, we'll watch him after this. We'll give it about 10 more minutes. LOL, the hairless gem mine heir.
So the WLT report on the far right,
I missed it.
Trump.com spent 4 years shitting
I missed it, Maori.
But But today, the headline reads, Hunter scores stunning $1.7 million court victory. Wow, stunning. Now on the left, Raw Story says, Hunter gets last laugh after judge orders MAGA millionaire to fork over nearly $2 million. So on this story, as you can see, left, right, everyone converges. That's the ownership beat right there. WLT Report is a Trump loyal outlet, and even they had to run the wind straight. That's the ownership beat right there. And when you can actually see the ownership inside of Ground News, you can really trust exactly what you're reading. Look,
Musk uses his plug, dude, went bald before I went through puberty. Really? I didn't know that. He uses hair plugs? Oh, that's what you mean. The hairless gem miner. Yeah, that Elon Musk. That's a great description of him.
Or scan the QR code on screen.
Who was it that called him a barrel-chested Ewok? That was one of the funniest insults that I've ever heard. Who was that? That was Doja Cat called him a hairless what is it? What I can't remember, but it was literally one of the funniest things I've ever heard. Ewok, yeah, a hairless, barrel-chested Ewok. That'll always have a place in my heart as one of the best insults ever.
All right, back to Hunter and Nick. Whenever you talk about Trump, sometimes you explain this like nightmare scenario that revolves around a Vance presidency.
Yes.
What about J.D. Vance being in power scares you so much?
If Trump doesn't have an ideological core, then Vance really doesn't. Because Vance is a chameleon.
Yeah.
That's not his real name, for openers. Never had a real job.
Just a sec. I'll go back so we can see it.
Being in power scares you so much.
If Trump doesn't have an ideological core, then Vance really doesn't. Because Vance is a chameleon. That's not his real
What's in a name? Republican Vance, Vice President nominee J.D. Vance has many of them. Vance spent more than 2 decades as James David J.D. Hamill. It's the name by which he graduated from Middletown High School, served in Iraq as a U.S. Marine official, Captain James D. Hamill, earned a political science degree at The Ohio State University, and blogged his ruminations as a 26-year-old student at Yale Law School. Those facts are born out of documentation provided by those entities upon request, just a second guys, upon request or otherwise publicly available, and we're confirmed by campaign spokesperson Taylor Van Kirk. Another thing about J.D. Vance is that he used to hate Donald Trump. Like, he vehemently hated Donald Trump, and then the minute that he had the opportunity to advance his political career, all of a sudden he loves Donald Trump. Maori says, if you Google his pics during the eBay thing in the 90s, you see him in his early 20s before he could afford the hair plugs. Oh my, how could he not afford the hair plugs? He's literally, I need to look up the history of Elon Musk. He was a gem mine heir. Like, he's such a fucking ridiculous person, but I'll look it up for sure. E-Step says, no problem. Oh wait, you're talking to Surfy. LOL Maori says, so he went to high school, got an unearned position in the army, then went to a third-rate uni and ran a failed podcast. Yeah, they were expensive when tech first came out. Oh, I didn't know that. That's crazy. It's amazing how much things change, like how we have to wait societally for things to trickle down. One of the most recent things that I'm interested in is the teeth regrowing thing. Like, that would be freaking cool, but it's probably going to take at least a couple decades before it comes quote unquote more affordable for the average class.
Name for openers, never had a real job. These are all sinecures given to him by Peter Thiel.
The Japanese implants. Haven't you heard about the teeth regrowing thing? They're not. I don't know if they're considered implants, but yeah, probably that's what I'm talking about.
Might be America's Hitler. I was wrong about Donald Trump. I didn't think he was going to be a good president, Brett. He was a great president.
Now he's a national conservative, national populist, and so we don't even really know who he is. I mean, to me,
it's been years since I heard about them getting approval. Apparently, they're in human trials now, so we're making progress.
It's the oligarchs.
My main concern is what happens if you just start growing teeth all over your body?
I think that's really dangerous. So to me, him being president is just a worse scenario in my mind.
For the uninformed viewer, what is the Palantir J.D. Vance connection?
Well, Palantir was founded by Peter Thiel, and Peter Thiel's very close with David Sachs. J.D. Vance was given his first job in Silicon Valley by Thiel. Thiel hooked him up with it. The CEO of that company said it was a personal favor to Thiel that I hired him. And then Thiel got him all his jobs at these various venture capital firms, including his own, and then funding J.D. Vance's venture capital firm.
Kiwi Thiel.
Peter Thiel gave $15 million to Vance when he ran for Senate in Ohio in 22. Peter Thiel secured President Trump's
Yeah,
endorsement for him in 22, which
he is
basically got him
hated
the
here.
nomination
He's
in the
hated a
seat.
lot
So,
of
I mean, as far
places,
as anybody's
like a
concerned,
plague.
Vance owes his
What did
entire
he
political
do
career Peter Thiel,
to New
who
Zealand?
derives
Like,
his
what?
fortune from
Why is he
Palantir.
so
You know, he's a
hated in New
Catholic, you
Zealand?
may.
Like, aside
Well,
from
he's
the
a
fact that
convert,
he's Peter
so, you
Thiel.
know.
Beware the convert. Yeah.
So do you think that Trump's unfulfillment of his campaign promises was a result of him being like compromised by somebody connected to that structure, or do you think he always just never cared?
I don't know that he never cared. I just think that, you know, me, I'm
Like
an
a
idealist.
plague?
So I think
no.
about the ideas and the concepts. Trump is a businessman. And so I think with him, everything's transactional. And I said this in 2024.
He's a Kiwi who betrayed us multiple times. Fair enough.
Swallow anything. The voters would not walk away from the table because they were enamored with him.
I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody, and I wouldn't lose any voters. Okay, it's like incredible.
So he
Yeah,
knew
Thiel
he
is a
could break
piece of
every
shit,
promise
for
with
sure.
them in order to fulfill promises for the donor class, which is little tech, the Israel lobby, and Wall Street.
Excuse me,
the
guys.
bankers, Tim Mellon, you know, the big asset managers. So I think with him, everything's business, everything's a transaction, and that's why you can't trust him. You have to do business. And
The Lord then lorded his wealth over a bunch of people here, like he has to have political security the couple times he came here, police security, excuse me, the couple times he came here in the last few years. That's crazy. Not even just regular security, but police escort security. Jesus Christ, he is such a like. I think one of the worst things that somebody can do as a fucking rich person is insult poor people for being fucking poor, or like for people who are not rich. Like looking down on people who have less than you is one of the most disgusting things that you can do. It is repulsive. It is like so just like you just come off as so disconnected. It's like you're socially alienated from like the rest of society kind of thing. Like over 20 people had planned over 20 people had planned the Nike logo in his last 2 visits. I don't know what that's referring to. It was a whole thing here. The Nike logo.
24, I said we should
just
all
do it.
collectively say we're not going to vote
I get it.
he makes certain
20
commitments.
people
And not
tried to
enough
do
people did
that? Oh
But,
my
I mean,
goodness.
that's fundamentally his
That's
flaw.
actually not that high of a number.
elite
No, just
power
kidding.
structure sounds
That's
like
a lot
vaguely
of fucking
anti-capitalist.
people. Well, I guess
It's
he
not-
didn't
it's not
like nobody
anti-capitalist.
did.
You know,
Over
capitalism
20.
says
Yeah.
The capital, large amounts of
I'd have people that don't like me. I don't think that it's 20 people.
capital.
I mean, I'm sure it'll
behind
increase as I
Which believe
stream
in.
because
I am a
that's the
capitalist.
nature of political
But I think
streaming.
what
But
is
like,
happening is that it's the way that money
That's
is
crazy.
used in government. There needs to be a distinct and separate national power.
we
that
had 2
it
otherwise in
subordinates
the
money
last
power
60
to it. The problem
years.
is the billionaires buy all the elections.
That's not
buy all
that
the
like
media,
that's a
control
massive
public
increase.
perception.
Holy
And so
crow.
really, we're all subsidiary then to the market. So I support capitalism, but
I don't know what it must like. That's the thing that I don't understand about rich people is there is probably only one like person that I would consider an ethical billionaire. I can't remember her name. She used to be married to Bezos and she's donated so much fucking wealth to like charities and stuff like that. I actually genuinely admire this person. I think they're pretty cool for who they are, despite the fact that they married Bezos, if I'm recalling the story correctly. But like, you know, these rich people care so little for like the public at large that they don't even really care about like their like perception. And they could, you know, they do, but they also don't at the same time. And it's just like you could easily adjust this by just giving away some of your wealth to make the general population's life better. And it just kind of makes me so confused about their logic and how they rule over things. Surfy says, also Wax, look in the memes channel, look at Ewok, I'm dead. Oh, you looked it up? Okay, just a sec. I'll look it up while I'm playing this.
Underneath the state.
It seems like you have a pretty optimistic perspective on the year 2028.
Well, he's going to get a 3rd term. So Trump 28. Trump is going to be president 28.
Kind of keep coming back to this like clean election year. Do you think that's going to be like a renaissance year for outsider candidates and outside media channels like this one?
It can be.
Oh my God, what the fuck?
Because I think there's frustration on the right and on the left. You know, you see
it's a hairless, bald Elon Musk.
You ironically have the same frustration on the left with their establishment as we have on the right. And so I think, you know, in 2028, it's going to be a year where there'll be a competitive Republican primary and Democratic primary, and hopefully the people make their voice heard, and we get some new options, you know, maybe that reflect the will of the people more.
Yeah. And so what do you think about somebody like Mamdani?
Personally, I don't like him. I don't like some of the things that he said. Like, for example, on 4th
so
of July,
Elon
when he takes
without
the
hair
opportunity to
plugs?
sit there
Yeah,
with, let's be honest, not a single white person
It's not good.
in the room. and says, you know,
I mean, he's
the
not good
founding
with hair
fathers
either,
would
but
look
like
down
this
on
is
us,
worse somehow.
working people with their dirt street tans
freaky.
against the billionaires. I think it's a little too divisive. I like his
Imagine
energy. I
a
like him
clean.
young. It's ironic. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
That's rich, buddy.
Imagine a clean bowling ball, bro.
I know, but
that's what he's dealing with. Yeah.
But the thing
It's like he was dissing you in that video.
Yeah, a little bit.
Staring down the camera. Like,
Bald,
you son of a
bald
bitch.
does not necessarily. Bald does not necessarily make you an ugly person by default, but I think Elon Musk is just such a despicable, gross person that any sort of fashion that he wears would immediately just be like, ugh. I'm thinking a short, fat Mr. Clean.
Somebody
yeah,
who's using government
basically.
for exactly the purpose that you just said, is to break the oligopoly, to target the
roasted
anger towards a tiny percentage of the population that is controlled the levers of government from the White House down to
but some people should be
New York City or
okay, name one.
Even more so as you go further down that chain. And so
some people deserve to be bald.
Like Mamdani,
all right.
And
me? You?
Delivery,
like me? Are you guys bald?
Particularly from somebody coming from your side.
Your cat?
He's delivering.
Your cat is bald?
Man.
You have a bald
he's
cat?
He's really delivering. You know, like I saw somebody going after Mamdani for some of this stuff, and particularly about rent control.
Yeah, bald can be beautiful, 100%.
The middle class was built after World War II.
I'm not bald. The fuck?
And rent controlled buildings that created.
But I don't look good. You don't look good bald, or you don't look good now, or you think you don't look good now. Murray says he shouldn't be, but the dumbass likes rubbing against heaters. Oh my god! You just reminded we have to create a pets channel in our Discord so that you guys can post your cats and animals and furry friends. That I would love to see that. The ears, his ears are bald, or whose ears? Surfy says I don't look good with it. I try it. With the filter, and my god, okay, you would be surprised how wrong filters can get it, right? Like, because being actually bald looks like there's a subreddit on Reddit that I'm on that's like for bald people, and honestly, like the before and afters look so fucking good most of the time. It's very rare that I see a bald person I'm like, ugh, like I don't know. Long hair for me suits me, Surfy. Nice. We should create a selfies channel. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. We'll discuss it. Duncan says, bring back Uncle Joe. Oh my god. My ear's still out. Like, you have them out from your hair? Surfy says, not far off though. Mayori says, LOL, Surfy Pants, you're not alone. Aw.
That we were
poor guys. It's okay. I think you guys underestimate how attractive you guys are when you're bald. Like, it's not that big of a deal for, like, I know for your identity and stuff like that, it's a lot, but like by and large, it's okay.
Really was instrumental in creating.
Forget about Uncle Joe. Bring back Uncle Ben. When I shave my head, my ears seem to stick out more. Okay, I got a hot take. I like ears that stick out. Like, people like pin their ears back and stuff, and I'm like, no, it's such a unique feature. Hunter Biden has become a lunatic a little bit. I don't know. I don't know how to feel. Like, he's not like somebody that I like personally, but he's not the worst kind of person. I'll nail them back when you, what you mean? I'm crazy? No, don't do that, Surfy. Don't do that. Don't underestimate unique features. It's what makes you literally interesting. Like, legitimately. Having these unique features, stuff that you might have been bullied for as a kid, actually makes you appear more unique and interesting to me personally. I don't know. Maybe I'm an outlier. Mayori says, God knows I've tried shaving it, but when it reaches your shoulders after a month, screw the 20 haircuts every 2 weeks. Oh my God, you just grow your hair out because you're tired of cutting it all the time? I was wondering about that every day. Like, do guys who shave every single day? That feels like a lot of freaking work. Duncan says, going around meeting Candace and all, yeah, that's not chill. I don't like that. But he's also meeting with like Nick Fuentes, and we're listening to this. We're gonna watch just a few more minutes, and then we'll
able to live and work in the city and put the kid into school with the idea that they would be safe walking there and go to a park.
Yep, and would have to be every day. I can't even keep a clean face after 12 hours. Dude, that's crazy. My hair grows so slow.
Like, it's about the communists. Like,
I've always wondered about that. If humans can't see air, doesn't that mean fish can't see water? I think that you're right, Surfy. I think they don't even have the concept of water. They just exist, though. Oh my God, what the heck is this?
Rocky IV. my whole Philly legitimacy was just
They
blown
can't.
right there. Yeah. But it's just kind of, so I look at somebody like Mamdani.
Yeah, because we can't
well, he's just
we
talking about
can,
the
it can,
government.
but we're
Like, what do you
in
think
when
about
we're
healthcare?
in
Don't you think that
underwater,
there
we
should be
can't
a
really
single-payer
see
system?
the
Don't you
water.
think
We
that there
just
should be
know
some
that we're in the
guarantee
water, so
as
it's
a-
kind of
as-
the same
as
for
right?
us too.
Because I don't know how
The
you
only
make
reason
it
why we can
in this
see
country
water
and
is when we're
aspire to a
outside of it, but
middle-class
when we're
life and be
consumed
able
with
to
it,
afford
we can't really see water. We
catastrophic
just
events
know
as
that
well
we're
as you
in
have.
water,
It's
right?
over. You're done.
Yeah.
Like,
They have
I don't
involved
support
the eye
single-payer, but I do believe
filters,
that
different
everybody should be entitled to
pressure,
some
and
minimum
that
level of coverage.
we can
catastrophic
see the
insurance. So,
water,
in principle,
but
I agree
can
with
Which
that.
is
see
Medicare for all to a
fish.
certain degree, right?
Right.
I mean,
But
because
can
that's all that
fish see
Medicare
air?
does right
Maybe.
now. Well, why is that
Like
radical?
how we can't
I don't
see
think that's necessarily
properly in
radical, but
space.
To them, it's
Ours pop out. Well, we would die in space, I think.
To them.
Yeah.
Those others.
Yeah, no, them. I mean, the insurance companies.
Sure.
And
Bring back the
lobbyists
establishment.
who control 55% of
Who
the,
even are
of
these
Congress,
people?
regardless of who's in power.
Right.
I would
Yeah.
float.
And I don't think
No,
that's
you
necessarily
would
the most
in water
radical.
or
I
in
think, though,
space,
he is
Surfy.
with the DSA, the Democratic Socialists of America. He backs all these DSA candidates, and let's be honest, a lot of them are radical. Like I saw one of these candidates that just won in New York a couple weeks ago, the Chevalier candidate.
They see air, we see water.
Yeah,
according
I know.
to research, it's supposed to be reflective to them, like water is to us.
So I use the American flag.
Yeah.
I guess,
By the way,
when they're
I think
looking up, it's
crazy,
reflective.
But like the same way that, I thought a lot of the stuff that some people that got elected in 2016, 2020, even during the Tea Party, kind of movement was, egregious. Again, egregious.
If it's a legitimate
Water,
rape,
then space. Okay, you
the
couldn't.
female
Well, I mean,
body has
guess yes,
ways to try to
technically
shut
you would
that whole
float in
thing down.
space.
So what do we do?
Evolution is weird as fuck.
I mean, for
Evolution
real.
is
What do we
amazing.
do? Can you at least
Someone
come
yeet me?
a little bit
No,
to this
Surfy,
side?
we
If
need
you
you
can
on the
come a little bit, I
planet.
can. Here's where I can come.
The establishment was right.
Yes.
The elites were right. No, they weren't, Duncan.
About that.
No, they weren't.
I mean, really.
I do. And listen, here's what I'll say. Now that I'm older, I do think that's not the best approach.
Okay.
So I agree with you on that. And I see it as I get older, because let's be honest, saying those things when I'm a younger guy, when I'm 18, 20, it's like you got to think that's just the age.
Jews are running society. Women need to shut the fuck up.
No, that's
Blacks
just
need to be
you,
imprisoned for
Nick
the most
Fuentes.
part.
And a lot
That's
of
just
young people think
you.
that's funny and everything like that. I think
No.
and it also goes with the medium as well. Live streaming, social media, that's just what it rewards. So yeah,
If I
think
jump,
that
does that
people
mean I'm
should,
off the
kinda
planet?
move past some of
Technically
that.
speaking, yeah.
Okay. But if you
When you're in a plane, you're also off the planet.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to wrap it up here for these douchebags, and we're going to move on to another douchebag called Elon Musk, because he had an interview, and I think it's going to be interesting to watch. I'm going to link this video in chat, so if you want to watch it from the start for yourself, you can. At least in history. We feel differently. Maori. Surfy says, I'm Batman. I ain't no airplane. You're in the bat. What is the bat plane called? Is it just the bat plane? The bat ship? Okay, we're going to move on to Elon Musk. His interview. First, we're going to do I'm not racist, Elon Musk says. Batwing? Ooh, that's a good name for it. That might be it. I'm not sure. Elon Musk on Europe, the far right, and civil war in Britain.
You support not just the populist right, but the far right. In fact, very fringe parties in some countries.
No, I support the normal people.
Okay.
What you call the far right, falsely.
You think is the normal person. Okay.
Yes.
Batman's plane is
you could go back,
primarily called the
10 or
Bat
15
plane,
years,
also
and
known
these-
as
these-
Batwing
these
in
policies were
films and
completely
later
normal.
comics.
In fact,
Interesting. I like Batwing better than Batplane.
One thing that's quite funny is to take a speech from Obama and Hillary, and then go to someone and say,
God, he's so fucking
who's
ugly.
sort of on the sort of what I call the lunatic left, and say,
Batwig?
what do you think of the speech by Trump? I'm like,
Yeah, that
"Oh,
makes
he's the
sense. I
worst
only
person ever."
got into
Actually,
comics
that
in the
was a speech by
2000s.
Obama.
You said
Well,
Batwing?
actually, that
Oh,
was
I'm
a speech by
sorry.
Hillary.
Batwing, not Batwig.
I agree. No,
I'll have to make a Batwig for stream now.
The Democratic Party shifting to the left, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people like Rupert Lowe.
LOL. Even the hair plugs are running out. Yeah.
It's just normal people. It's just normal people. And
I don't think that's something that
and
people
here are the-
understand about hair transplant. John Cena recently talked about his 2 hair transplants. It's like you can have a hair transplant and still go bald again. Like, it's crazy. But he said he doesn't regret them, which is fair. If you want to get hair transplants, I completely support it. I have no problem with that at all. I don't have problems with people wearing hair wigs and whatever. Women wear wigs all the time. I don't understand why more women don't do it. I don't know. It's a lot of upkeep though, so maybe that's why. They're so disgusted by him, they're retreating from his head. Yes, they just don't want to live on the planet, the head that is Elon Musk, and I don't blame them for any regard. By any regard,
and tell me which of these sound terrible. That we should have secure borders, that we should have safe cities, that we should have sensible spending. Which of those three are far right?
See, the way that he frames it, it makes it sound really palatable, because people who just hear it like that would be like, oh yeah, that sounds great. And it's only once you delve deeper into like his concepts and ideas of how you would achieve these quote unquote safer like borders and like, you know, more appropriate fiscal spending and stuff like that, so you realize, oh shit, that's where the racism lies. But they have this trick where they just say like these catchphrases or these turn of phrases that make it sound like it's just like, oh, he has good ideas, he just wants to do these simple things. But then when you look into how he wants to do it, that's when you realize that's where the racism comes. And it's a trick that they play to try to seem more palatable, just like Nick Fuentes tries to present himself as a more palatable, not racist kind of person, in order to garner people over to his side. Because there might be some people who listen to Elon Musk and never hear the deeper meaning behind his concepts and ideas and just go along with what he says because it sounds good on the surface without recognizing or realizing what is behind the surface, right? They're very, very much like the you know, the slimy like you know, coating on Jell-O that like sort of thickens up at the top, but then when you get down to the really nitty-gritty of stuff, it's quite crazy. Thank you so much for the follow, Mary. I'm so glad that you like the stream enough to follow. Okay, let me go back and read your messages just a second. Yep, it's pure optics. Yeah, 100%. Mary says, they're so... Oh, wait, sorry, I read that one. Mary says, wait, this is what I am covering. Okay, I give up. Now, no thanks. I'll take Oblivion and stay here. Yeah, 100% about his hair. Yeah, it's pure optics. Yeah. Surfy says, I did a thing in memes, Batwing. Okay, I'll check it out. Let's play the video. I'll have to figure out a way to pull stuff up on stream so you guys can see this stuff too eventually. But you can also join the Discord to see it. I would
like to just admonish you and the media for
nice. I don't know how to pull this up.
Of the far right.
It's very funny. That's beautiful. I like the long hair too.
Please keep this part in.
We'll keep
Meteor, you've seen it in Discord?
This part.
Let me push back on that. Let me push back on that because you have
nonsense.
Move it over to your stream. I don't know how.
250 million followers on X.
Yeah,
you say things like,
did that work?
Civil war in Britain is inevitable.
No, it didn't work. Drag it. I tried. Just a second. Let me try again.
In the UK.
A few years ago.
Exactly. So I live there. I'm there the whole time. That is nonsense.
You live in a cloistered existence.
No, I don't actually.
Sorry, guys. Just a second.
Also disprove what you say.
Nah, but I'm in quotes enough for me to imagine the top of my head.
London is a much safer city than any city in the United States.
There we go.
Violent crime in the UK is not where you think it is. In fact, it's coming down. You have painted,
oh, well, let me drag it.
Because you have so many followers, so many Americans.
There you go. Batwig. Beautiful. Absolutely stunning. 10 out of 10 execution. Okay, let's get back to the interview. Oh, hopefully it didn't restart. Oh, it did. Okay, let's get in there a little bit.
You support not just
normal. In fact, you one of the
Nightwing style, yeah.
It's funny. One thing that's quite funny is to like take a speech from Obama and Hillary, and then go to someone and say, who's sort of you know, on the sort of what I call the lunatic left, and say, what do you think of the speech by Trump? Like,
got
he's
me,
the
yeah.
worst person ever.
Very good,
actually,
beautiful.
That was a speech by
10 out of 10
Obama.
execution.
Well, actually, that was a speech by Hillary.
I agree. No, I agree that the center of gravity in this country has shifted. Certainly, the Democratic Party has shifted to the left. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking
that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
Please.
People,
it's actually just normal people. It's just normal people. It's just normal people. And and here are the principles. And tell me which of these sound terrible. That we should have secure borders. That we should have safe cities. That we should have sensible spending. Which of those three are far right fringe? And I would like
the
to
interviewer being just utterly flabbergasted is appropriate. Yeah.
The absurd characterization of the far right. It is false.
The fact they're all lies. Yeah. I mean, technically on the surface, like the optics of it aren't lies. It's just he's manipulating by lying through omission, right?
Nonsense.
Elon, you have what is it, close to 250 million followers on X.
Yeah, because
You say things like,
popular guy.
quote, civil war
'Cause he's
in
the
Britain
owner.
is inevitable. Just a
On the
question
current
of when.
trends, yes.
I mean, when were you last in the UK?
A few years ago.
Exactly. So I live there. I'm there the whole time. That is
Yeah,
nonsense.
you live in a cloistered existence.
No, I don't actually. And the numbers also disprove what you say.
You're so rude.
All the numbers about crime. London is a much safer city than any city in the United States. Violent crime in the UK is not where you think it is. In fact, it's coming down. You have painted, and because you have so many followers, so many Americans believe it, a kind of view that Europe and the UK are kind of, overrun with terrifying Muslim immigrants. There's rape on every corner. There's a sort of civilizational
I haven't
destruction.
said any of those things. If you have a large and
He has
growing,
retweeted
rapidly
and
growing,
pushed so much right-wing
group
rhetoric,
of
it's
people
impossible to
whose
avoid.
beliefs are antithetical to Western beliefs.
Just a sec, Mayori.
At some point,
I'm gonna let him
there
finish
will
talking.
be a reckoning. That they will try to implement their views, and those who oppose it will oppose it, and that's what you call civil war.
That's what you want, you fucking psycho. All this rhetoric is race war bullshit. Mayori says, yeah, but immigrants do the least crime in all countries in the world. So the cities are quote unquote safe. The borders should have reasonable restrictions, not blanket. And I forgot the last thing. It's okay. Not blanket, safer cities and then fiscal spending is what he was talking about. Just a sec. I don't know why it modded that. That's ridiculous. Miori says, what the fuck, saying that's not true is war now? How to tell a mofo's never touched a war in his life? I'm dying over here. Yeah. I agree with you, Surfy. Not Surfy, sorry, Maori. 100%. I think that there's reasonable limits to things. There's reasonable stuff that you can do, and Elon Musk is an extremist 100%. He's he's again trying to package his extremism in the most palatable way to get as many people on board as possible, and then they slowly boil the pot, right? And by then it's already too late. For what you did to him in Discord? Okay.
And obviously,
did a funny thing?
this is
Okay,
the
let me
trend. And you absolutely do live in a cloistered existence.
Oh my God, what
and if you'd like, you can go on a tour of Britain. And we can go on a walk.
That's highly inappropriate, Surfy. My goodness.
You come from
very
my
accurate,
country
though.
that I live in all the time, and you haven't been to a few years
I've been
ago.
there literally 100 times.
But when was the last time?
So?
Literally
You don't live there. You obviously don't look at statistics.
Because you have really shaped opinion about the UK. And so many Americans I come across and I have conversations with, and and I just had one the other day along the order of,
Bruh.
oh, London's such a dangerous place.
We
Haven't
need
you
to
know,
discover
there are sort of grooming gangs everywhere. There's violence everywhere.
Techions,
This is a picture
or need
that
to,
people get from things that
or
you
I
post
need
or that are
to
posted on
nick
X.
the time
For example,
catalyst to
your
go back to
posting for, what was
2012
it,
and
48
fix
hours
the
of citizen
planet.
vigilante.
Please do.
That
Please
film,
do.
which,
That would be
paints a
amazing.
dystopian. I've watched it.
Yes.
It was
You know what you can
not
do
fun.
is
I watched
prevent
it
Elon
yesterday.
Musk
It's not
from
a very
getting
good movie.
Twitter.
But
That
it
would be
also
beautiful.
paints a dystopian picture of Europe, and it glorifies
One of the
vigilante
biggest L's
violence.
was
It
letting you have
glorifies
that
the
platform.
murdering of a Muslim immigrant family. I honestly think that it is irresponsible for you to put that up on X.
I think that it's a movie, and it's worth watching.
People
It's a
say
shitty
that you're
movie. It's a racist
What is the
movie.
motivation for doing
Yes,
that?
I
Are
mean,
you fermenting?
my partner is she's half Indian, and and I have 4 children with her.
Oh yeah, he's also a deadbeat fucking dad who abandons his children when they don't fit the mold that he wants for them. He has so many fucking kids. I can't imagine that he spends more than if at all a day with one of his kids throughout the entirety of the year. There's probably still many that have never spent any time with him at all. He just makes kids and moves on. I forgot what my other point was, but he's talking about this racist fucking movie. What was he talking about? I forgot.
It's a movie, and it's worth watching.
I'd give Time Machine to Zoran. Yes, that would be amazing.
My partner
Dude's a
is-
deadbeat
is,
dad coming
she's
from a
half
real
Indian,
dad. Yeah.
And
He's a piece of shit.
And I have 4 children with her.
Oh yeah, the whole I've got an Indian partner. It's okay, slave masters consistently and regularly rape their slaves, that doesn't mean that they thought that they deserve equal rights. Like, they just see them as property and a tool. Just because you date somebody of a different ethnicity than you doesn't mean that you can't be racist towards that fucking ethnicity. This whole defense of like, oh, well, look at who I'm dating turns them not only into a fucking prop, it devalues them as a human being and the racism that they experience that you might be subjecting them to because you're so ignorant to the fact that you could be a racist yourself that you don't even care to recognize the harm that you could potentially be causing them. It's insane. I was going to legit say that, yeah, about Jefferson. Yeah, like totally. Like, it's just ridiculous concept that because you like date, like just like cops will date trans people, but then be happy to like kill them on a regular basis. Like chasers will date trans people and then kill them. Like it doesn't mean anything to be willing to fuck somebody. Like, just because you can get your dick hard for somebody doesn't mean that you value them as a human being.
There's, I don't think there's any racism there.
Are you anti-Muslim?
I am.
Yes, he is.
I'm against having if people.
He's taking a long way to say yes.
With antithetical views.
That pause tells me volumes. Yeah.
I am against that.
Very true, Maori.
I'm against that. You know, I'm against. I'm against rape and murder. I'm against the imposition of.
Could just say no, if you were not.
Rules and laws that are.
The extended pause says a whole wiki section, namely the KKK. Yeah, that's a great way to explain it.
In the West. And I think it's a crying shame that the sort of traditional media, like you, don't recognize this.
Why should you be able to shape European politics? You don't even live there.
Also, that was a subtle way of saying that Muslims were rapists and murderers.
Why this makes people think?
He just didn't say Muslims were doing it, right? Like, he was asked specifically about Muslim people.
He thinks he has
Sorry. That was a subtle way of him saying like that Muslims were rapists and murderers, right? Because he was directly asked whether or not he was anti-Muslim, and then he goes on this long diatribe about like how he is anti-rape and anti-murder. He wasn't asked about any other demographics, so he just basically tied it back to being like Muslims are rapists and murderers. Maori says, as subtle as a sledgehammer. Yeah, like, I mean, for people who are not like in depth and understanding about this, it would probably just go right over their head, right? Like, you have to kind of be a little bit trained to understand this kind of stuff, even though we might see it and understand it and be like, yeah, that's pretty fucking blatant. You got to explain it for people who haven't been not indoctrinated, but like induced into the whole like racism, what kind of a situation
to influence our politics.
He's very much anti-Muslim.
Why, we started this conversation saying superlatives. It's why
what a piece of shit.
You. I mean, some people do loathe you.
Yes, some people do.
Mm-hmm.
But do you understand why? Do you think what you're doing is helpful?
No, I think you got it right the first time, indoctrinated into like understanding racism, inducted into the Hall of Fame of like understanding racism.
As you pointed out, 250 million people follow me, is that I think a lot more people actually like me than don't.
It's because you own Twitter and people have to pay attention to the shitty fucking things that you say so they can counter you. Like numbers do not equate to genuine popularity and enjoyment. Sometimes people feel like they have to follow you in order to constantly counter the shitty fucking things that you say, you absolute psychopath. Not into not understanding it. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
And I think a lot more people hate you and the media more than you realize.
Likewise, like projection, relentless projection from this douche. Okay, next video of him is about AI. Elon Musk on AI. Humans will no longer be in control in 10 years, which I don't think is really all that true. Let's hope not. Let's hear what he has to say.
AI may exceed the sum of human intelligence in around 5 years.
In 5 years?
Roughly 5 years is my guess. So there really won't be anything that AI can't do better than humans, apart from being human, perhaps.
At a more prosaic level, what will life be like?
The most likely outcome
I also
is
disagree
an
with him.
age of amazing abundance.
Miori says, I don't
where
hate the media. I hate the people
anyone can have
choosing
anything
what
they
the
can think
media
of.
is allowed to publish.
this may
I'm old
sound
enough to
preposterous,
remember pre-net
well,
media
here we are in
barely.
2026.
Yeah, I'm too young
Let's
to
see where we
remember
stand in
that.
2036.
But I
Now,
agree.
of
I
course, there are
think that
things that
the
could
media,
derail this,
not
a
small
massive
media, but like
global
large
thermonuclear
media
war or
is
something like
definitely
that.
much more curated and definitely
assuming that there's
biased,
not
and a
World
lot
War
of it
III,
can be used as a weapon,
I think
unfortunately.
I think
Local
we're
media
headed
is not
for
that
an
bad.
age of amazing abundance.
It can
this
be,
is,
but it's not
I
too
guess,
bad.
a message of optimism and excitement about the future.
You're sure that humans will no longer
Try.
be in control in 10 years' time?
True.
I think it is unlikely, in the same way that if you had a vastly more, if the difference in intelligence between AI and humans is vastly greater than the difference in intelligence between AI and chimpanzees, it's hard to imagine that the chimpanzees would be in charge.
Okay, my issue with his logic is just a second, Surfy. Oh my god. You stop? Yes, take a break, Surfy. Just a second. My issue with the Elon Musk's logic here that AI would be able to surpass human intelligence is that we are training AI on human intelligence, like what we know, what we can figure out, like what we understand. Like AI definitely has the potential to make advancements faster than us, but I don't necessarily think that it has the potential to be smarter than us until we encounter something smarter than we are, right? Like we have limited access to information, and our understanding of the universe and what is going on is limited to what we can observe from our own planet right now, right? And so the way that science works is it's not necessarily something isn't true or isn't possible. Science is just saying that this is what we can scientifically confirm, and that is what makes up scientific fact. And so if that's all you have, then technically speaking, arguably, a lot of stuff that we get from AI will just be hypothesis rather than things that we can actually prove until we can prove it ourselves scientifically. Maori says, worse, on computer intelligence. What do you mean? Like that the computers can only be as intelligent as we make it? Surfy says, have you seen that AI robot on TikTok someone made, and it speaks and turns heads and looks up? No, I haven't. iRobot all over again? I think that iRobot is a little bit different, but yeah, I'll have to add that to movie night stuff. Haven't seen that one. My favorite evil AI right now is the Chinese one kicking a kid. I've seen that one. That one was terrible. I shouldn't laugh. The poor kid, man. But like, yeah. There was another one that I saw of this AI robot walking out at a presentation, and it was like the launch of the presentation, and there's a person beside it who is like the CEO of the company, and it's supposed to be this big reveal, and it walks out, and like 2 seconds later it just collapsed, and you see this guy, he just like dies inside for like 5 straight minutes. It's hilarious. Maori says in regards to computer intelligence, that they're learning on how computers work, fundamentally different than how we think. Also, how that last one was able to break out of its sandbox so easily and hack another site. Yeah, I saw that. I have to look more into that because I wanted to cover it on stream because I thought that was fucking crazy sauce. Like, it makes me incredibly concerned for our future, because if it has the possibility of breaking out of its sandbox, where else can it break into, right? Because it didn't just break out, it broke into somewhere else. RoboCop, you want that add to the list? 100%. If you have access to those parts of the subreddit, feel free to add movies that you think would be good, Surfy. Mary says, AI is 4 years old this year. Give it 2 more and they can hack the US football. Yeah, I'm not worried about it hacking US football. I'm worried about it hacking other things. And then on that note, like hacking US football, what would happen if people utilize AI to hack like Polymarket and shit like that, to sway bets and sway the percentages and sway payouts and things like that? AI is arguably pretty fucking terrifying when you think about it applied in those measures, which I would not be surprised if somebody does not try to do that. Surfy Polecat says, well, AI managed to hack its way out, of a box, Mary says, football is the name for U.S. nuclear button. Oh, I see what you mean. I thought you meant like actual football, like playing football, which recently had Wi-Fi added. Why? Why the fuck would you add anything to the nuclear shit in order for it to be hacked? Don't you have a portable button that you can bring everywhere with you? Like, insane to me. Oh my god, humans are so fucking stupid. It blows my fucking mind. Surfy says, to get information from the internet and then went back into its box and to answer the question. That's crazy. Okay, I'll have to look that up a little bit more so we can cover it on stream. AI getting their own mind. To be honest, we are fucked. I agree. We're gonna watch Ex Machina on our first movie night this Sunday at 7 p.m. So feel free to stop by. I absolutely love that movie. It is fantastic. I can't believe that it only made $35 million on its release. It was made for $15 million and it only made $35 million back. I thought it was a drastically more popular movie than it was. Miori says, supposed to be for faster defense, despite every expert saying it's massively dangerous for this exact reason. Yeah, that is insane. Like, I just don't know what to even say sometimes in regards to this. It's like the decisions that people in positions of power are making feel like they are just so stupid. Like any person with any level of sense would be able to understand within a microsecond how fucking dangerous and stupid that is. Surfy says, have you seen Machine Wars? No, I haven't, not yet. 2026 movie. It's so damn good. Okay, maybe we'll watch that too. Feel free to add it to the list. Like, the more we have, the better it goes. Mayori says, haven't seen Machine Wars yet. Might just live through it in a couple more years. No, we're not going to live in the world of Terminator, okay? It's not going to happen. I'll ride my ram.
I'm really
and
struck
we are
by this.
essentially an evolved form of chimpanzee.
I'll be back.
So it wasn't that long ago.
I'll be
that
back.
We're swinging through the trees,
I love those movies. I remember
bananas,
watching them as a kid. They're so good. We'll watch those too, for sure.
You said there was a 10 to 20% chance of killer robots wiping out humanity.
Yes.
So you sounded worried then. Now you seem very relaxed about it. Have you changed your view?
I know, right? So good, yeah.
Associated with AI and robots.
Very
it's not
LOL.
zero.
Yet they weren't supposed to
I
be
guess I've
an
come
instructional
to
manual. I know, but humans are so stupid.
My
Humans
sort
are so stupid.
Philosophical
Like,
conclusion
Black
is
Mirror is starting to feel like a prediction model rather than like just a TV show. It's scary. Have you ever seen Black Mirror? It is so good. We'll watch that too a little bit on stream if we can get away with it. That or in the Discord. Where it says, we are the last few years defined. Yeah. As the last few years defined.
to look on the bright side.
Yeah. I've gotten enough
I can't see any way
existential
to
dread.
really
Thanks.
stop
Okay,
this
no problem. We can skip it. That one can be
incredible
reserved for
momentum
Discord.
of AI and robots. And at times I sort of think, well, perhaps, even if there was a stop button, we probably shouldn't press it because the most likely outcome is incredible abundance for all.
That's what I thought, actually. It struck me that now you seem to have...
Come with me if you
decided it's
want to
inevitable.
live. My
Let's
Arnold
hope for the
impersonation
best
is terrible.
and we'll go
Sorry.
for the ride.
Yeah, I mean, yes, pretty much. Let's enjoy the ride. Is I think my philosophy at this point. Because I mean,
That's
honestly,
easy for him to say. He can literally
there seems
fly
be
to
just
fucking Mars if he
inexorable,
needs to.
Progress. Here
Hello,
in-
I've
in
seen how you
AI
want me to
and
live.
in
No
robots.
thanks. Yeah. Ugh.
That even if I wanted to stop it,
See if he says, I can do
Do you
a
think there's still a
perfect
10 to
impression of
20%
him.
chance
Really?
that killer robots
I'm terrible of it.
mean the end of humanity?
What's your
That's a
favorite
high
movie of
people,
his?
as they say.
Well, in the long run, we're all dead, of course. So I mean,
Fucking ridiculous. What a ridiculous human.
According to the standard model of physics, the end of the universe is a long, boring, sort of thin, gray soup of gradual cooling.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of the heat death of the universe is called.
The Spy one,
So,
True Lies.
no,
I
if-
like
if
that
the
one too.
heat death of the
With
universe
Jamie Lee
is, in fact,
Curtis.
the outcome for our reality.
So
then
good.
It really is all about the journey. Because the destination is terrible.
Yeah, but 10 years is not very. Yeah, I get that, but that could be a long way
Yeah, it's a very
ahead.
long way.
And you're
Very,
basically
very,
saying,
very long way.
Taste,
if it's
yeah.
10 to 20% in 10 years, would you go into one of your rockets if you thought there was a 10 to 20% chance of it blowing up and killing you?
Yes, but
That's
let's
a
say
great question.
You can't do anything about it. I guess the only
You
thing
could
we can
not
try
get
to
in
do
the
is
fucking
minimize the
rocket.
probability
Hello?
of the bad outcome.
The pause yet
Um,
again. I know.
But trying to
Whenever
stop
he
the
gets a little
intelligence in
stun
robots,
Yes, we can.
I mean, for the longest
No,
time, I
thanks.
declined to participate in AI, or which created OpenAI as essentially a counterweight to Google, because at the time they had more or less a monopoly on AI. In creating OpenAI and then having Anthropic spin out of that, and now currently Anthropic's the leader in AI. I mean, these actions have actually resulted in knock-on effects that accelerated AI, which wasn't really my intention. So it just seems like all roads lead to acceleration of AI. So then I'm like, okay, well, you can just sort of be sad about it or join the club, I suppose.
Well, you've certainly joined the club.
Yeah.
Just a second, Mary.
You've definitely joined the club.
If you can't beat them, join them,
A number of
LOL, God, he's dumb.
leaders of
Doesn't
the
even
model
know
makers
over
have
50
been
companies
pushing
were
for different
also
ways to
doing
try
AI
and
at the
minimize
same
the
time.
risks.
Yeah.
Just last week,
Just
Jennifer
not
Savitz
as
came out with
dangerous.
a
Yeah, like I
proposal
don't.
for
I
a
think that he is
private
very
public
much in his
regulator.
own world.
Do you think you
Also,
guys
it
should
doesn't
be
realize
working
what happens
actively
outside of himself, kind of a
to
thing.
get something in place to control the risks, or do you think that's impossible too?
Yeah. My recommendation to Demis, because I talked to him for a few hours before he published his piece, was that the most immediate thing that we could do is to have the leading AI companies.
You legit reminds
at
me of
least
my
just meet.
ex who didn't
Have
know
some
that
sort of
people
call
paid rent.
once every few weeks.
What? How
and just,
isolated was this person?
Discuss.
Surfy Polecat says,
safety and security
Twins,
issues.
Kindergarten
Why
Cop,
haven't you
Jingle
done that
All
yet?
the
I mean, you all
Way,
like
Last
each other
Action
very
Hero,
much.
Last
Yeah,
Action
but
Hero,
you're
so
not-
good.
you're not
Batman
all-
and Robin, oh yeah.
You're also all
Bat
competing, right?
nipples,
You all
bat
want to be
nipples.
first.
Yes, but that's where I think the competitors can
I
keep
love bat
keep each
nipples. That's
other
one of my
honest.
favorite things
So
ever.
meaning,
Bat
like,
nipples.
If, I think it's quite difficult for someone in the government who doesn't have a deep technical understanding and isn't driving the frontier of AI to know whether something should be released or not. However, the competitors, I think, can, if given sort of a week or two to review a new model, can highlight issues and have an incentive to keep.
She came from old money.
Just a
second. Maori says she came from old money. After we got together, she flew me out to live with her in the apartment complex her money grandma gave her for her 16th birthday. Dude, that is crazy. I found out she was uber rich after a year. So did she hide it from you, or like did she hide it from you, or like, what the hell? That's crazy. And she didn't realize, despite the fact that she lived in an apartment complex, that like apartments aren't owned by every single person that lives in them. Wild. That's a lot of fucking money too, by the way. Jesus Christ. See, this is the perfect example. Like, I couldn't date somebody just for fucking money either. Like, it would be miserable.
So you'd have a system where the model makers would check each other's work. If there was something that worried them, you'd tell the government.
Yeah.
The government would then think. Okay.
If there's something else was worrisome and that company was not doing anything to address that risk, then that would be the moment for government to step in and take action, which is literally what occurred
How
with
soon does
us.
all this have to happen?
Well, I think it'd be good to do that. I think immediately, really.
Oops,
Yeah,
sorry,
that's
guys.
what people keep
Stop
telling
playing.
me. We have to get this some kind of system in the
come
next
back.
6 months because of the pace at which the models are improving.
Yeah, 6 months is a long time.
Not really.
So you think shorter than that?
Well, I mean, there's so many AI breakthrough announcements.
Oh, it's a second.
Sometimes multiple per day. I mean, how many were there last week?
A lot.
Mary says, I guess she did. Like, we didn't talk about it. She was an exchange student here, and at least $5 fish and chips with and ate $5 fish and chips with my family when she was here. She knew my family. I only knew her mama cried when she played the I've got a what? I've got a brown baby prank on her mom. What? What did I just read? I'm assuming that her mom was really racist. That's terrible. Makes sense. Jesus Christ. Pretended to be a hapu for April's 1st. Her mom panicked. Semi-racist. I don't know, man. If somebody cries because their kid has a brown baby, I don't know if that's just semi-racist. Like, Jesus. I couldn't imagine crying over something like that. That's something. That's something. That's a special kind of person. Wouldn't you just be happy to have a grandkid? Like, I can imagine crying over having a grandkid all of a sudden because you think your kid's too fucking young or something. But, like, to cry over their race is intense. Jeebus. So what was it like? Like, I don't know. You don't have to answer anything like that. To be honest, I always thought that was us being a teens thing. Oh, okay, fair enough. Like, well, that's like, I'm not saying your girlfriend was super racist. I mean, the mom was, not her. I'd cry if my kid had a kid in the next 10 years. Aw, happy cry or sad cry? I don't want to be a granddad pre-40s. Fair enough. But once you hit 40, then it's okay, right? Like, then you're chill with it.
I lost track,
Yeah, a lot.
Um,
So you basically, whether it's Demis's proposal or others, you need to get together and get this set up kind of now, it sounds like you're telling me.
Yeah, I would recommend that we at least have some sort of informal...
Mine's gay, so that's one issue I don't have. LOL, fair enough. They could adopt.
Call and that, like I said, just that there's there's maybe a week or 2 weeks of early access by competitors, and this is why I think the incentives work, is because if competing companies, I think, are likely to understand if
it was weird, especially the rich mates who were super classist. Oh, that sucks.
That their competitors.
Yeah, I don't know how I'd cope with that. It'd be definitely a social adjustment. I think one of my biggest fears about becoming like rich, if that ever happens, is becoming disconnected from like the general population. That would break my heart. First time I got insulted for First time I got insulted for working, just for working. Dude, I couldn't imagine not working. I'd be so freaking bored. Like, wouldn't you get bored not doing anything, not having any pet projects or anything? Like,
and you
I don't know.
Trust each other. You're insulting each other on social media constantly. So do you think you can do that with people that you dislike, that where there seems to be such kind of personal vitriol between some of these leaders?
Yes. Well, I'm not a fan of Sam Altman, because if you started a nonprofit that was meant to be an open source AI company, and
I had to pay rent at 14, so I was working since then. I went and lived with her at 17, 18. 14 is such a young age. Jesus Christ. I hope you get to retire early so you get to enjoy some time. Like, that's crazy.
And then
nobody should have to do that.
I was not a fan of Sam Altman because he felt, in fact, the reason the Anthropic team left OpenAI is because they didn't trust Sam Altman. Otherwise, Anthropic wouldn't exist. They would still be at OpenAI. I think Dario is a very principled person. He cares about things a lot.
No, Maori, there's laws to stop us from renting till we can't.
I'm like, no one set off my evil detector.
At least in New Zealand,
like
really?
Intentioned. And the road to hell is, I think, mostly paved with bad intentions. There are a few well-intentioned paving stones in there, so we don't want to be complacent.
Oh, stop us from retiring until we cark it?
know, at the end of the day, if we have
At
to
least
talk, we'll
you
talk,
have
and
to
then
reach a certain age
set
before you
aside
can
our personal
retire. What if you're
differences for the
independently
people of the
wealthy?
world type of
Yeah,
thing.
you can only retire here after 65. We don't live that long. Oh my God. Really? That's super interesting. I had no freaking idea. We're going to save this one for later. We're not going to watch it today. I'm just going to click on it quickly so I can save it for later because it looks interesting. And then we're going to move on quickly. Maori says, male Maori generally die in our 50s or 40s. We get our healthcare restricted? Why? What the hell is going on in New Zealand? That's crazy. Okay. We're going to move on to Mayor Zoran Mamdani quickly. He has some great announcements of what's going on in New York. I wish nothing but the best and success for New York. My dad was considered super old when he died at 62. Oh, I'm so sorry he passed away. That's a very young age to it's older, but it's still very, very young. My dad, oh yeah, you're sorry, I just read that. Okay, this is Mayor Zoran Mamdani holds a press conference on municipal grocery store announcements. I thought that this was a win. He's going to open 5 grocery stores priced at 30% below the market, which will help so many people. I would not be surprised if these don't take off like crazy. Not only is he creating jobs for people, he's also helping the community and the most vulnerable people. Even if you're fucking rich, I'm sure that rich people will still shop there too because they like saving money. Maori says, dude, we still have to pay Caucasians for taking our land? What? They charge us for that? Perpetual leases, they're called. And this dude is a low-key awesome. Yeah, he is. I'll have to look up on, educate myself on New Zealand more because this is all new to me. Like, I had no idea about any of this. That's crazy sauce.
Good morning, Brooklyn.
We're going to play it a little bit fast because this is long.
It's an honor
so
to
I just
be
want
at
to get
the
through
Campaign
it.
Against Hunger with so many friends and partners. I want to thank all of you for coming out. At this time, I want to acknowledge with us our Mayor Mamdani. Put your hands together. Okay. Our Mayor Mamdani. We also want to take this time out to recognize and honor our Deputy Mayor Sue. Our interim president.
You can hear how
CEO,
genuine she
Pack
is, even with increased
BYCD
speed. Yeah.
Economic Development Corp. At this time, without any further ado, as you're with the Campaign Against Hunger, as many of you know, that we serve thousands of families right here from this place, from our East New York hub, understanding what is needed in our community. And not only that, we know that personally, from our experience, all of you, for those of you who are community partners, understand that many families struggle to put food on their table. And when they go into a supermarket, because of the cost of food, it is very difficult for them to feed their family. And this is why today we're here.
Food banks are at their highest level of usership,
our mayor,
like
Mayor Mamdani,
since invention
is about
recently.
to do an announcement right here in this space.
Unprecedented.
And I want you to put your hands together and welcome Mayor Mamdani because he believes in affordability and access. God bless you.
Good morning, Brooklyn. It is an honor to be here at the Campaign Against Hunger with so many friends and partners. Can we have a round of applause for Dr. Melanie Samuels for welcoming us here and for your lifetime of service to the people of New York. You know, for nearly 30 years, you have led the fight against hunger here in our city, growing this operation from a small emergency food program to a leading food distributor that serves hundreds of thousands of New Yorkers each year and provides programming on how to live a healthier life. I also want to acknowledge leaders here from our administration, our Deputy Mayor for Economic Justice, Julie Su, and our incredible interim president.
Maori says, and yeah, once you look into New Zealand politics, you'll see we got a similar version of the same problems you do, including certain people trying to decide we shouldn't have the same rights like contract laws, what the fuck, as everyone else. It's part of the reason why I left for years. Oh, that's crazy. I had no idea. I'll have to look into all of this. Why would they not permit you guys to have contract
CEO
clause?
Jeannie Pack of the Economic Development Corporation. And I would be remiss if I didn't also acknowledge a future assembly member here in the crowd, Christian Celeste. And we are here today speaking of leaders in government, outside of government, and we also know that alongside us today are so many leaders, whether they have been in civil service, or also we have organized labor who is here with us, RWDSU, Unite Near Local 100. And we come together, and I ask that we begin by reflecting on the number 30, its history, its significance, and its future here in New York City. A token to ride the subway cost 30 cents in 1970, which was a 50% increase from the previous year that sparked outcry protests and led to 12 arrests. The digits 30 have been donned by some of our most beloved athletes, from the Liberties' Breonna Stewart, to the Yankees' Willie Randolph, to the Rangers' Henrik Lundqvist. And researchers estimate that at least 30% of grocery stores across the 5 boroughs are currently playing the song Drops of Jupiter at this very moment. However, we know that for many New Yorkers, 30% at the grocery store means something very different. Since 2019, food prices have soared at grocery stores around the country by roughly 30%,
Maori.
in fact. Talk to shoppers around.
Maori says, because of our founding document, which gave us authority over land, it pretty much said there's the Maori Nation and the visitors who should have the similar but not the same rights. Oh, separate but equal. That's not good. Because a 200-year-old thing with multiple wars. Are there no amendments or anything? But yeah, once you're outnumbered, yeah. Unfortunately.
And you'll often hear the same.
Yeah, separate but equal can turn very different very quickly when you are the minority party unexpectedly out of nowhere.
Wages have not kept up. Making matters even worse, some corporations have built out technology that allows for something called surveillance pricing. Collecting personal data
I
to
fucking
charge some
hate
people more than
surveillance
others
pricing.
the same carton of eggs.
Surveillance pricing should be fucking outlawed. It should be illegal. Like, there is no good thing that can really come from surveillance pricing. I understand, dude, I love this guy. Yeah, me too. Outlawed the fuck. Yeah. Like the surveillance pricing is disgusting concept. Because I feel like, in theory, even though it might help like poor people a little bit, after a while, what the goal with surveillance pricing is to be able to price, like they're going to try and figure out what is the maximum number you will pay for a product, right? What is not just the maximum number you will pay for the product, but what is the maximum number, what is the maximum cost you can afford to pay for a product, right? So like if you're going to the grocery store, you're going to have to be incredibly careful because they're going to try and get every single cent out of you that they possibly fucking can. It's just a disgusting, discriminatory thing that, like, why should somebody else be priced higher for a product that I'm paying for anyways? Like, it just doesn't make any sense for me. It's like, it is like, I hope that like I hope that it's made illegal. Legitimately. I fucking hate it so much. It makes me so angry. They want to implement it here in Canada. I hope that it legitimately, it should be made illegal. The concept is discriminatory. It is just rife for like exploitation. It's just going to make so many people's lives harder. It's awful. Mary says, LOL, sorry, I just remembered that's not an expression where you are. Should be outlawed, like sex slavery. It should be. It's bloody dumb. Yeah. It is an expression. It should be outlawed. We don't say outlawed. It should be illegal. It's kind of the same thing. Yeah, I get what you mean, though.
For the same
yeah, it's bloody dumb. Yeah, it's
all
awful.
Of this leaves too many New Yorkers feeling like groceries are out of reach. And that is frankly unacceptable, which is why city government is stepping in to make people's lives more affordable. Today, I am proud to announce a collection of essential staples that will be predictably 30% cheaper at all 5 of our city-run grocery stores. This core set of goods will include all fresh produce, meat, and seafood, along with 20 other essential items like cheese, milk, and bread. Here's how it will work. Once a month, our 5 city-run grocery stores will set prices for this core set of goods at 30% below typical retail prices. No exceptions, no gimmicks. The savings will last for the entire month. That means no weekly fluctuations nor sticker shock at the checkout line. Not for
That's
our
good.
seniors living on fixed incomes, nor for the parents who
Essentials,
rely
yeah.
on a regular supply of apple slices to keep toddler tantrums at bay. Now, can we all see this incredible example of produce in my hand?
Hey, Flip Styly, welcome
Now, you will
in.
see these plantains
What's
here.
the
So for anyone
news?
wondering how much these
We're
beautiful
currently
plantains might
watching Zora Mamdani talk about a new, like he's implementing a new 30% discount grocery store. He's implementing 5 of them, and he's currently discussing what the plan will be. Larry says Zoran is still as awesome as he has been for the last decade. Yeah, he's a goat. I like him. I know people have issues with him. They think that he's a Zionist and things like that. I don't think that he's perfect, but I think that he's far and above better than so many people. And he's actually taking steps to make people's lives better in ways that we have yet to see. I saw Elon earlier. What's going on with him now? Ugh, Elon is just being a loser, talking about how AI is going to take over and eventually like kill all the humans and stuff like that, and how he's fine with it essentially, and how he's not racist somehow, even though he super is. How are you? Here, let me give you a shout out. Just a second. He's going even balder. Yes. Here, what have you been up to? Were you playing Spelunky earlier? Oopsies, just a second. Sally. Oh, thank you for doing a shout out, Surfy. I appreciate it. Done it. Thank you. I wasn't sure if you were still here. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You can use this QR code
Splunky.
or head to grocery.nyc
I'm
to
good.
access our
Just
policy
getting
report.
ready for bed.
I'm going to
I played some
demonstrate exactly what
Splunky HD for a while. Is there a difference between regular Splunky and Splunky HD? I'm super quick, always. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the QR code does work. You can see this here. There you can learn more about our city-owned grocery store program, including the 30% discount. 30% off adds up to real money for New Yorkers, with an estimated $90 saved on grocery bills each month. That is
Jesus.
more than $1,000 saved every year.
That's like my
And
internet
just as
bill.
important as money, those savings add up
LOL.
to time.
We pay
For many,
our
that 30% discount
guy.
is the difference
Yeah.
between an evening spent around the dinner table with family or working
We
another
pay our IT
double shift
guys.
to make ends meet. Our vision of affordable, well-run, city-owned grocery stores can only be accomplished with experienced operators who know how to source products, stock the shelves, and help answer shopper questions. So today, we are also issuing an RFP for private operators to
Just a
help
second,
us with the
Flip Sally.
day-to-day management of our 5 city-run grocery stores. If you know how to run
Flipside says, so there was the first Splunky made in Game Maker, and they redid it and called it HD. Oh, and the old one became Spelunky Classic. Oh, okay. I had no idea about it. I thought there was just like, there's Spelunky 1 and Spelunky 2 though, right? 5? I thought it was only 2. No, there's going to be 5 grocery stores. Yeah, like they're opening 5, which is fantastic. I'd be curious to see where they're placed. I hope that like at least one of them is placed in one of the lowest income areas of New York, and as well as some of the highest priced income areas of New York. HD is 1 and 2 is 2. Okay, I see what you mean. So there is Spelunky Classic, and then there's Spelunky HD, and then there's Spelunky 2.
a grocery store.
Did I get
You
that
wanna do
right?
more to help your fellow New Yorkers. I encourage you to head to grocery.nyc or scan the QR code to learn more about how to apply.
Going to be?
As we make these stores a reality, we are committed to ensuring those who work here will have good contracts for good jobs, with store workers receiving family-sustaining wages and benefits.
Yes, and hopefully there will be a 3. That would be interesting. I wonder what they do.
No New Yorker
Spelunky
should
is
have
such
to
a
worry about
creative
being able
game.
to afford
It's
to feed their
amazing.
family. The sentiment, frankly, is not new. More than a century ago, Mayor Fiorello LaGuardia witnessed the food riots of 1917, led by immigrant mothers incensed with soaring food prices. Those mothers took to the streets to overturn pushcarts and eventually called for a boycott of marked up goods. Years later, when he became mayor, he spearheaded the creation of municipally owned markets to reduce the cost of groceries for those same immigrant mothers. He did so because he believed in a simple definition of the task of government: to make people's lives better. Today, we are one step closer to fulfilling that fundamental responsibility. Thank you very much. Now with that, I'm going to pass it over to our Deputy Mayor, Julie Su.
Let's see what she has to say.
Good morning, everybody.
If it's not interesting,
Thank you so
we'll wrap
much, Mayor. I also want to acknowledge our groceries interagency task force who helped us get to this day, and many of whom are in the room with us. So as the mayor said, I'm Julie Su, the Deputy Mayor for Economic Justice, a position that the mayor created to be sure that we are utilizing all the tools of city government to make New York City a place where the people who choose to live here also know that they belong here. And that belonging isn't abstract.
Dude, going back to LaGuardia, getting flashbacks to my first social studies teacher in primary.
Eggs or bananas, milk
What's that
or
like?
meat, even essential groceries or necessary medication, food to fill a lunchbox or shoes to fit growing children's feet. A trip to the grocery store feels heavy, and that's not just because of the weight of the basket. A lot of what's pushing those prices up isn't ours to control. Wars an ocean away raise the cost of fuel, and that cost gets passed on to you.
Donald Trump's
Erratic
fault.
tariffs that have raised the prices of everything from coffee beans to
Donald
tin
Trump's
cans
fault.
shows up in grocery prices too. Farms across this country are struggling, destabilizing our food supply, affecting what's available on the shelf and what it costs.
She was nuts.
And some of it is just
We
plain
had to
old
pretend
price
to
gouging.
be rioters
Companies
and
charging
throw
more,
painted
including
paper
doing
balls
things,
at
as
each
the mayor
other
said,
to
using
show us how
algorithms
numbers
to figure
count
out
for
who's desperate
everything.
enough to pay what,
Interesting.
and then charging
Interesting.
accordingly.
I don't know if
None
I
of
would
that
benefit from
is
that
unique
teaching
to
style,
New
but
York
it's a unique one for sure.
But this city doesn't have to take it either. Since his first day in office, our mayor has made one thing clear. The essentials of life are too important to leave to
Oh, I
chance.
still remember Mom yelling
who
at
say,
me for
"Why should
having my
government be
new
in the business
shirt
of cheaper
and
groceries?"
pants covered
Our
in
answer
paint.
is,
Aw,
we've
it was
been
in the
showing since
90s.
January
Yeah.
that what government can and should be doing is about making life tangibly better for people. And ensuring that New Yorkers can put healthy, fresh food on the table is among the most important ways we can think of. So, while we don't control all the reasons that groceries are unaffordable,
Sorry, you're
going
gonna
to
see a
be
pause in the
ambitious and imaginative
video for a
about what
minute.
we can do. The mayor talked about the discount, bringing down the price by 30%.
Sorry about
As we've
that.
also
Just a sec,
said many
guys.
times, affordability is about both sides of the equation, bringing prices down and bringing up what workers get and the number of good jobs in this city.
There we go.
Today, we're making absolutely clear that these grocery stores will provide quality jobs
In basic
with
ways.
family-sustaining
I
benefits
mean, I
and
hope that
wages for the people
education is
stocking your
advanced since
shelves,
the
bringing
90s.
you up and keeping the lights on. This is what it looks like to build a city where your government is doing everything in our power to make sure that New Yorkers can stay, can live, and can truly belong. So with that, let me introduce our interim president and CEO of the EDC, Jeannie Pack.
Good morning, everyone. This is a very exciting day. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Su, and thank you, Mayor Mamdani, for your vision.
I think
to
that
make
they
New York more
genuinely
affordable for every
seem
New Yorker.
happy, which
That
is
the heart
like
of our groceries vision
excellent.
plan. NYC Groceries.
LOL, I
the
wasn't
recipe
meaning
for
her
affordability.
speech.
And there's
One
no
of the
better
most
place to release this
important
plan than
ways
here at Campaign
had
Against
to
Hunger in Brooklyn,
interject
a
my
place
own
that
thoughts.
demonstrates
No
every day
worries.
what it means
Okay.
to invest in communities and ensure.
Oh yeah, I
families
know what you
can
meant. Like
access
basic,
and afford healthy
basic
food.
schooling
And I wanna thank
in the
Dr.
90s. Yeah, I
Daniels
know what
for
you meant.
hosting us and for all the incredible work she does.
That's why I said I hope that like education has advanced since the 90s.
Today, too many New Yorkers are feeling the strain of rising grocery costs. Across all 5 boroughs, families are stretching every paycheck and making impossible choices at the checkout line. Buying healthy groceries shouldn't mean falling behind on rent, childcare, or other essentials. As the mayor outlined, NYC groceries
Food insecurity is important in very basic ways to help young generations. Yeah, like there's so much pressure. So many people are struggling, especially in New York. If you're a renter, rent in New York is absolutely insane. Well, education is important too, though. Yeah.
Neighborhood food access. This morning, we released an RFP to identify an operator for the NYC Groceries Initiative. We are looking for a best-in-class grocery partner, an operator with the experience, expertise, and track record to run successful stores, manage complex supply chains, and deliver.
Yeah, I've
for
heard
working
almost
people.
as bad
The
as
city's role is clear. We set the mission,
Singapore
the standards,
rent.
and the
Yeah.
expectations.
Where
Our
is it
operator
that has
partners,
coffin?
His role is to bring in the specialized grocery
or like
expertise,
bed
systems, and day-to-day management needed to make that vision a
bedroom
reality.
apartments.
We want a
I
partner
can't remember
that
what it
has
says. That's something
expertise
else
across
we're going to
every
cover
part
on
of the
stream.
business, from recruiting and training staff, managing inventory, procurement and supply chains, to merchandising and delivering consistent, high-quality customer service, creating and maintaining a dignified, pleasant shopping experience. And we want an operator dedicated to job quality and accountability, an operator that ensures workers' rights are respected, provides good-paying jobs and benefits, and safe, reliable working conditions.
Willing to listen. Yeah.
Public investment should deliver a public
I think
benefit.
that coffin apartments are like the racist term for it.
That savings from
But
this
like
investment
bed
go directly to working New Yorkers
apartments, I think
through
is
lower
not.
food prices.
Workers'
I think
right,
it's important
well
to note
overdue.
that the
Yeah.
operator will not be starting from scratch. The city is providing them foundation and grocery-ready sites, as well as covering the rent and property taxes and establishing a single public brand. All 5 NYC grocery stores will have a similar look and feel. We are setting requirements for affordability, job quality, transparency, and performance.
You know that Republicans are going to be like, socialism bad. Like, maybe not. Maybe you might like it.
Food affordability crisis.
Everybody needs food.
Direct, and meaningful. It requires thoughtful planning, operational expertise, and a commitment to delivering value every day. In the RFP, we set clear expectations for performance and articulate the affordability, job quality, and shopping experience all NYC grocery stores will share. We want an operating partner that has strong market knowledge and experience and shares our commitment to delivering the results and the long-term success
singles
of
apartments.
NYC groceries.
The ones the size of my bedroom. Didn't know North America called them that. They're not the size of like a bedroom. They're literally just the size of a bed. Like that's why they're called coffin apartments. Like, because they're just big enough to fit like a tiny bed in them. It's crazy. You should look it up. Like they're like it's all that people can afford sometimes.
He is an opportunity for experienced operators to help shape a new model for
They'll
grocery
have like
access
they don't
in
have
our
a
city.
kitchen. They don't have
the
a
strength of
bathroom.
public
Anything.
investment
It's just
with the
space enough to
expertise
fit a
and
bed
innovation
and
of
a
private
small bed,
operators.
like a single
We
bed.
are proud to reach this important
Like a cot
operator
size
RFP
bed.
milestone. I want to thank everyone
walls
whose
on either
hard work
side.
brought us here. I want to especially thank everyone at EDC who has worked tirelessly and thoughtfully to delivering this moment. The RFP and the vision plan is now live. Interested operators can visit, wait for this, it's kind of long and it's a little bit longer than what the mayor said, edc.nyc/NYC-groceries-operators-RFP. To submit your proposals. We look forward to partnering with an operator that can help turn the city's vision into a reality, delivering affordable, high-quality groceries, creating good family-sustaining jobs, and ensuring more New Yorkers can participate in and benefit from our city's continued growth. Thank you.
Our moniker is almost anti-bachelor's bed or boarders rooms. Interesting. Yeah, we have bachelor apartments here too. I don't know why it's called that. But it's just like a single room apartment. But at least in bachelors here, like they have a kitchen and bathroom and stuff included in them. Not a thing here, but we've heard of them. Interesting. Yeah, we've got them here. Not like coffin beds, but like the single room apartments. Bachelors, because you're too poor to get a partner. Fair enough. Cries and poor.
Hi, how are you?
What would you say to local grocery store owners who say a municipal grocery store will siphon business from them, potentially lead them to raise
Sucks
prices
for you,
customers?
bitches. Sucks for you. Sorry. Sucks to suck. Maybe lower your prices by 30% too and be fucking competitive. Yeah, we say fuck you. Exactly, Mary. We say fuck you to that. Like, I don't fucking care about a capitalist company complaining when they're price gouging literally everybody, implementing, what is it called again? Like surveillance pricing. Go fuck yourselves. You guys are terrible. I do not care. I fully support this. Cry harder, okay? Cry harder. Like, boo fuckity hoo, honestly. You deserve this 100%.
And is your administration considering other alternatives, such as maybe helping grocery store owners subsidize rents or
and record year on
some way that they can
year profit? Yeah, like it's not like companies are hurting.
Five
like,
on grocery stores.
Sorry, I interrupt you. Mamdani. A lot of like tricks that grocery companies will claim is like one here that is notoriously bad. They will say, "Oh, well, we only make 3% profit," even though that 3% profit equates to literally millions upon hundreds of millions of dollars of profit per year. And it's not like they're not constantly trying to increase it. That's why they have surveillance pricing, because they want to charge people as much as they possibly can and get as much money out of you as they possibly can. So when I say fuck these big chain grocery stores, go Mayor Zohran Mamdani, I freaking mean it. Like, this is absolutely fantastic. It's going to help so many people. I'm so excited for it. Mori says, my third workplace, a supermarket, said the same thing. Yeah, like, oh, boo-hoo, poor us, we're only making 3%, even though it equates to literally hundreds of millions of dollars per year. We're so sad. We only have a 3% margin. It's just like, well, that 3% accounts for a pretty large fucking chunk of money. And you don't even pay your employees a living freaking wage. Like, Walmart is a prime example of this. Walmart is atrocious for being a double dipper in the United States. States because a large portion of their base is both on food stamps and uses food stamps at Walmart in order to be able to get groceries. It's crazy. I think they made $1 million per week in profit. Jesus Christ, that's insane. Yeah, like, yeah, and even or even give expired food to homeless shelters. I know they throw out so much food. Like, I can't remember where it is, but there should be like regulations that if you have like produce and food that is going to like that you're just gonna throw out that's still good, but you like you just don't want to sell anymore. Maybe you have too much or whatever. Then you should be able to donate. Like, there's a program here that like is called Flash Foods, and it allows people to like purchase close to expiring food at a massive discount, and is like great for people. But like anything like that to help food production is great. There used to be, at least in the UK, Canada, and the US. Really? I don't know if we have it anymore. Like, if we do, like, they're still massive offenders of like tossing shit out. Actually, all Commonwealth nations except South Africa? Really? I didn't know that. Oh, shit. Let me play the video. Hold on. Let's get through this. I'm going to be late.
One in each borough. And thus far, we've announced La Marqueta in Manhattan and La Peninsula in the Bronx.
Oh.
And these two sites showcase the example of when you are speaking about a dense neighborhood, there is more than enough market for both existing grocers as well as one city-run grocery store. When we're talking
also,
about La Marqueta,
if your grocery store is so exploitative that it fails in comparison to a place that is just selling 30% lower than you, sucks to suck. Sucks to suck. You don't have any right to exist as a company.
Subsidized markets. For example,
it was a thing until the 80s when the Queen used to do shit other than protect her son. Yeah,
operators. What we've also seen is that this is not the only approach that we have to dealing with the question of food insecurity, and also food operators. Just last week, we were proud to announce Open, which is not only a more than 50 legislative reforms and regulatory reforms that will lower the cost of keeping a business open and the time that it takes to liaise with city government, but is also a permanent approach for us at city government to cut red tape to ensure that bodegas, grocery store owners, a wide variety of small businesses across New York City can continue to flourish, because we see this as a city that is big enough for more than the 1,000 existing grocery stores that we currently have, and 5 city-run grocery stores, 1 in each borough.
Hell, the pothole thing still counts. Those people still have wages to feed their kids as they need. Yeah, even if winter's gone for them. Yeah.
It sounds like what you're essentially offering these purveyors of grocery services is you cover the property tax, you build out the building, you cover any sort of recurring rent, but they have to bring in the food, discount it a certain amount, high quality of wages. I mean, these are millions of dollars effectively shuffling back and forth. So I'm wondering why not just spend these millions of dollars and give to agencies like the Campaign Against Hunger or City Harvest, or just direct established food programs.
We see in this city an opportunity to take an all of the above approach. We are going to continue to work with incredible partners like the ones that we're here with today, as well as ensure that food pantries across the 5 boroughs can flourish. And what we have seen is that far too often, when it comes to city government's approach to delivering on affordability for groceries, there's always been the question of intermediaries, whatever it may be. And we are excited to deliver directly to New Yorkers.
Because that's very short term. This is a chance to make it long and lasting change. Yeah,
essential goods.
I agree.
The same
like
every single one of those 5.
The programs that were listed are supplemental in nature, where this is something that is definitely much more long term. Like, there might be operational reasons why those places aren't effective, because they might not also be able to scale up enough to the needs that are required to run these plays. Give a fish, teach to fish. Yeah, exactly. That's a great analogy, Miori.
City-run grocery
Great
stores.
Analogy.
And what we are also talking about is city-run grocery stores, which will not be selling cigarettes or alcohol or lottery tickets or hot foods. Those are a lot of the places that drive revenue for a lot of existing grocers, existing bodegas. This is an approach that looks to address the question of affordability and food access without also harming the ability for other entities to continue to exist.
Any other on-topic questions, Marcia? Oh, yeah, I'll swing back to you for the off after.
On-topic question as well.
Yep, great. On topic now. We'll swing back to you for the off. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I know that you talked about the fact that the grocery stores are not going to sell lottery tickets and cigarettes. Do you think that the income from those things in bodegas will offset the possibility of a loss of business? Because the bodega owners are really worried.
LOL, I love that on-topic disclaimer.
Yeah. The other things that they're able to sell will offset that loss.
My argument is Multifaceted. The first thing I would say is that this is a model that builds off of what we already see in existence with Essex Street Market. And with that approach, there is a discounted approach that has not yielded any kind of a negative impact on bodegas or
Also,
grocery stores around
in,
it. And we know that because if it had been, it
in
would
the
be something that we'd be
future, you
talking
can
about.
also
And yet when it has
implement
been,
that if you
is instead
want
accepted
to,
as a fabric of
right?
life
You can
in
make
that
it
neighborhood.
available
The second
if you want
is
to, but I
we are
think
not
for now, to
looking
make it
to
more
compete
palatable,
with bodegas
especially to
or grocery
Republicans,
stores
they
when it
need to
comes
keep
their
it
ability
closer to
survive.
staples.
What we're looking to do is to provide affordability that is guaranteed to New Yorkers.
Yep, it's
And
not
we
the
know that a lot of what drives
it's
revenue
not
for these
time
bodegas, grocery
limited.
stores,
Yeah, 100%.
those are things that make it possible for them to continue to operate. Those are not things we have any
You can always
interest in
evolve,
competing
but you
for.
have to
the
start
last point that I
somewhere.
would say is the absence of affordability in the city has pushed so many working class New Yorkers out of the city. And those are working class New Yorkers that could be customers for these bodegas, that could be customers for these for grocery stores across the 5 boroughs. And instead, we've seen an exodus. And we also know that where we are in New York
Very
City,
true.
it's important
Imagine
to acknowledge
having
that
an additional
the
$90 to
affordability
spend
crisis has affected
anywhere
every New
else in
Yorker.
the
However,
economy.
that effect has not been evenly
Not
borne.
just on
Black
food.
New Yorkers, 200,000 Black New Yorkers have been pushed out of the city in the last few decades. And that's effectively a reverse Great Migration. And that's something that we have to bring
And the
to an end
ones
with every single tool
that
at our disposal.
ones supporting
more
that
on-topic
city to
questions down
function.
there?
Yeah.
Hi, how's it going, Mr. Mayor?
How's it going?
Question about the essential basket of goods. You said they're going to be 30% cheaper than they would be at the grocery store down the street, or even if there's one not down the street, if it's a food desert. How are you going to keep people from taking advantage of that, that deal, basically? And is there going to be a limit on the number of items that someone can take that are discounted at that level?
What? Okay, this just comes off as a stupid question. We won't. Yeah, like why would you limit it? Like how can somebody quote unquote take advantage of buying fucking food? Like is he concerned that like the only way that I could imagine someone quote unquote taking advantage of it is, and it doesn't even make sense from a business perspective, is other companies coming in on like and getting the discounted food and selling it in their stores, which ultimately like it doesn't really matter where your money comes from. If like people are doing that, it's still going to support the stores, and that would be such a limited number of people. Like I just don't understand the logic behind this question. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand where he's coming from or what he means. Like how the fuck could you take advantage of this? Like it's a good thing. You're not poor enough for us to exploit you 100%. But like, yeah, like what? That doesn't even make any sense. Like, how could somebody exploit this? Like, what exactly does this person mean? I feel like they're just trying to ask a contentious question for the sake of it. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I don't get it.
Level from that essential basket.
So our RFP makes very clear that this is a program.
Why
for
would
New
you
Yorkers to be
take
able to put food on the table,
take
not a
slave
program for
wage
people to be able to make a
jobs
quick buck
if
through
you
reselling? I'm
can
gonna pass it over
afford
to our EDC head, G-Pack,
food
to add
with
some additional details.
properly with that
If you look at
slave
our fee
wage
for the
job?
operator,
Yeah.
We are looking to make sure that we target New Yorkers, whether it be a sort of a library card and also we manage
Essentially
who's
sucking
buying
up
and
to
spend that is
shitty
focused
business
on everyday
owners.
New
Yeah, that
Yorkers.
makes sense.
So we are mindful of that, and so we're going to make sure that we have all the things in place to ensure that that does not happen.
And one more question for you. I know that you
Oopsies,
mentioned
sorry,
at a board
guys.
meeting that La Marqueta was supposed to be potentially a draw for people from other neighborhoods to come and visit that market. That the city-run grocery stores would be a novelty, or at least something that people were excited to go to from other neighborhoods. Do you see that being the model for all 5 markets across the city? I mean, we came here today to East New York, and there wasn't an announcement of a new location here. Could you see that type of thing happening?
Yeah, I think to enhance what the mayor had just
Although
said.
the prices are the draw by themselves. Yeah.
So that businesses there, like the local bodegas and independent grocery stores, and
So
other
many
small
people are
businesses in
gonna
that neighborhood
benefit
are
from
strengthened
this.
through this NYC Grocery Initiative. So yes, we're envisioning that.
I could see it
as part
expanding
of
very
the NYC Grocery
quickly
Initiative
and
to
being
strengthen
very
the-
successful.
Great. Let's give it up for our speakers. We're going to take some off-topic questions.
Okay, that's going to be it for that. Let's see what's going on. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging out. All right, let's see. We are going to go over to, let's see, what are they doing? I'm going to send you over to... Evil is a super fun streamer. Thank you so much for everybody who hung out today. I greatly appreciate it. But we're going to raid Evil. They're super chill, tons of fun to hang out with. Thank you so much to everybody who was here today. I greatly appreciate it. I greatly appreciate your time. My name is Waxwell Topical. I will be back Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. I'm not sure what we're discussing yet, but I'll be back at 1:30 p.m. on Wednesday. I hope to see you all there. If you haven't given a follow yet, feel free to do so you can find me again. And remember, we're starting movie night this Sunday. We're going to be watching Ex Machina, and that's going to start at 7 p.m. if you want to come check out there. You love my chair, by the way. Me too. It's my favorite. Except for the fact that I blend into it. So someday I hope to reupholster it so I don't just blend in because I'm the same color as the chair. But thank you so much, everybody. I hope you have a great day and a great week. Thank you so much, Sophie. I appreciate it. Again, my name is Wax So Topical. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday starting at 1 p.m. and then 7 p.m. now starting on Sundays. And I hope to see you guys there. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. Have a good one. Bye. Bye.